Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Had the Power of Kamen Rider and Got Harem. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Under the dark night sky, in the village of Konoha, one large crimson nine-tailed fox could be seen rampaging, destroying buildings and whatnot. At this very moment, a large toad with a sword appeared, with a blonde man wearing white robes with the kanji for Yondaime Hokage on the back. This was the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. Behind him laid two cradles, carrying his two daughters. Right below the toad, there stood four figures. One was a red-headed woman, Uzumaki Kushina, wife of the fourth Hokage, sitting in a wheelchair after giving birth to a set of triplets. The next was a white-haired man, Jiraiya of the Sannin, then an old man, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Sandaime Hokage. Finally was a blonde woman, Senju Tsunade. In the hands of Kushina was a baby, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, the eldest of the three children of said redhead. Minato nodded at the people below as the toad leaped at the fox. The toad, Gamabunta, said, "You sure, Minato?" The blonde nodded as the toad grabbed the fox, throwing her at the four people. As soon as the fox landed, Kushina sent a dozen chakra chains at the fox, binding the fox as she struggled to get free. Gamabunta then jumped and landed right beside the fox. Minato jumped down and held up his two daughters and placed them on two pedestals. He made a hand sign as he said, "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." 7 clones appeared as they spread out around the two babies. They drew seals on the ground as the seals connected. The original Minato focused onto the Kyubi as he said, "Hack Fuin." The fox felt herself literally ripped into half as the Sharingan eyes in her own disappeared, its presence unknown to any of the people present. As the Kyubi disappeared, the villagers and shinobi alike looked at the Hokage tower as the 5 people stood there. Minato raised his daughters up and said, "Villagers of Konoha, I present to you our new Jinchuriki. My daughters Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna and Uzumaki Namikaze Hikari. Konoha love Jinchuriki as much as they do bloodlines, unlike some other villages." So, everyone cheered in joy as the Kyubi was once kept back at bay. One blonde boy with cerulean blue eyes was seen lying on his bed. This was Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, eldest and only son of the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato and the Akashi, Uzumaki Kushina. He was also known as the brother to the heroes of Konoha, Uzumaki Namikaze Hikari and Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna. While most would seem happy to be the son of 2 of the strongest shinobi in the world and the brother to the heroes of Konoha, Naruto was not. When he was 3, life was happy for the young blonde. His family treated him with care and love. His sisters always thought of their brother before anything else. But when he turned 5, everything changed. When the 3 siblings turned 5, their father decided to start shinobi training for Naruto's sisters. When Naruto asked to be trained, Minato and Kushina replied that they needed the training more as they had the Kyubi in them. Being a good son and a loving brother, he was happy for his sisters and nodded. Over time, his family left him for many activities. Even his godparents Jiraiya and Tsunade as well as his surrogate brother Haddock Kakashi ignored him. So the blonde only stayed alone, sometimes going over to his best friends, Uchiha Tsuki and Uchiha Yuki's home as well as Hyuga Hinata's home. The 4 got along well. Minato, Fugaku and Hayashi were on the same genin teams while their wives were on their own same teams as well. So the 4 knew each other. The 3 girls all had a crush on the blonde so they would always stick by him. Unknown to them, Hikari and Haruna had a crush on their brother too. But the attention given to them interfered and they left him out of everything. Of course, when that started, they asked their parents about it but the 2 shinobi said they would train him when he was older. So our poor Naruto was alone, so he decided to take matters into hands. He snuck into his family's library and copied down any jutsu he could. The most useful was the Kage Bunshin. He even read about his family Kekkei Genkai from the Uzumaki clan, the ride gear, and only he and his mother could only use it as his sisters had the Kyubi in them. Several times, Naruto had shown his parents he could do the tree walking exercise he learned from the scrolls. He only received scoldings from his parents and left sad. So a few months back, he unlocked his Kekkei Genkai. His Kekkei Genkai was considered extremely rare even in his clan. He had the phase gear, something that only appeared once in a lifetime. Most of the Uzumaki could only get the Kaiksa gear and 1 from 1,000 would get the phase gear. And that was only once in a lifetime. But from the times his parents berated him, plus his sisters stayed away from him, he told no one. From time to time, he would go into Training Ground 44, the Forest of Death, to train at night. He was now genin level and knew all E rank to C rank jutsu, which of course he showed no one. Now, the young blonde had finished his night training and was heading back home. The way back to the Ninkaze compound went past the Hyuga and Uchiha compounds. And on that very night, an ambassador from Kumo came on a diplomacy mission and had kidnapped the Hyuga heiress, Aka Hyuga Hinata, one of Naruto's best and only friends. Unfortunately and fortunately for the Kumo nin and Hinata respectively, Naruto saw the ninja and narrowed his eyes. He felt the pent-up rage from his family neglecting him and anger for this damn Kumo shinobi for even daring to kidnap one of only friends. So Naruto focused his photon lines appeared around his waist, forming a belt. He now had a phone in his right hand. He dialed 555 and pressed enter as the phone said, "Standing by." The Kumo ninja heard the voice and snapped his head to the direction of the voice only to see Naruto raise his hand up saying, Henshin, before he slammed his phone into the slot of the belt. The phone then announced, complete. More photon lines came from his belt as they wrapped around Naruto's body, forming the armor of Faiz. The Kumo then asked, slightly frightened, who are you? Naruto now turned into Faiz with his eyes and photon lines on the body glowing, replied, Faiz, Kamen Rider Faiz. You tried to kidnap one of my only friends, you will pay. Naruto drew a hilt as a photon line came out, forming a blade. Naruto walked slowly towards the Kumo nun who was frozen in fear as Naruto released killing intent on par with the Kyubi. As Naruto reached the Kumo ninja, he took Hinata off the man's shoulders and put her behind him on the ground. He then turned and slashed at the Kumo ninja. A huge gash appeared as the man dropped to his knees, dead. As Naruto kneeled down to check on Hinata, relieved that she was still alive, Hayashi, Minato, Hitomi, Kushina, and a group of shinobi arrived. Hayashi glared at Faiz and growled, who are you? Get away from my daughter. Hayashi charged with a Juken strike but Naruto dodged it and jumped back. Looking one last time at Hinata before looking at Hayashi, Minato and Kushina who gasped at what she saw, Faiz said, you are all naive. He then vanished in a burst of speed. It was only then did the ninja all notice the dead Kumo nin and saw that Hinata was safe. They all couldn't help but wonder who that mysterious guy was, all but Kushina. Now in the Hokage's office, Minato, Hayashi, Hitomi and Kushina were discussing who Faiz was. Minato said, that was your clan's Kekkei Genkai wasn't it, Kushi-chan? The redhead nodded. Hayashi then asked, but who? I mean Uzu was wiped out, and the last man to use the Faiz gear is dead. Kushina then said, there is someone I know. Hitomi asked, who is it? Minato caught on to his wife's thoughts and said, Naruto. Hayashi was slightly shocked, Naruto. But he hasn't even started his shinobi training yet, how can he defeat a genin, save a jounin? Kushina looked slightly regretful, he must have been training himself. Minato and we were too focused on the girls, we forgot about Naruto. I regret all I've done. Last year, he showed me he mastered the tree walking exercise but we ignored him. Hinata who had woken up gasped and glared at Kushina, that's why he was always sad when we met. You neglected him. How could you? Hitomi asked her daughter, what do you mean, Hinata-chan? Hinata looked at her mother and said, over the times when he came over to play, he wore a smile but in his eyes hid a lot of sadness and anger. It was like he was with friends and family but very lonely. Suki-chan and Yuki-chan know this as well. Naruto-kun once told us that you train Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan but totally ignore him. Hayashi and Hitomi were now looking at Minato and Kushina in shock. Then Hayashi said, I'm ashamed of you, Minato. You could have trained them together and gave him something to work on while you taught the girls of the Kyubi, but no, you neglected him. But now, we need to summon Naruto to see if he is Faiz. Minato nodded. He then summoned Anbu and told them to bring his son to the office. With Naruto had successfully got back to his room. He quickly showered and get into bed to avoid his parents from questioning him. But a moment later, an Anbu entered and said, Naruto-san, your parents want to see you in the office. Naruto cursed inside but nodded as he changed and left with the Anbu. After arriving via Shunshin in the Hokage office, Naruto asked, so what do you guys want? Hey Hinata-chan. He looked at Hinata when he said the last part as the girl smiled at him. Hayashi flared his chakra a bit as a Hyuga branch member came in. Hayashi looked at the man and said, Ko, bring Hinata back to the compound. Ko nodded and led Hinata out. Minato asked, Naruto, I want to ask, can you use your Kekkei Genkai? Do not lie, Hayashi here can detect lies and you know that. Naruto cursed inside and nodded. Kushina then said, can you show us, Naru-chan? Naruto glared at his supposed mother but summoned the belt anyway. He dialed 555 on his phone. Standing by. He then said before inserting the phone into his belt, Henshin. He pushed the phone downwards as the phone announced, complete. He then donned the armor of Faiz. Hitomi gasped, so it really was you. Thank you for saving Hinata, Naruto. Naruto nodded and said, Hinata-chan is one of my best friends, I'd lay life for any of them. The four adults didn't know how to react to that but they were overall satisfied that the boy had such loyalty. Kushina then asked, but why didn't you tell us? Naruto merely looked at her with his yellow eyes. From the last time I showed you something, why would I? Minato said, I see. I'm sorry for how we treated you, Naruto. I hope we can start over. Naruto laughed, but it was cold, the laughter of a killer, not supposed to be heard in a child. That's why I say you are all naive. I learned to live in the forest of death for a month. I had my first kill during that month. You should know, one jounin got killed going into the forest just a few months ago, right? He mistook me for a spy of an enemy village and attacked me. I was lucky to have the Faiz gear and I got my first kill. He scolded me for mastering the tree walking at the age of 5, ignored me saying that you needed to train my sisters for the Kyubi. When you said that, I was happy for them, but a few times I saw you training them, there was nothing relevant to controlling the Kyubi that you taught them. That's when I started training myself. If there isn't anything else, I'll be in my room. Naruto then exploded into smoke. The adults were shocked. Here was a kid that could use the Kage Bunshin. Minato and Kushina were regretting the fact that they neglected their son but relieved he still loved his sisters. This was going to be hell for them. Now at the age of 9, Naruto, his sisters, and the soon-to-be rookies entered the Ninja Academy. Over the years after the Kumo Hyuga incident, Naruto got closer with Hinata, Tsuki, and Yuki after they found out Naruto had unlocked his Kekkei Genkai and saved Hinata. But Naruto also became distant from his parents, godparents, and Kakashi. Naruto still cared for his sisters, and the two girls would sometimes join their brother meeting the Hyuga and Uchiha heiresses. While many people ignored Hikari and Haruna's brother, that doesn't mean they ignored him. Though, as smart and as cool as the blonde rider was, he was still dense just like most of his alternate selves from alternate universes. Of course, this made most of the boys in class jealous of the blonde, as the girls were the prettiest girls in the classes of the year. At the academy, Naruto always did barely enough to pass. With the written tests, he always did them correctly in patterns. For instance, the test has 10 questions. Naruto would do questions 1 to 5 correctly in Jounin level answers, but did the last 5 questions wrongly in idiotic answers. Sometimes, he would do the odd-numbered questions correctly or only the even-numbered questions correctly. Naruto did ace the practical parts though. Every target practice, he'd get a bullseye. No matter the choice of weapon, kunai, shuriken, senbon, etc. Every spar, he'd win flawlessly, and no one came close at ending his killing spree. When Uruka, who was assigned to be this class teacher for the next few years before they graduated at the age of 12, assuming they pass, brought this to Minato, the blonde Hokage was amused and confused at the same time. Uruka was now seen in the Hokage office. Minato asked, "Uruka, what's wrong?" Uruka said, "Well, it's about Naruto." Minato asked, "He didn't do anything wrong, did he?" Uruka shook his head, "No, he's fine. But his exam grades, he does the bare minimum to pass. His practical tests are the best in class, but his written ones always scored only half. And he does them in a pattern, and the ones he gets right are in Jounin level answers." Minato raised an eyebrow. "Could you let me see?" Uruka nodded as he took out a file with Naruto's grades and test papers. As Minato looked through them, some answers caught his attention as his eyes widened. The ones he got correct were high Jounin level, but the ones he got wrong were stupid. For example, one question wanted a Kekkei Genkai they knew and they could answer more than one. Naruto answered 10, Sharingan, Byakugan, Rinnegan, Mokyudan, Shakyudan, Maten, Ride Gear, Hayaten, Shikatsumiyaku, and Yaten, all with a detailed explanation. The next question was so simple, but Naruto wrote an extremely idiotic answer. The question wanted the clans that created Konoha. Naruto wrote the Yuki clan and the Fuma clan. All in all, the way Naruto did the tests were so confusing, Minato had to call Shikaku to solve this. As Shikaku came in, he looked through Naruto's grades and tests. After 5 minutes, Shikaku said, "I think Naruto is hiding his skills so no one knows about them. But he also wanted to tell us something, which is what troubles me." What they didn't know was that Naruto was planning to leave on a training trip to all around the elemental nations. The ones he got wrong had the details of the places he was planning to go when he left at the end of the year, just when the holidays for the Ninja Academy would start, and come back the year just before they graduated. Now, most would think why Naruto would leave a note to the girls and one note for the adults, telling them that he would be with the group of his current class, and his parents knew he was more than ready as he had killed before. But now, Naruto would stay there for the year. Now, the class was having a sparring session. One arrogant boy with a white puppy yelled, "I challenge Naruto." Uruka sighed and nodded as he told the two boys to enter the ring. Hinata, Haruna, Hikari, Tsuki, and Yuki were hoping Naruto would win, while all of the boys wanted Naruto to lose. As Uruka swung his hand down and yelled, "Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto versus Inuzuka Kiba, Hajime." Kiba charged forward as he threw a fist, which was a good one by Academy standards, but sloppy for Naruto. The blonde spun around Kiba and effortlessly dodged the punch and gave a back fist as he turned. Kiba stumbled across the ring as Naruto rushed at the Inuzuka. Naruto gave a feint straight punch and gave an uppercut as Kiba went to block the feint punch. The dog boy was sent flying upwards as Naruto jumped up, flipping Kiba so that his head faced the ground. They were at least 30 meters from the ground as Uruka and the other students looked in awe. Naruto said, "Yield, or you'll die in 5 seconds. Then they went down as Kiba's head was heading for the ground. Just before they touched the ground, Kiba yelled, "I yield." Kiba closed his eyes as the ground reached them. But the impact never came as Naruto pulled the boy up just a bit so that he wouldn't touch the ground. Naruto then released Kiba as he fell to the ground face first. Uruka snapped out of his shock and said, "Shaosha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto." Everyone was in shock, including the 5 girls with a crush on said blonde. Naruto proceeded to sit beside the girls as the other matches continued. At night, the family had dinner, and as usual, Naruto hurriedly finished and washed his plates and utensils before heading to his room. Minato and Kushina wanted to mend the broken bridge with their son but had failed at almost every turn, like how Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kakashi had done. After they had finished their meal, Haruna and Hikari looked at each other and nodded as they entered their brother, Crush's room. The girls closed the door as Naruto discreetly activated the silencing seal placed by Minato in every room, which even the Hokage can't bypass without entering the room. Haruna opened her mouth to speak. "Oni-chan, are you still mad at us and Kasan and Tusan?" Naruto sighed. "Haruna-chan, I'm not mad at you or Hikari-chan. They ignored and neglected me when we were 5, and would continue had I not revealed I killed someone, saved Hinata-chan, and had the phase gear. While I'm happy they focused on the both of you, I hated the fact they didn't make some time for me. Hikari then said, so, you're still mad at Kakashi Nai, Jiraiya Jiji and Tsunade Bachan? Naruto nodded. Haruna then said, but they want to make up for the times they ignored you, why don't you give them a chance? Naruto sighed, you still don't know how to read other people from their eyes, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan. When they try to make up the times they ignored me, I can always see that all they want is my phase gear. Your mother can only use Kaiksa but at a weak level as she couldn't use it when Uzumaki Mito gave her the Kyubi which is now inside of the both of you. Haruna and Hikari didn't say anything for a few minutes. Then the blonde girl said, Oni-chan, can we sleep with you tonight? Naruto replied hesitantly, Hikari and Haruna then did the one jutsu that would make men cave into any girl's request, the puppy eyes no jutsu, which worked incredibly well as the two girls were already cute to begin with. Unable to withstand any more, the defenses of the blonde boy crumbled to ashes as he could only nod. The two girls then happily went to their rooms to change and went back to their brother's room. As the girls entered their brother's room, they failed to notice Jiraiya, Tsunade, Minato and Kushina watching the girls. Minato sighed, looks like our daughter's crush for Naruto is increasing. As much as I don't mind that, I hope their crush would stop, but it only grew stronger. Kushina bonked her husband in the head, Minato-kun, how many times have I told you, they are free to do as they like. They are part Uzumaki and Namikaze. The two clans never minded to have relationships with siblings, so be more open-minded. Minato sighed and nodded. Both clans actually had nothing against having a relationship with their siblings. In fact, some even encouraged it. But if that actually happened with Naruto, he'd have to be put under the CRA due to the fact that his sisters would be in a relationship with him, plus Minato and Kushina are not planning on having more children. Minato then said, well, as long as they don't go beyond the line, I guess I'm fine with that. Kushina, satisfied with her husband's answer, nodded. Tsunade then said, but let's not tell them that, we're not sure if they will have a relationship anyway. Jiraiya giggled perversely, well, I hope they do, then Naruto would get a harem and they'd be a goldmine. Kushina glared at the Toad Sannin, self-proclaimed pervert, don't you dare use them for your books. I let it slide when you peeked on us during our honeymoon but I won't if you peek on my children. Minato blinked his eyes, wait, you mean Sensei peeked on you, Kushi-chan? Jiraiya was sweating, Kushina nodded as the Sannin paled. Minato said, you peeked on Kushi-chan. Dai-se-nsei. Jiraiya then started running as Minato threw her Aishin kunai at the Sannin as they ran around in circles and ending up with Jiraiya beat up on the floor. They then heard a deep voice announce, holy shit. The 4-cage level shinobi looked around. Tsunade asked, where did that voice came from? Anyway, back to the siblings. Since it was already quite late, the three siblings decided to crash. Now, Naruto slept in the middle with Haruna and Hikari at his sides, which was unknown to the boy. The blonde girl told her sister, Haruna-chan, we should do this with Oni-chan more often. The red-haired girl nodded, as Naruto breathed at a controlled pace, signifying he was asleep. The girls snuggled into their brother more as they fell asleep. After that night, Hikari and Haruna would constantly sleep in Naruto's room with said blonde. Now, Naruto woke up and felt something heavy on him from both sides. He opened his eyes to see his two sisters hugging him with their hair on his chest. Naruto smiled as he looked at his sisters' peaceful faces. He thought, they look so cute sleeping like this. I did not just think that, it feels so wrong. To not disturb his beloved sisters, Naruto focused his chakra and made one sealess cage bunshin and made a kawarami with clone. During his training time in Training Ground 44, he had trained himself and managed to be able to make 10 sealess cage bunshin at once. Due to the Uzumaki humongous chakra capacity, he was able to make 100 cage bunshin at most. He had no doubt that if his sisters were to learn the jutsu, they could make thousands without difficulty. Anyway, Naruto went to the bathroom and brushed his teeth. As he did, the two sisters stirred. Hikari and Haruna greeted together, Ohayo, Oni-chan. The clone smiled and greeted, Ohayo, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, I'll inform the boss you're awake. The clone then poofed into smoke. Hikari and Haruna blinked as the smoke quickly dissipated. Hikari asked, Oni-chan knows how to do the cage bunshin. Just then, Naruto came back into the room. The redhead asked, Oni-chan, how do you know the cage bunshin? Naruto smiled, I learned from the clan library. Whenever everyone trained you, I snuck into the library and copied down as many jutsu as I could. In my scroll is 99% of the jutsu from the clan and public library. Please don't tell anyone. Hikari and Haruna nodded. Naruto then said, well, you should change. It's almost time for breakfast and if we're any longer, we'd be late for class. The girls nodded and quickly prepared themselves for school. As soon as they were done, the trio headed for the dining room to see Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade and Kakashi sitting there. As they entered, Naruto quickly put on his emo mask which would only be taken off if he was with his friends, sisters or anyone else besides the 5 adults in front of them. Naruto sat down with his sisters and just grabbed a plate and started eating. Haruna and Hikari was surprised to see Kakashi and asked, Kakashi-nai, what are you doing here? Kakashi-I smiled and said, well, Sensei invited for breakfast yesterday night so I came. I've also got a mission with Itachi and Shisui later. The girls nodded as they started eating. Soon, Naruto finished and washed his plates as usual and said before going out, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, I'll be waiting for you outside, K. The girls nodded with a smile as they quickened their eating pace. The adults said nothing at this, but Minato and Kushina were sad that their son still ignored them, not unlike how they used to do him, but relieved the boy still loved his sisters. Tsunade, Jiraiya and Kakashi felt that they would have to try harder to regain their relationship. As the girls left, Minato asked, "We totally screwed up with him. If we didn't neglect him, we wouldn't be like that." The four others nodded. Minato looked at the time. "Well, I've got a meeting now. I'll see you guys later." He then vanished in a flash as the others went to do their own stuff. As the girls came out of the compound, the three siblings proceeded to head to the academy. As they walked, the villagers smiled and waved at them, to which the girls waved and smiled back, though Naruto stayed silent and continued walking. As they walked, they saw 5 familiar figures. They walked towards them and greeted them. "Ohayo, Itachi-san, Hayashi-sama, Yuki-chan, Suki-chan, Hinata-chan." They greeted back. Hayashi then looked at his daughter. "Hinata, why don't you walk with them? I have a meeting soon." Hinata nodded as Hayashi nodded to the rest and walked away. Itachi then looked at his sisters. "Well, Suki-chan, Yuki-chan, I'll let you walk with your friends then. I have a mission with Kakashi-senpai and Shisui anyway. Naruto, I trust you'll look after them." The Uchiha girls blushed and yelled at their brother as he shunshed away, "Oni-chan." Naruto shrugged. "Well, let's go then. We're going to be late if we don't move now." The girls nodded and quickened their pace. Soon, the 6 reached the academy. Most of the male students stared at them and glared at Naruto to be able to walk and converse with all 5 princesses of the class. The fact that it was obvious that the 5 girls had a crush on the blonde rider didn't help matters either. Class started as usual, with Naruto thinking of how to leave the village at the end of the year, which was 4 months away, and thinking that what they were learning was just bullshit and should really work on practical stuff. Looking around, he saw that the class had a lot of fangirls swooning around one particular boy, Sasuke Uchiha, cousin and adoptive brother of Yuki and Suki. The boy's parents were dead from a mission in Fugaku, and Mikoto adopted and took care of him ever since. The boy was practically the opposite of Naruto. With his parents, Sasuke was a happy boy, unlike Naruto, who was emo when with them. Sasuke was an emo in front of the class, while Naruto was more social with the class. And the fact that Sasuke had a crush on Haruna didn't help things. True, Naruto and Haruna were siblings, but it was a known fact that the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan didn't have anything with incest, and sometimes actually encouraged this. That was what made Sasuke to dislike Naruto. So during recess, Naruto sat with the 5 princesses of the academy as usual, gaining jealous glares from the guys. Sasuke and Kiba nodded at each other as they walked up to their table and said loudly, "Uzumaki, Namikaze, Naruto, we challenge you to a match at the sparring class later." The girls were tired of this and were about to tell off the 2 boys, but before they could, Naruto smirked and said, "Sure, I'll even make it as a 2-on-1 full-out match, without the killing of course." Kiba and Sasuke smirked back on nodded. Haruka, who was sitting with teachers at the teacher's corner, sighed and rubbed his temples. Challenging someone was fine at the academy, but Naruto making it a full-out match meant a lot of paperwork, and there was nothing to stop it, as it was a rule and tradition if the challengers issued a challenge. The opponent could change the rules from a normal sparring match to any other besides killing. A female Chunin named Tsubaki smiled in sympathy and said, "Your class has a lot of problems, huh, Haruka-san?" Haruka could only nod as he was thinking of ways to tell the Hokage, Fugaku and Tsume. Meanwhile, Tsuki, Yuki, Hinata, Haruna and Akari were shocked that Naruto not only accepted the challenge but even made it a 2-on-1 handicap all-out match. Tsuki scolded the blonde boy, "Naruto-kun, why did you accept the challenge? We could have made them call it off." Yuki, Hinata, Haruna and Akari nodded. Naruto sighed, "You know, I appreciate you girls worrying over me, but I beat a Jounin from Kumo, and have you ever seen me lose to either of them once, or the matches against them ever lasts more than 15 seconds? I've never went all out against anyone in the academy. Chill, everything will be fine." Even as he said that, the girls couldn't help but worry over their favorite blonde, as he could end up hurt. Oh, how wrong were they? After recess, everyone headed to the sparring area. Haruka sighed as when a challenge in the academy was issued, the whole school would watch. Most of the boys and Sasuke fangirls wanted to see Naruto get pawned, while some wanted to see a good fight. Haruka said, "As you all heard during recess, in Inuzuka Kiba and Uchiha, Sasuke challenged Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto to a fight, to which Naruto made it an all-out handicap 2-on-1 fight. So as the rules per se, their fight will go first. Will the 3 of you troublesome students get in the ring?" The 3 boys entered the ring as the Uchiha and Inuzuka went into their clan stance. Naruto merely stood there relaxed, occasionally flexing his wrist. Haruka swung his hand down as he said, "Handicap all-out challenge between Inuzuka Kiba and Uchiha Sasuke versus Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, Hajime." Sasuke and Kiba charged with absolutely no teamwork planned, and Naruto was planning on using that against them. As Sasuke swung a right fist, Naruto jumped up and flipped behind Sasuke. Kiba at the same time gave a punch to the face, but Naruto simply tilted his head as the punch hit Sasuke's head. As Sasuke stumbled across the ring, Naruto had grabbed Kiba's arm and flung him around, slamming into the Uchiha as the both were flung away. Naruto then looked at Haruka. "Haruka-sensei, since this is an all-out match, Jutsu, Kekkei Genkai are allowed, right?" Haruka nodded. Kiba and Sasuke heard this and did their jutsu. Suga, Katen, Gakakyu no Jutsu. The spinning spike and fireball raced at the blonde boy, who just focused as his belt materialized on his waist as well as his phone in his hand. Quickly, he dialed 555 and pressed enter, standing by. Then the spike and fireball hit. Everyone was shocked. Hinata, Haruna, Hikari, Tsuki, and Yuki couldn't believe what they saw as fire burned the space Naruto was moments ago. They then heard, complete. The fire immediately dissipated and there stood Kamen Rider Faiz in all his glory. Naruto as Faiz said, "Now, let's end this." He then blurred, only noticeable by Iruka and the Chunin sensei. Naruto appeared in front with his fist extended as Kiba and Sasuke were flung out of the ring. Iruka, slightly surprised, said, "Shausha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto." The Chunin sensei all clapped as Naruto deformed. Even with the usage of Kekkei Genkai, Kiba and Sasuke were by no means slouches when it came to ninjutsu and taijutsu, and Naruto won by using taijutsu and the physical power-up from his Kekkei Genkai. They then heard a deep voice, godlike. Everyone looked for the direction of the voice but couldn't find it. Iruka thought, "I'm gonna have to tell Hokage-sama about this." Now the challenge is over, other classes will go back to their class while we will continue our sparring class. Since last class was boys first, today we'll have girls first. Next match, Haruno Sakura vs Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna. The aforementioned girls then went into the ring and slid into their stances, Sakura the academy and Haruna her family's style. Iruka shouted, "Hajime." Sakura screeched, "If I defeat you, Sasuke-kun will see I'm the better choice." Then the pink fangirl charged. Haruna sighed, the fangirl fighting for the one she fawned over, typical. Haruna dodged the strike and spun around, hitting the Banshee's pressure points, causing the girl to crumble to the ground, and Iruka announced Haruna the winner. Sasuke, who recovered, thought, "She totally dominated the fight. She'll make a good wife, if only that blonde idiot wasn't here." Sasuke clenched his fists thinking that. Most of the other fights were normal with Hinata, Hikari, Tsuki, and Yuki all winning their fights. After a couple of classes, they went home. Meanwhile, Iruka was talking with Minato, Hokage-sama. Today Sasuke and Kiba challenged Naruto to a match. Minato was not surprised. Sasuke had an obvious crush on his daughter whenever he invited Fugaku, who'd bring all of his children with him along with his wife. As for Kiba, well, he knew his daughters, Fugaku's daughters and Hayashi's daughters all liked his son, and that may have made Kiba jealous. After all, the Inuzuka males were known to be territorial. Minato then asked, and Iruka continued. Naruto accepted and made it a 2-on-1 handicap match and totally dominated the fight. I'm curious as to why he still hides his abilities. He only used his Kekkei Genkai's physical traits in taijutsu, no ninjutsu or the special abilities granted by the Kekkei Genkai. Minato nodded. "I see, I'll ask Naruto about this then." Iruka nodded and bowed before leaving. At night, Minato invited Hayashi and Fugaku's families over for dinner as well as let the children play, while Jiraiya and Tsunade went out for dinner together. After dinner, the three families were having a conversation. That ended when Minato asked, "Naruto, just now at the academy, Iruka told me Kiba and Sasuke challenged you to a match individually. But you made it a 2-on-1 match and won with only the physical upgrades from the phase gear and taijutsu. I want to know why you held back." Naruto looked at his father impassively. It wasn't required to use more than that to defeat them. Minato nodded. "But what I really want to know is why you held back purposely during all the tests. I've seen your records and you answered in Jounin-level answers, but the ones you got wrong had idiotic answers." Naruto said, "The one thing you actually taught me was that deception is a shinobi's greatest weapon. I'm only acting on what you taught me, Tusan, Kasan." He spat out with venom. He then said, "If there isn't anything else, I'll be in my room." As Naruto walked, he looked at his sisters, Yuki, Tsuki, and Hinata, who wanted to follow him. The look told them he wanted to be alone, and they went to Hikari and Haruna's shared room with Sasuke, and Itachi merely sat there with their parents. Fugaku looked at his eldest as Itachi caught the message that they wanted to talk about something important. Itachi then said, "Come on, Sasuke, let's go out and get some ice cream." Sasuke nodded as the adoptive brothers went out. After the children left, Hayashi said, "Minato, Kushina, you need to stop favoring Hikari and Haruna." Kushina said, "But they have the Kyubi in them, we need to teach them to be ready." Hitomi then said, "No, you could have taught them together. The both of you see yourselves in Hikari and Haruna, we all know that. But by giving your attention to them, you ignored Naruto. You need to stop this favoritism, it's tearing Naruto away from your family." Minato then said, "We'll think of something to solve this." Mikoto said, "Then you'd better hurry. Naruto is getting more distant from what I saw just now, the hate in his eyes, it's growing." Kushina and Minato nodded. With Itachi and Sasuke, Itachi looked at his adoptive brother. "You had to challenge Naruto, did you? And don't give me any crappy excuses, I know you did it to impress Haruna, Sasuke." Sasuke looked at Itachi. "But Itachi and I, Kiba told me that if we want someone to like us, we'd have to defeat the one they like and prove we're stronger." Itachi sighed. "That would only work if the girl and you are in Inuzuka. That's their ways. Outside, you need to look for other ways. You challenge Naruto suddenly would only give the girls the impression that you want to give the boy they like trouble, and you'll only fail. Plus, you know as well as I do that the Hokage and Kushina Oba ignored Naruto when he was little and made him what he is today. Naruto is actually a troubled person, and you and Kiba challenging him would only make him more unstable." Sasuke nodded in defeat as they went to buy ice cream. With the girls, Haruna and Hikari sighed in frustration. Hikari said, "Two-san and Ka-san always pressure Oni-chan about his skills. Not once have they asked about his well-being. Oni-chan may be right." Suki asked, "What do you mean?" Haruna said, "One time we slept with Oni-chan. We asked him why he always pushed Two-san, Ka-san, Jiraiya-jiji, Tsunebachan and Kakashi-nai away. He told us that when he looked in their eyes, he saw that they only wanted his phase gear." Yuki nodded. "Come to think of it, they always had a gleam in their eyes like they want something from him when Two-san and Ka-san mentioned Naruto-kun." Hinata then said, "Wait, you slept with Naruto-kun?" Hikari and Haruna nodded. "Yes, we'd sleep with him from time to time. We would have today, but Two-san and Ka-san ruined it." The girls grumbled the last part. Suki asked, "What do you mean?" Hikari sighed. "The look Oni-chan gave us meant he was going to stay in his room all night and he'd lock it, meaning no one can get in until he calms down. This happened a few times when Two-san, Ka-san, Jiraiya-jiji and Tsunebachan asked him about his grades at school or something." The other girls nodded and they just sat in silence. With Naruto, the blonde rider was smirking. His plan was at its climax and he could not afford to fail. He had locked his door and started packing clothes, ramen cups in his emergency scroll and his jutsu scroll. He then unsealed a wooden puppet, made to look exactly just like him. After positioning the puppet in its place, he wrote a small note for his sisters, the Uchiha sisters and Hinata, placing it on the nightstand with the pencil holding it from flying away. After that, he opened the scroll about his Kekkei Genkai and found the page he wanted. He read, "To unlock the Excel form, which grants the user the ability to slow down time for 10 minutes, the SB555W phase Excel watch is required. The watch can sometimes already be in possession or you'd need to go into the mindscape and materialize it. This can be used in human and rider form alike. To use, slide the mission memory from the watch and into the phone. This will trigger the Excel form. Then, press the button on the watch to start up the time-slowing ability. Just press the button on the watch to start up the ability, but the time limit is 1 minute as the human body cannot take the strain. Note, the watch needs to be materialized from the mindscape to be usable in human form." Smirking, Naruto transformed into Faiz and found the watch already in his wrist. He slid the mission memory into the phone as the chest plates folded up to his shoulders. The phone announced, "Complete." Naruto opened the window and sealed his scrolls into one scroll. Taking it, he looked at his room as he'll not be seeing this for the next 4 years. Naruto jumped out of the room and pressed the button on his watch. "Start up." Naruto then ran at the speed of light, passing the unsuspecting Chunin, Izumo and Kotsu. Next morning, Hikari and Haruna went into their brother's room. They expected it to be locked but was surprisingly unlocked. Hikari and Haruna opened the door and moved to either side of the bed and shook what they thought was Naruto. "Wake up, Oni-chan." They turned the figure over and were shocked to see a puppet in place. Hikari screamed in surprise as Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya and Tsunade rushed in. Haruna, being the closest, took the paper as they all read. "To my dear sisters, Haruna-chan, Hikari-chan. If you're reading this, I've gone out of the village. I want to look around the world for the next 4 years, learn all kinds of things and clear my mind. I seriously can't take your father and mother as well as your godparents' shit anymore. They never ask for my well-being and only ask about my abilities and skills. Don't worry, I'll be back after 4 years. And tell your father I'll join your class when I do come back. Help me tell Yuki-chan, Suki-chan and Hinata-chan. I love you girls. Your brother, Naruto." The group were shocked, the sisters for their brother leaving for 4 years and the adults for the boy truly hating them. They finally realized that the way they tried to get closer to him only made him think they wanted to regain their relationship only for his phase gear. When he returns, they were going to have to apologize. It's been 4 years since Naruto left. When news spread, the villagers were confused why the boy would leave. Kiba and Sasuke, who disliked the blonde, were happy he left and started to ask Hikari and Haruna for dates respectively and got turned down repeatedly. The relationship between the sisters and their parents and godparents got worse after one incident. 2 years after Naruto left, Hikari and Haruna finally got the courage to ask their parents and godparents, "Did you really try to get close to Oni-chan because of his phase gear?" Minato and Kushina looked guilty and shook their heads. Just then, Hayashi, Fugaku and their wives arrived. Fugaku said, "No, you favored your daughters first because you thought Naruto had no talent. And when Naruto revealed he killed a Jounin when he was 5 and killed the Kumonin to save Hayashi's eldest daughter, you immediately took interest in him, so don't tell me you didn't thought of that." Minato and Kushina stayed silent, but their eyes held the guilt and was not unnoticed by their daughters. Hikari and Haruna growled, "I can't believe you actually thought of that." The girls then went to their room, locking the door. The girls still trained with their parents, but the tension was there. Over the years, the 5 girls were known as the Ice Princesses as they were cold after Naruto left. True, the blonde would come back, but they disliked the fact he left because of his parents neglecting them, and what's to say the blonde won't come back? That made them go cold, and the only thing that would relight the fire in their hearts is one Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. As for the adults, they were sure Naruto was still alive. Just last year, the bingo book from Iwa just came out. The page was about Kamen Rider Faiz, who almost killed the Jinchuriki of the Yonbai, Han. This made that Tsuchikage made for almost killing his brother and marked Faiz in the bingo book. Back to the girls, no one dared to insult Naruto ever since what happened to Kiba and Sasuke. A year after Naruto left, Hinata had a new sister, Hanabi. At the academy, the 5 girls were happy for the Hyuga of the group, but that ended when one Uchiha Sasuke and an Uzuka Kiba came in. As usual, they both asked the sisters of Naruto for dates but got turned down. Sasuke couldn't take it and said, "It's because of that blonde idiot Naruto, isn't it? He turned traitor and left the village. You're better off with us than that traitor." Suddenly, the air turned cold. All 5 girls turned to look at the boys with cold eyes, more at Sasuke. Kiba gulped and said, "Bye." And he ran with high speeds. The girls let the dog boy go as he didn't cross the line, but Sasuke, not so much. The poor Uchiha got the beating of his life by his adoptive sisters and the 3 other girls. Every boy present vowed to never ever insult Naruto ever again after witnessing Sasuke being kicked in the groin. To Naruto, over the years, he got to Jounin level. He unlocked the auto-vagin and was currently riding the bike back to Konoha. The wind beat on his face as he enjoyed the relaxing ride. He had gotten training on Kenjutsu and a lot of other things. He even learned how to play the guitar and sing, which was how he earned a living. Anyway, he was looking forward to seeing his beloved sisters, the Uchiha sisters and Hinata again. He increased the speed of the bike and was racing down the road to Konoha. Soon, the walls of the village was seen and Naruto arrived at the gates. Stopping, he registered at the counter with Kotsu and Izumo, who blinked seeing the name after Naruto went in. Izumo told his partner, "We need to tell Hokage-sama about this." The other nodded and he shunshin away to the Hokage's office. Meanwhile, Naruto was having a relaxing lunch at Ikaraku's when he noticed his sisters and the other girls enter the restaurant. As Naruto ate, Hinata, Tsuki, Yuki, Hikari, and Haruna noticed something similar about the blonde guy wearing a black jacket beside them. Naruto finished his meal and looked at the girls smiling. "Well, it's been 4 years, hasn't it? You've all grown even more prettier than I remember." Hikari and Haruna recognized the voice and stuttered, "Oh, Oni-chan." Naruto smiled and said, "The one and only." Then he was tackled by the 5 girls. Several academy male students who walked by grumbled, "Damn lucky bastard." Naruto then said, "Well, I'm heading to the Hokage Tower to see our dear parents and get into your class. Wanna come?" They all nodded as they headed for the tower. Hinata then asked, "Naruto-kun, how was your life the past 4 years?" Naruto smiled, "Never better. I got several bounties that'd last me for a few years without working. Plus I learned how to play the guitar and that helped too. I also gained several friends around the elemental nations, well, save Iwa of course." The girls were confused why he left out Iwa, but brushed it off as they reached the Hokage's office. The secretary nodded at Naruto's sisters and let them in. Minato and Kushina were talking with Jiraiya and Tsunade before they noticed the 6 enter. Minato said, "Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, Hinata, Tsuki, Yuki. What can I do for yo? Is that you, Naruto?" Naruto nodded, but before he could say anything, Kushina tackled him with a hug. "Oh, Naru-chan. I'm so sorry how we treated you before. We really want to regain our relationship. Please forgive us." Naruto pulled Kushina off of him and said, "We'll see how the next few years go. But first, Tusan, I'm joining Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan's class. I'm sure you know I can handle it right." Minato nodded. Jiraiya then said, "Quite a name you made by almost killing the Jinchuriki of the Yonbai, Han." Naruto nodded. Minato then said, "I also noticed you copied almost all of our clan library's jutsuha." Everyone save Naruto's sisters looked at the blonde in shock. Minato continued, "I want to see how strong you really are to almost kill Han and gotten a rank in the bingo book." Naruto nodded, but he was smirking inside. "Maybe I can beat him up a little. Payback for neglecting me." "Sure, why not we do it now?" Minato nodded and said, "Fine by me. Go to the Chunin Exam Stadium later, and here's the letter for you entering the class. The girls will bring you there, I believe." The girls nodded. Minato looked back at his son. "You'll be staying back at the compound, right?" Naruto shrugged. "Sure, some of my stuff is still there anyway." His parents sighed in relief. That was to be expected since their son was acting more social with them unlike before. Maybe the trip did help. Naruto then said, "Well, if there isn't anything else, I'll be going to put my stuff in my room now." The adults nodded. As the children left, Jiraiya said, "Well, that went well." Tsunade said, "If I didn't know better, I'd say you hoped Naruto to blow up at us." Then a figure entered. Well, that was expected, since Minato and Kushina did ignore the boy. Minato said, "That's harsh, Sandaime-sama." The retired Hokage chuckled, "I'm not the Sandaime, not anymore. And it's the truth. Be glad the boy actually tried to be civil with you people. Naruto could have blown up at you." Kushina sighed, "True." After an hour, after Naruto and placed his stuff in his room, he told the girls, "Well girls, I'm gonna do a concert here now, wanna watch?" Tsuki asked, "A concert?" Naruto nodded and smiled. "You've heard of Rider Chips, right?" Hikari and Haruna nodded, "Yes. We're fans of that band. They are having a concert this week here, though they always wear masks." Naruto smiled. "Well, I'm surprised you actually like my band that much." Yuki asked in shock, "Wait, you mean you are part of the Rider C-Hips?" Naruto chuckled, "Nope, I'm the band. You'd be surprised what Kage Bunshin can do." The girls were in shock now. The band they liked was actually the boy they liked, using Kage Bunshin to act as the other members. Naruto then asked, "So, wanna come?" The girls nodded furiously. Naruto took out his outfit and made 5 bunshin. They were in black jackets and wearing white shirts with the words Rider Chips on them. They then put on masks. Quickly, they set up the stage in the middle of the village. A lot of villagers had gathered as they had heard of the famous band, Rider Chips, having a show here. Naruto and his clones went into position as Naruto said, "Now, here's our song for today, Justy Face." The crowd cheered as Naruto and his clones started playing with the original singing. Hiragaru wachu no naka can you feel? Chiesa na hoshi no hanashi wo shiyu. Tell me the truth shinjai ta murai ga. Kyushisara deshite ru. Kanashimi wo kurakishi. Boku ra wa doko iyuku no deru. Imahitori hitori no mu no naka. Mi wo same's the time to go. Suoku eru tame nai. Mata mamoru kodo to tatakau kodo. Dilemma wa orenai. Hashiri Suzuki mo. And justice the mean. Ashita no kono sora sai keep your real. Ayan yanai kamo shirenai. Over again mesiji wo okuru. By Ayomi wa hajimeta. Boku ra nai wa matakido. Yarubiki kodo ga eru no nara. Imahitori hitori no mu no naka. Yabasame's the way you go. Shinjitsu wo sages. Mata shinjiru kodo utagao kodo. Dilemma ga kiri ga nai. Sameoi tsuzukuru. And justice the mean. Kanashimi wo kurakishi. Boku ra wa doko iyuku no deru. Imahitori hitori no mu no naka. Mi wo same's the time to go. Suoku eru tame nai. Mata mamoru kodo to tatakau kodo. Dilemma wa orenai. Hashiri Suzuki mo. And justice the mean. As stopped the song, the crowd cheered with the girls as the band bowed and played another song. Namada ga furu no wa kimi ga soba de hohomukara. Dakishan takanaru no wa kimi ga soba na irukara. Maze yumari kitakanante. Kangit mo wakarenenda. The kara ikaru tamashai moyashi ikanuite. Mitsukadasu itsuka. Onaji jidai nayamada idam the kamataka yo. Wera amuyuni wera ari. Adarashi rikishi nai kajades nakamatachu yo. Wera amuyuni wera ari. Jinsei wadermo minaishi no tu sa. Amoi no mamanai. After the song was finished, everyone cheered as Naruto and his clones vanished using the shunshin. The stage also vanished as the crowd dispersed. When Naruto met up with the girls, Hikari praised, "Oni-chan, that was great. How did you learn to do that?" Naruto smiled, "Well, I had good teachers and I actually sealed the stage in a scroll as well as learned the shunshin from the jutsu I copied." They nodded as they headed for the Chunin Exam Stadium. As Naruto and the girls reached the stadium, they found most of the shinobi corps sitting in the audience area. Academy students, Genin, Chunin, Jounin etc. The Yondaime Hokage was seen standing in the middle of the arena. Naruto smirked as he walked to the center of the arena as well. Minato said out loud for the audience to hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, today, my son has finally returned from his trip around the elemental nations. I'm sure a whole lot of you have heard of the man known as Kamen Rider Faiz. Is actually my son using his Kekkei Genkai." Naruto groaned inwardly. He had hoped to keep this a secret. But the rice has turned to porridge, so he brushed it off. Mummers were heard as the Hokage announced this. Minato then continued, "As such, I'm going to test him, and if he is able to last against me for a minute, I'll let him join this year's graduation class, since he is that age after all." Many mummers were heard in approval. Naruto thought, getting cocky is he? A minute? Seriously? Never mind, I'll just play with him for a minute, I have my surprise after all. A man with a sinon in his mouth and a bandana came to the center of the ring. "I'm sure Inui Genma, I'll be the referee of the match, try not to get too beat up, kid." The man known as Genma said to Naruto. Naruto heard this and said nothing. He smirked thinking, good, they're underestimating me. Genma then said, "Yondaime-sama vs Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, Hajime." Both stood there. Naruto smirked as he whipped out his phone and dialed 555 and pressed enter. Minato stood there as Naruto transformed. Naruto as Faiz said, "You know, Tusan, you really should have done something when I transformed." Minato merely said, "Just to give you an edge first." Naruto smirked widely. Out of the blue the auto-vagin came in as Naruto grabbed the left handle, sliding the mission memory into the handle and pulled out a sword. Minato took out a Hiraishin Kane and stood in a defensive pose, which was loose. Naruto charged and soared his sword, blocked by Minato. Minato was impassive as Naruto only moved with Chunin speed. Stopping, Naruto said, "Why don't I take this up a notch?" Naruto took the mission memory from the Faiz edge and placed it into his phone. The phone announced, "Complete." The chest plates folded up to Naruto's shoulders as he pressed the button on his watch, "Start up." Naruto then blurred, punching his father, pushing the older blonde across the arena. Minato thought, well, if it's speed you want, you'll get it. Minato threw a Hiraishin Kanai into the air as he made hand signs and said, "Kanai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." The single Kanai turned to few dozens as they landed. Naruto, blurring, saw the action in slow motion and smirked, "Good, time for the surprise." Naruto turned off the Excel form as Minato appeared in front of him, Kanai in hand. Many thought Naruto was done as Minato swung the Kanai, only to hit air. Naruto appeared behind Minato, just beside the Hiraishin Kanai, and punched Minato, pushing him across the arena again. Everyone blinked. Naruto had just used the Hiraishin. Minato was surprised, "So Naruto, you learned the Hiraishin. You had it in your scroll, huh?" Naruto only nodded, but behind his mask, he was smirking. Up at the audience, Hikari, Haruna, Tsuki, Yuki, Hinata, Hayashi, Hitomi, Fugaku, Makoto, Sasuke, Itachi, Kakashi, Kushina, and just about everyone had their jaw on the ground. Naruto could do the Harashin. Naruto smirked, then he vanished and appeared beside Minato, who Harashin to the far end of the arena. Naruto placed the mission memory back into his sword, opened his phone and pressed enter. He Harashin beside Minato and swung his sword at a different direction to where Minato was. A beam of energy ran across the ground and Minato suddenly appeared in its path. Minato's eyes widened as the energy hit him, encasing him in an anti-gravity field. He tried everything he could to escape, Harashin, Kawarmi, etc., but failed. Naruto suddenly appeared in front of him. Though he did not slash his father as it would kill the man, Naruto continued to punch the man in the stomach repeatedly, but not enough to render the man unconscious. Then, he gave a chakra-enhanced punch to the stomach and the face, rendering the man unconscious. Nobody cheered nor booed, they were shocked to the core. A boy who had only attended the academy for 2 years had defeated their strongest shinobi that used his strongest jutsu. Granted, the man didn't use the Rasengan, but still. Defeating him was a feat, and Naruto did it before the 1-minute limit had finished and had beat the man in the stomach so many times. Genma was stunned. Naruto looked at him and yelled, "What are standing there for? The Hokage is unconscious and you're only standing there." Genma shook out of his shock and called the medics, not before announcing Naruto the winner. Naruto shook his head and just went back to the compound to his room. As he laid in his room, Jiraiya came in with Kushina, Kakashi, Makoto, Hitomi, Hayashi, Hiruzen, and Fugaku. Jiraiya said, "So, how in the hello did you learn the Harashin alone?" Naruto looked at his godfather impassively. "I studied seals from someone, deciphered the Harashin seals, and that was it. You guys need anything else?" Kushina was sad that she couldn't teach her son Fuinjutsu herself, but asked, "Who did you learn from?" Naruto said, "I learned them from Maito-sama." Jiraiya narrowed his eyes. "What do you mean? She's been dead for years." Naruto chuckled. "Yes, turns out your old teammate had DNAs of the Shodaime, Nidaime, Maito-sama, and several others. I stole his notes on the Edo Tensei and the Shodaime, Nidaime, and Maito-sama's DNA." Hiruzen asked, shocked, "You mean you used people to summon Maito-sama, Hashirama-sensei, and Tabarama-sensei?" Naruto looked at the old man. "Of course not. I'm not so cruel, Sarutobe-sama. I used Kage Bunshin and supplied it with chakra constantly. And no, I only summoned Maito-sama." Hiruzen only nodded. Naruto then said, "Now if there's nothing else, please don't disturb me anymore. I'm tired from traveling and fighting just now." The adults nodded and left, besides Hayashi and Fugaku. Fugaku said, "Naruto, I know you're mad at them. So tell us, what's wrong?" Naruto sat up and said, "I gained a rank status at this age and they still underestimated me. True, I'm angry at them. But I want them to care for me, the way they only ask about my skills. It's like they only notice me for them only, not because they care for me. I hate that." Hayashi looked at his fellow clan head and sighed, "I see. Give them time, Naruto. The night you left, they were sad. We told them how they neglected you and they were determined to change. They just need time." Naruto sighed and laid down again. "Fine, please leave, I want to rest." The clan heads nodded and left. Then, the girls came in. Hikari said, "Oni-chan, that was so cool. You beat Toussaint and you learned the Harashin, can you teach me?" Haruna nodded as well. Naruto sat up and said, "But Toussaint would be more suited to teach you anyway." He still said the term with venom. Hikari and Haruna smiled, "But we want you to teach us." Naruto smiled back, "If you want, then I can teach you when we have time." The sisters nodded happily. The 3 siblings, Uchiha heiresses and the Hyuga heiress, then chatted happily laying in Naruto's bed. Outside the window, one Uchiha Itachi and Sasuke looked at them. Itachi said, "Sasuke, do you know why Naruto is that strong? So strong he defeated the Hokage." Sasuke grumbled, "He learned the Harashin and had his Kekkei Genkai. Take that away and he's nothing." Itachi nodded, "But so are you. Without the Sharingan, the clan justice, you yourself would be nothing. What truly makes him strong, why our sisters, the Hyuga heiress, and his sisters love him, is his heart, the will to protect his precious people even if he himself is ignored because of them. You lack that. That's why Haruna doesn't like you and likes her brother instead." Sasuke looked at his adoptive big brother. "So if I was like that, Haruna would like me." Itachi shook his head. "I don't know. The mind of the females are strange that even I do not understand them." Sasuke said nothing as they looked on. With the adults, Hayashi and Fugaku were berating Jiraiya, Kushina, and Kakashi. "I can't believe you guys. You said you'd change when he came back, but when he asked if there was anything else, he was giving you the chance to prove you'd change. But no, you still asked for his abilities when he wanted you to care for him." The 3 merely stayed silent, but they were scolding themselves when they realized they made a mistake again. Next day, Minato was up as he was only rendered unconscious with little damage aside from several ribs and the skull slightly cracked from the punches he received from Naruto. Minato sighed, guess his son still hasn't forgiven him. But now, he got the paperwork for his son and was going home to give it to him. As Minato entered the compound, he found his son and daughters laying in Naruto's bed chatting about something he couldn't quite hear. He knocked the door and said, "Naruto, here's the paperwork for the academy tomorrow. You did well. Hope you didn't hurt yourself learning the Harashin as much as I did." Naruto smiled slightly and replied, "Arigato." Inside he thought, finally, at least he cares that I'm not hurt, maybe I can forgive him. Minato was thinking, at least it wasn't the monotone replies he used to give. After the fight with Minato, if you can call it that, Hikari, Haruna, Yuki, Tsuki, and Hinata chatted with the blonde happily. The next day when Minato recovered, the blonde rider received the entry papers for the academy. Well, actually it is re-entry, but never mind that. That night, Naruto's sisters slept with the blonde. Unfortunately for the boy, his sisters had started puberty and the boy, who was already quite mature, couldn't help but notice his sisters' curves. The fact that they were pressing their chests, which had a quite large bust for the age of 12, onto his arms didn't quite help. Naruto scolded himself. Bad Naruto, even though the clan laws don't forbid this, it's still very wrong to think of my sisters like that. I have to clear my thoughts, focus on other stuff, ramen, the phase edge, auto-vagin. All the while he was blushing like a tomato, and his sisters were actually awake, noticing their brother crush his expression and smile to each other before tightening their grip, pulling him closer and placed their legs over the boy's, which caused a huge boner from the boy. So the poor boy could only do one thing, he fainted as he wasn't used to this. The two girls found that the boy had gone into blissful unconsciousness, merely giggled as they too went to sleep. In the dreams of the rider, though, was himself, his sisters, the Uchiha sisters, and the Hyuga heiress doing erotic stuff. Next day, the boy woke up to the same sight he saw last night. Sighing, Naruto made a discreet sealess cage bunshin and kawarami with the clone, just as he had done in the past. Naruto then went to the bathroom and brushed his teeth as well as took a cold bath. After the cold bath, washing away his stray thoughts, he got changed as he re-entered the room. He nodded to the clone as it dispelled. Naruto then walked to his sisters as they stirred from the lack of the clone. Naruto gently shook the girls and said, "Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, wake up, time for the academy." The girls sat up and rubbed their eyes groggily. Hikari and Haruna replied in unison, "Hi, Oni-chan." They then got up and went to change, bathe, and brush their teeth, in whatever order. As soon as the girls were done, the three siblings went down as they saw their parents and godparents sat at the dining table having breakfast. The girls said, "Ohayo, Tusan, Kasan, Jurya Jiji, Tsune Bachan." While Naruto said in his normal monotone voice, "Ohayo, Tu-sama, Kasama, Jurya-sama, Tsunade-sama." The adults noticed the lack of venom when Naruto addressed his father, while the venom was still present when he addressed the others, which made Minato smile and the other adults to look slightly surprised, though inside they were shocked. As usual, Naruto finished his breakfast quickly and waited for his sisters outside. As soon as the three siblings exited the house, Kushina, Jurya, and Tsunade snapped their heads towards Minato. What the hell happened? Why did Naruto address you without the tone he usually used? Minato scowled at them. "I heard from Hayashi and Fugaku how you guys still only care for his skills, not his well-being. All he wants is care from his family, and he can determine whether it is genuine or fake. I saw it in his eyes when I gave him the paper for the academy. When I asked his well-being, he studied me for a brief second and determined I was genuine." Which is true, and he actually smiled at me for the first time after all these years, even if it was only slightly. It was like he shut down everything within our presence and would only open them to his sisters when we are with them, and that is only slightly. He gave every one of us a chance. I took it while you guys threw it away. Hayashi and Fugaku told me when he asked if there was anything else, he gave you all a chance but you threw it away. I seriously don't know how you're going to regain your relationships with him. With that said, the three adults hung their heads in shame and regret. With the three siblings, they bumped into Fugaku, Mikoto, Hayashi, and Hitomi with their daughters. Apparently Sasuke had a sleepover at Kiba's house and was going to school with the dog boy. Fugaku and Hayashi nodded to Naruto, who nodded his head lower as a sign of respect before the adults left, which surprised the clan heads' wives and daughters. The Uchiha sisters and Hinata said nothing about it as they went to the academy with the Uzumaki Namikaze siblings. With the clan heads, Mikoto asked her husband, "Fugaku-kun, what was that about?" Fugaku sighed tiredly. "Well, it seems Minato is the only one who actually went and asked for Naruto's well-being, and Naruto actually smiled at him, even if it was slightly." The women blinked their eyes. Hitomi asked in shock, "You mean Minato was the one who actually cared to do that?" They had all thought it was either Kushina or Tsunade before Minato. Hayashi nodded. "We told Naruto he should give them time." "Well, I just hope he'd give them one more chance. They seem to want to change." Fugaku nodded. "Well, he accepted, and maybe Minato's actions may have helped open him up a bit." The two couples then strolled along the streets aimlessly. With Naruto and the girls, they had reached the academy, and the girls were happily leading the blonde boy to their class, with said boy getting jealousy-filled glares as he was with all five of the prettiest girls in the academy. As they reached the class, they found the class noisy as hell. Hikari got the attention of Haruka, and Naruto gave the man the note about Naruto's entry, or rather re-entry. Haruka nodded and smiled at the blonde. "Happy to see you again, Naruto." Naruto nodded. "Likewise, Haruka-sensei." The Uchiha sisters, Hinata and Naruto's sisters, then led Naruto to where they sat and sat with him. Soon, Sasuke and Kiba came in, followed by Sakura and Ino, who were just following Sasuke like usual fangirls. The two noticed the blonde and walked up to him. Sasuke asked arrogantly, "Why the hell are you here, traitor? You left the village 4 years ago. You should have never come back." The two fangirls nodded in agreement as Kiba looked uncertain about that. Yuki and Tsuki looked angry as they heard their adoptive brother say that. Yuki said, "Sasuke, Naruto-kun was on a training trip. He traveled around the elemental nations by himself at the age of 9 and survived. None of us could have done that. Sasuke replied, Yuki ni, he must have had help. No way he of all people could survive outside for 4 years. Heck, I don't even know if he has the Hokage's approval of leaving the village. Suki was about to join in scolding her brother when Naruto said, that's because I didn't. I killed a Jounin when I was 5 and another when I was 6. One from our village who mistaken me for a spy in the training grounds and the other the Kumo-nin for kidnapping Hinata-chan. And I'm sure you heard from the Hokage himself, I hold a rank status, know the Hurricane and a few dozen other stuff. I could have been like your older brother, Sasuke. The difference is whether the Hokage would approve it or not. But I still entered the academy and went through all the trouble of revealing I had the Hurricane so I can be in this year's graduating class. Plus, I left as a civilian, not an active shinobi, therefore I'm not a traitor or anything related to that. That shut Sasuke's mouth as Naruto had pointed out every valid point. The killing intent Naruto gave also hinted that he should not say another word. The Uchiha merely fed and sat at his place with Kiba, Sakura and Ino. The whole class was looking at Naruto in awe now. They remembered the fight the blonde had with his father, which was one-sided and in the younger blonde's favor. Killing 2 Jounin at the age of 5 and 6 was a plus. And with the kind Naruto displayed just now, they swore to never piss the boy off. The class continued normally, that is until sparring class. Naruto looked at every student and found that Kiba and Sasuke were still the strongest aside from himself. So the blonde said out loud, Iruka-sensei, I challenge Sasuke and Kiba on a 2-on-1 handicap match, all out without killing. The class looked at the boy in shock as Iruka could only nod. There was another reason Naruto did that though. He saw the 2 boys staring at his sisters and wanted to play the overprotective brother. As the 3 boys entered the ring, Sasuke and Kiba looked confident that they could win while Naruto was impassive. Iruka swung his hand down and said, Hajime. Naruto reached his hand out as the auto-vagin came beside him. He slid the mission memory into the sword as it said, ready. Naruto then pulled the sword that was disguised as the left handle of the bike out. Kiba and Sasuke reacted by pulling out kunais and slid into a defensive stance. Naruto smirked as he materialized the SB555W Phase Excel watch onto his hand. He pressed the button as it said, start up. Then all the students saw was a blur of yellow and black going around the ring passing the 2 other boys, a bruise or cut appearing every time the blur passed. After exactly 55 seconds, the watch announced, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time up. Then, the blur turned into Naruto. By now, Sasuke and Kiba were exhausted. Naruto walked over to them and just hit them with the hilt of the phase edge as they fell backwards unconscious. Iruka just announced, Shaosha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Sakura was the first to react, he cheated. Sasuke-kun didn't even move and Naruto Baka beat him. Suki looked at the Pinkette in shock, you do know a shinobi is supposed to fight dirty, right? Sakura looked at the Uchiha heiress in shock, but he beat up your brother. Yuki nodded, true, but sometimes people lose. Not everyone is invincible, godlike yes, but not invincible for eternity. Soon they might get old or someone might surpass them. And Sasuke needed a wake-up call anyways. Sakura just grumbled and looked away. Naruto, who walked back to the girls, was congratulated by them for beating 2 opponents at once. Hinata then asked, Naruto-kun, can you help train me to be strong like that? Yuki, Tsuki, Haruna and Akari piped in together, me too. Naruto chuckled and said, okay, if you girls want. The girls all nodded happily as the boys nearby grumbled, damn lucky bastard. Yes, the following years was going to be interesting. Today was another normal day at the academy. The heiresses and Naruto were sitting at their usual spot. None of the boys ever dared to challenge Naruto ever since he defeated Kiba and Sasuke single-handed. While the boys still disliked the blonde, they respected him for his strength, save Kiba and Sasuke. Now having recess, Sakura, who was very full of herself, always having fantasies about Sasuke and her being prince and princess respectively and Sasuke saving her etc., walked over to Naruto and the heiress's usual spot. The pink banshee, like her bitch of a mother, always liked to go after people with high status, and because Mabuki failed to get Minato, the pink whore hated Kushina and her children and by a certain extent, Minato. Sakura screeched, Haruna Baka, I challenge you to a duel. If I beat you, Sasuke-kun will notice me. Everyone looked at the Pinkette like she was crazy. The heiresses were the strongest kunoichi in the academy and they can only be beaten by one of themselves. As for Sakura, she was only book smarts, which made her think she was the top of everything. Her parents spoiling her rotten also didn't help. She absolutely sucked at taijutsu, ninjutsu and weapon training. She had low chakra reserves even for an academy students. It was surprising how she can actually live with that amount of chakra. Haruna was impassive and just said, okay. Everyone present just sighed and shook their heads. The pink banshee was getting it. Even Ino wasn't brave enough to challenge the redhead. Recess continued as Naruto ate in silence. He was trying not to stare at the girls as they had all hit puberty and adding in the natural Namikaze, Hyuga and Uchiha genetics, their growth was advanced compared to the girls their age. Unfortunately for the boy, all of the girls noticed this and smiled to each other. This was unnoticed by the blonde as he kept his head down eating. Recess was over as the class went to the sparring area. The girls went first and all got to fight. Fangirls won. When it was Haruna and Sakura's fight, the 2 girls stepped into the ring. Haruka sighed and said, Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna vs Haruno Sakura, Sakura, Hajime. The Sakura part was said by Kiba loud enough that everyone heard it clearly, causing laughs and the embarrassment of the Banshee, who turned red-faced and glared at the Inuzuka. Of course, this gave Haruna the chance to rush in and gave the Pinkette a punch to the gut so hard spit came out. The Banshee was flung upwards as Haruna focused chakra into her legs and jumped up. The girls were around 7 meters from the ground as Haruna flipped sucked Sakura upside down and went down. Though the impact didn't hit the head, it hit the back of the pink Banshee and knocked her unconscious. Everyone recognized the move as it was only used by Naruto. Haruka sighed and said, even though unnecessary, Shausha, Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna. After the other girls matched and a few boys' matches, it was Naruto's turn. Haruka said, Tendu Sauji vs Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, Hajime. Naruto just ran forward and gave a chakra-enhanced punch to the boy. Naruto suddenly appeared in front of the boy and gave rapid punches before palming Sauji's neck. Sauji stumbled and regained balance and threw a punch. Naruto dodged this and jumped behind the boy. Naruto hooked Sauji's legs with his own and pushed the boy down as he fell down, so hard he was knocked out. Haruka sighed and said, Shausha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Seriously, I want to know how you never lose, Naruto. Naruto looked in his sensei and said, Oba-chan Gaeta, Hitabaita wa boku no Tsujite Tsuyaku Naru. I translated Kamen Rider Kabuto's quote, so I don't really know if it's correct. People get stronger through adventures. Haruka merely nodded as Naruto did travel around the world for 4 years. When the fight started, Hikari asked the other girls, so, you girls want to come over for a sleepover tonight? They nodded. Suki then said, maybe we can tease Naruto-kun a bit. The girls all smirked evilly. Naruto was damn lucky that he was going through this kind of hell. When the academy was over, Naruto and the heiresses walked together. Yuki, Tsuki, and Hinata told the 3 siblings, well, we'll see you guys later. When they reached home, Hikari told Kushina, Ka-san, I invited Yuki-chan, Tsuki-chan, and Hinata-chan over for the night, is it okay? Kushina smiled at her daughter, sure, I was going to invite their parents anyway. Haruna smiled, arigato, Ka-san. As Naruto got changed, he decided to teach his sisters the Harashin. He went to their room and nearly got a rocket nosebleed. As he opened the door, he found his sisters in their undergarments as they were just about to change. Blushing so hard, Naruto quickly ran back to his room and buried his head into the pillows. He kept thinking, don't think about that. Think about ramen, 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 ramen. After calming down, Naruto got back up and found his sisters coming out of their room. Still blushing slightly, Naruto asked, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, you want to learn the Harashin now? The girls were confused at their brother, Crush's blush but nodded anyway. They then headed for the compound training ground. Naruto whipped out several kunai with the Harashin seal on it. Naruto said, although Toussaint uses custom-made kunai, it's actually better to use normal ones. Your enemies won't know where you can appear if you throw the normal kunai with and without the Harashin seal. So, let's get started. Naruto took out a piece of paper and drew the Harashin seal on it. Now, from what I learned from Mito Bachin, the seals all play a role in the jutsu. The jutsu shiki for mine is different from Toussaint and Nadame-sama. Now, I'm gonna need your blood so I can make your jutsu shiki. Afterwards, Naruto taught his sisters how to use the jutsu for battle. The girls learned the jutsu but were far from mastering it. It was evening. The Hyuga and Uchiha head families had come into the Namikaze compound. After dinner, the clan heads and their wives chatted for a while before Fugaku, Mikoto, Hayashi, Hitomi, Sasuke, and Itachi left. As soon as they left, Yuki, Tsuki, and Hinata got changed into their sleeping attires, which were dresses that showed their figure. The adults smiled in amusement when they saw Naruto trying not to stare as he was turning into a teenager. Soon, it was time to sleep. Naruto was fast asleep in his bed when he felt several weights on him. He opened his eyes and found the heiresses all sleeping beside him and hugging him. Then Minato came in. The man smiled amusingly when he found his son surrounded by the girls. Minato chuckled and said softly, so only Naruto can hear, well, I'll leave you alone with girls. I trust you won't do anything to them, or even I can't save you from their fathers. Then the Hokage left as Naruto cursed his father for leaving him in such a position, and proceeded to sleep. Not for long, Naruto woke and found himself in his sewer. He thought, where is this? He continued walking and found a huge cage in front of him. Then he heard his sisters' voices, Oni-chan. Where are we? Naruto turned and found Hikari and Haruna. A soft voice replied, you're all here, good. As for your question, we are in the shared mindscape of Hikari and Haruna. From behind the cage, a girl their age with crimson hair walked forward. She had 2 orange fox ears and 9 orange tails. She wore a kimono with flame designs on it. Naruto narrowed his eyes and said, Kyubi. He whipped out his phone and materialized his belt, which suddenly vanished before he could transform. The Kyubi smiled and said, none of that. I'm not fighting. I just want to meet you 3. Especially you, Naruto-kun. Kyubi slipped through the bars and hugged Naruto from behind, dragging his name as she said it. Naruto, still not used to female contact, blushed when the Kyubi hugged him. Hikari and Haruna yelled as they saw this, get away from Oni-chan. Kyubi smiled and let go as she went back to the bars. Kyubi then said, fine, but you should know, I didn't intentionally attack Konoha. Ask your mother, we were on good terms. I hope we won't have any trouble trying to get along, especially you, Naruto-kun. The sisters glared at the Kyubi as she said that. They knew if they were to have a relationship with their brother, they'd need to share, as Naruto would be put under the CRA. Naruto then asked, "Then why did you attack Konoha?" Kyubi smiled sadly, "I was ripped from your mother's seal. And Uchiha, a Rouge one, ripped me from the seal and cast a genjutsu on me. That's why I attacked. Anyway, I hope we can get along in the future, and I'm opening a link to you, Haruna-chan, Hikari-chan. And if you're wondering why I'm one being, you two were always close, so my yin and yang parts soon merged together. Now, I guess I should let you sleep. Bye." The boy and sisters then felt unconsciousness envelop them. The year passed quickly. Naruto got closer to the heiresses and was still disliked by the majority of boys, save Shikamaru, Choji, and Shino, who thought it was too troublesome, too focused on food to bother, and found nothing worth the trouble to always be in a bad mood, respectively. Over the year, Naruto also developed a crush on Hikari, Haruna, Yuki, Tsuki, Hinata, and the Kyubi, whom the three siblings found out her name to be Kasumi. And Naruto was still crept out by the fact he had a crush on his sisters. Of course, the boy didn't know he could actually be with all of them, as Konoha didn't object to threesomes, and if Naruto had relationships with the both of his sisters, he'd be placed under the CRA and could have a glorified harem. The graduation day was tomorrow, and tonight, the two sisters were planning to confess to their beloved brother. Over the year, Naruto's relationship with his mother and godparents improved like Minato. He now smiled more with them, but still kept a distance. As for his father, you could say they now had a normal father-son relationship. The younger blonde opened up more to his father now, as he now know his father actually cares for him. After dinner, Minato told Naruto to follow him to his study. Minato sat in his chair as he activated the silencing seals. Minato motioned his son to sit as the boy did so. Seeing the serious yet expressionless face on his father, Naruto couldn't help but get nervous. "Two-san, is something wrong?" Minato said, "I want to know, do you have a crush on Hikari, Haruna, Yuki, Tsuki, and Hinata?" This surprised Naruto, and he quickly thought of something to deny it. Minato then said, "If you're thinking of making up lies, you're 2,000,000 years early. So spill." Naruto nodded. Naruto was shocked. "Wait, what? But that's just so wrong." Minato laughed. "Under normal circumstances, yes, but is our clan normal? No, so it's fine, and it'll help repopulate our clan faster and give me and Kashi-chan more grandchildren to spoil anyway. Adding in the fact with you, my son, I won't have to play the overprotective father. Plus I think your sisters and the three girls all have a crush on you as well." Naruto was dumbfounded. "Well, it isn't every day your father encourages you to go after not one but all two of your sisters and put under the CRA and get a glorified harem. Plus, said father tells you the girls you like also like you, who wouldn't be shocked." Meanwhile, the sisters were having something similar with their mother and godparents. Jiraiya asked as soon as Naruto and Minato went in, "So, do the both of you have a crush on our little Faiz there?" Haruna and Hikari blushed. Tsunade laughed. "Well, with the blushes on their faces, it's a yes." Kushina smiled. "Well, I'm actually fine with you two going for him, plus it'll put him under the CRA and help populate our clan." Jiraiya chuckled perversely. "I feel a new book coming up, The Trials of Apollo, a good name, heh." Tsunade grew a tick mark on her head and punched the man, throwing him away. "Damn pervert." Tsunade then asked, "So, when are you telling him?" Hikari said shyly, "Well, we were planning on telling him tonight, but we don't know how he'll react." Kushina smiled. "Well, we think he has crushes on you too, Hinata, Yuki, and Tsuki. Minakan is talking to him about this now, and if I know him, he'll encourage him to go after you. So you should go for it. I know all of you have agreed to share him." This caused the sisters to blush. One sleep over, the girls decided if it worked out, they would share Naruto. Of course, they'd need one of them to have a relationship with the blonde first. Tsunade then said, "Well, we should stop teasing them now. Minato should be about done with Naruto, and it's quite late already. I believe you will be sleeping with Naruto, right?" The girls nodded as the adults smiled and said, "Well, good luck then." They then went to their rooms. Hikari and Haruna also smiled and went to change, before going into Naruto's room to wait for him. With Naruto, he had just finished his talk with his father and was heading to his room. He opened the room and found his sisters sitting on his bed waiting for him. Hikari saw him and said, "Oni-chan, we want to tell you something." Haruna nodded. Naruto said, "Okay, what is it?" Haruna and Hikari looked shy as they said, "Oni-chan, how do you feel about us? Do you like us?" Naruto said, "Of course I love you." Hikari and Haruna then continued, "I know you love us as sisters, but we love you not as a brother, we love you as a guy." Naruto didn't really know how to react, so he said, "Me too. But now, let's just see." He was cut off when Hikari pulled him into a kiss. Naruto's eyes widened before he kissed back. As soon as they finished, Haruna pouted, "What about me, Oni-chan?" Naruto smiled and kissed the girl. After that, they went to sleep. Next day, Naruto, Hikari, and Haruna got up and went to have breakfast together. The adults noticed them and smiled. The way they walked with each other was a sign good enough to tell them they had worked it out. They smiled at the three as they quickly ate breakfast since today was graduation day. When the three siblings left, Hikari told Naruto, "So Oni-chan, now we're together, you're under the CRA, you know that right?" Naruto nodded. Haruna then said, "So, are you going to tell Yuki-chan, Suki-chan and Hinata-chan, or are we going to tell them?" Naruto said, "You girls tell them, it'll make me look like a pervert or something and they might dislike me for that." Haruna and Hikari shook their heads and nodded. As they reached the academy, they found said girls sitting at their usual spots. They greeted, "Oheyo, Hinata-chan, Yuki-chan, Suki-chan." They greeted back, "Oheyo, Haruna-chan, Hikari-chan, Naruto-kun. You ready for today?" The siblings gave a smile and said in unison, "Of course." Soon, the test started. The heiresses and Naruto went through the test easily. After that, it was the weapon part. Naruto got 10 out of 10 for everything, and the girls besides Hinata all got 10 out of 10 for almost everything while said Hyuga got 10 out of 10. Then when it came to Taijutsu, they were to land a hit on Uruka within 5 minutes. Naruto and the girls all done it in less than 3 minutes while most others got less than 4 minutes. Finally, the jutsu part. The basic 3 jutsu was done, except for the 3 Uchiha and 3 Uzumaki Namikaze siblings. Sasuke, Yuki and Suki did the Katen, Gakakyu no Jutsu, with Yuki and Suki's larger and on par with each other, but larger than Sasuke's. The Uzumaki Namikaze siblings also did one same jutsu, the Hurashin. The siblings each scattered kunai and Hurashin around several times. The 6 shocking Uruka with such advanced jutsu. After that, everyone in the class received their headbands, which meant no one failed. After a moment, Uruka went out and gave the Hokage the list of past students. After using Kage Bunshin to sort the other classes' graduating students, with 3 clones for one class, Minato gave Uruka and the other Chunin sensei the list of teams. Uruka re-entered the class and said, "Now, congratulations. I will now announce your teams. Team 1, Team 7, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, Haruna and Hikari. Sensei is Namikaze Kushina. Team 8, Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino and Kurama Yakumo. Since her class lacked numbers, Sensei is Ui Kurenai. Team 9 is still active. Team 10, Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Chouji. Sensei is Saruto Asuma. Team 11, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura and Sai from another class is the lack of numbers. Finally, Team 12, Hyuga Hinata, Uchiha Tsuki and Uchiha Yuki. Sensei is Uchiha Mikoto. That's all, meet your sensei tomorrow here. You're free to go now. Uruka then walked out of the room as the students went out. Hikari then told the 3 other heiresses, "You know, Oni-chan is now under the CRA as he has a relationship with us now. So, you girls should tell him how you feel." The 3 nodded and went to Naruto. Yuki approached the boy and said, Naruto-kun, you are under the CRA now, right?" Naruto nodded. Suki and Hinata then said, "Well, the 3 of us liked you when we were little, and we want to be with you in the CRA." Naruto stuttered, okay. The 3 girls smiled at the blushing boy and hugged him before kissing the boy. Meanwhile, a certain perverted white-haired Sannin was using a telescope watching them chuckling. "Nice, seems like him write the series, Ika Trials of Apollo. With Naruto's blonde hair, it fits perfectly. Hehe. The years coming up was going to be interesting for sure, without a doubt." After the girls' confessions, Naruto and his sisters went home. The 3 siblings, lovers, were planning to ask their mother about being their sensei like the Uchiha heiresses with their mother. As the siblings went in, they found their parents and godparents sitting on the sofa. Minato said, "Now, I know you must be wondering why I put your mother as your team sensei." He got nods from his children. Jiraiya said, "You should know that your mother, Hitomi and Mikoto, were known as the female version of the Sannin. Akase and Shibo Kanoichi, they were actually planning on taking teams and work together as one big team, which is possible depending on the Jounin, but due to Hinata's sister being born, only Kushina and Mikoto could. And Kushina and Mikoto, like all other Jounin, could request specific genin, and they chose you guys, plus there wasn't any other Jounin requesting for you, so you got her as your sensei. And since we're living together, we might as well tell you, if Minato is okay with it." Minato nodded as Kushina took over. "See, the test at the academy was just to see if you had what it takes to become a ninja. But it does not make you one. You will be given a separate test that would determine if you can become shinobi. Mostly you just get a test for teamwork, but you've been training together for so long with each other, Mikoto and I have decided to just test your skills." No doubt Mikoto is telling her daughters this now. "So I advise you 3 rest up. Just because I'm your mother doesn't mean I'll go easy on you, capiche?" The 3 siblings saw the dark, creepy expression on their mother as she said that and nodded furiously before speeding back into Naruto's room to rest before coming out to have dinner. Next day, Naruto, his sisters, the Uchiha heiresses, Hinata and pretty much every genin hopefuls were sitting in their class, waiting for their sensei. Outside the academy, Kakashi was talking with his sensei's wife, whom he looked up to like a sister, and Mikoto, Kushina ni, Mikoto-sama, you really want to mess with them, don't you? Kushina glared at her younger brother figure like you're one to talk. Always getting lost on the road of life, and I'm saying that when we go in later, got it. Kakashi chuckled at the redhead's childishness. Whatever you say, I seriously don't know how sensei puts up with you. He mumbled the last part but was heard. Kushina turned her head slowly towards the Cyclops, eyes glowing white as the temperature dropped. What did you just say, Kakashi? Kakashi sweated. Nothing, Kushina ni, I'll see you later. Before he could run, Kushina grabbed his collar and gave him a beat down. Mikoto just shook her head at the two. Back with the teams, after 5 minutes, every team was picked out by their sensei respectively. Well, save Team 7, Team 11, and Team 12. Naruto, Hikari, Haruna, Tsuki, Yuki, Hinata, Sasuke, Sakura and Sai were sitting there irritated. Well, Sai was just smiling. Sakura was screeching, "Where are they?" Naruto, Hikari, Haruna, Tsuki and Yuki sighed. Haruna glared at the Banshee. "Haruno, if you don't stop this instance, I'll kill you." Sakura just glared back and huffed, staying quiet anyway. Sasuke was smiling seeing the girl putting down the fangirl. He thought, she'll make a good wife. All I need to do is make her forget the idiot. So they waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. For an hour now. Finally, the door slid open as 3 people came in. Sakura yelled, "You're late." Kushina smiled and said, "Well, we all got lost on the road of life." At that, Naruto, Hikari, Haruna, Tsuki, Yuki and Hinata slammed their heads on the table they were sitting by, one by one. Mikoto only shook her head at them. Kakashi then said, "Anyway, Team 11, with me." Said team got up and followed the man out. Kushina said, "So, you girls and guy will follow us to Training Ground 7. I'm sure Mikoto told you about the joint team thing." She looked at Yuki, Tsuki and Hinata at the last part as they nodded. Mikoto looked at her friend and said, "Well, see you at Training Ground 7 then." The 2 female jounin then vanished via Shunshin. Naruto shook his head and said, "Everyone, come closer and put a hand on me please." The girls nodded and placed a hand on Naruto's shoulders or chest as Naruto did several hand signs, Hiraishin no Jutsu. Suddenly, the girls all found themselves in Training Ground 7 in front of their sensei, mother. Naruto breathed heavily for a while as he had used up a good amount of chakra to transport them, but the chakra returned after he took a chakra pill. Kushina looked impressed. "Wow, Naru-chan, you managed to use the Hiraishin to transport everyone here. Minato needed 3 years to learn that." Naruto said nothing and nodded. Mikoto then said, "Now that you're all here, I want all of you to fight us at the same time. So it's basically the 6 of you versus the 2 of us." "Got it." The soon-to-be genin nodded as they knew their mother, sensei were all strong kunoichi and were not to be taken lightly. Kushina then said, "And if any of you are unconscious, you will all go back to the academy. Think of it as a test since Minato insisted." The genin all nodded. Then Mikoto said, "So, the test starts." Now, as soon as the Uchiha Matriarch said that, the girls vanished while Naruto stood there, already dialing 555 and pressing enter. Standing by, Naruto slid the phone into the slot in his belt and pushed it down. Complete. Naruto transformed into Faiz and drew the Faiz edge. He thought they were all S-ranked shinobi and with Hitomi-sama, the 3 of them could take down cage-level shinobi in minutes. Even without Hitomi-sama, they still are strong, gotta be careful. I'll try using Excel form. Naruto took the mission memory from the SB555W Faiz Excel watch and slid it onto his phone. Complete. The chest plates moved onto his shoulders. But before he could press the trigger, Kushina and Mikoto had ran beside him, swords drawn. Naruto smirked as he jumped up, evading the slashes from the 2 kunoichi. As he was airborne, he pressed the button. Start up. Time slowed down for him as Naruto quickly ran towards the 2 jounin and swung his sword, which was surprisingly blocked by Kushina's and Mikoto's swords. During the 10 minutes, Naruto would land some cuts on the women, but some would be blocked by the instincts from their experiences. After the 10 minutes, the watch announced, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time up. Naruto became visible and was back in normal form. Kushina and Mikoto smirked and charged, Mikoto doing hand signs with Kushina, Jutsu combination, Katten, Suten, Ryuden no Jutsu. They both shot out a fire and water dragon respectively as the dragons twirled around each other going straight for Naruto. Naruto smirked as he saw the dragons but made no attempt to dodge, which made every female present go wide-eyed as Naruto slid the mission memory into the hilt of the Faiz edge and pressed enter on his phone. Exceed charge. Energy gathered in the sword as it glowed red. Naruto then swung it at the dragon as a beam of energy ran across the ground and tore the elemental dragons to shreds as it continued down its path, towards a shocked Kushina and Mikoto. The beam hit as they were encased in the anti-gravity field. Naruto walked slowly as he dulled the energy in his blade, not enough to kill but definitely enough to incapacitate a person or 2. As he reached them, he swung the blade 2 times and across, the energy flinging the 2 matriarchs away, hitting a tree and unconscious. Hinata, Hikari, Haruna, Yuki and Tsuki just looked in shock as their boyfriend just beat 2 of the strongest kunoichi in Konoha, even if they weren't going all out. After a while, the 2 women finally woke up. Naruto looked at them. "Kasan, why did you not use the Kaiksa-gear?" Kushina said, "It didn't come to my mind." Naruto shook his head and sighed, "I wanted to see the Kaiksa-gear in action. And when I used the exceed charge, why the hell did you stand there? You could have evaded it. Is tearing through 2 elemental dragons so shocking to you?" Kushina and Mikoto nodded. Naruto face-palmed, "And here I thought you'd stop underestimating me." Naruto continued his rant on how the 2 jounin could have countered him while the other girls just watched in disbelief over the fact that Naruto, a fresh genin, albeit one who is a famous band, beat the strongest Hokage using said Hokage's signature jutsu, telling off 2 seasoned kunoichi about how they could have countered his attacks. After a while, Naruto sighed, "Never mind, I believe you will have to report to Tusan right." They nodded as they vanished via Shunshin. Naruto then looked at the girls. "So, anyone up for ramen?" The girl's face faulted at the fact that Naruto acted like nothing happened after telling off 2 of the Sanshibo no Konoichi. They got up as Tsuki said, "Can we have sushi today, please Naruto-kun?" The other girls who wanted something other than ramen for once, with Tsuki, used the puppy eyes jutsu and Naruto instantly caved into the cuteness of 5 Konoichi and nodded before they headed for a sushi restaurant. With the Jounin, Kushina and Makoto came into the Hokage's office as Minato said, "Good, everyone's here. So how did the teams do?" Team 1 to 6 failed. Kushina and Makoto said together, Team 7 and 12 passed with flying colors. The girls did absolutely nothing as Naruto single-handedly defeated us just after the test started. Not unlike how he defeated you, Minato-kun, Hokage-sama. Most of the Jounin's eyes widened. When Kushina and Makoto or Hitomi paired up, they could take down Jiraiya and Minato together. The fact that Naruto beat the both of them together right after the test started. They then thought whether Naruto's status as a ranked ninja was not enough to measure Naruto's skills. Minato nodded and motioned for the other Jounin. Hiranai said, Team 8 passed. Asuma said, Team 10 passed. Kakashi sighed, Team 11 passed. I swear the Haruno family is some kind of Banshee descendant family. Sakura kept screeching about Kiba not obeying, and I quote her Sasuke-kun as well as Sasuke berating Kiba about not obeying Uchiha greatness. Kiba had Akamaru attack me while I was distracted by Sakura's loudness and got the bells. I tied the other 2 up and told Kiba to eat the bento and told them they'd try again. I hid my scent and presence, and the only reason they passed was because Kiba fed the both of them. So in short, only Kiba did something for the team to pass. Everyone then did a silent prayer for Kakashi as he had taken on possibly the worst team in history. After that, Minato said, Okay, good job everyone. You're all dismissed. And Kakashi, good luck. Kakashi nodded sadly as they walked out of the office leaving Kushina, Makoto and Minato in the office. Makoto sighed. Guess Sasuke still has that arrogance in him even though I got it out of Fugaku-kun. I'm gonna have to get Fugaku-kun to beat it out of Sasuke. Minato and Kushina chuckled at that as they pitied their friend for having to deal with that kind of stuff. With Naruto and the girls, Naruto was getting introduced to the wonders of sushi and decided it was a food of the gods second to ramen. Now, Naruto was scarfing down plates of sushi from the sushi belt of the restaurant much to the horror of the chiefs as they had to work triple time and to the amusement of the girls as it was the first time seeing their boyfriend eating something that wasn't ramen at such a pace, occasionally drinking large amount of cold green tea due to too much wasabi. Just then, 5 rich civilian boys who were spoiled rotten by their parents came in. They noticed the girls and walked to them. Hello ladies, would you join us for lunch, our treat? The girls didn't bother to look at them as they continued eating with Naruto. The waiter saw this and got a bad feeling. The 5 civilian boys were well known among restaurant owners. They would notice pretty girls and try to flirt with them even if they were ignored, which caused trouble in the shops. The second guy said, Why don't you ditch this idiot and come with us, such beautiful ladies like you should be with us. Suki had enough and looked at them with cold eyes, living up to being an ice princess from the academy. Pray tell, what status do you have that can triumph the status of our boyfriend here being in a ranked shinobi at such a young age? The other girls looked at the 5 boys as well, waiting for their answer as Naruto groaned inwardly and wanted to kick the 5 civilians' asses for interrupting their lunch. The third civilian said arrogantly, We are the children of. He was cut off by Hinata, who showed the cold side she rarely showed. We don't care who your parents are. They are their own people. You're all just idiots living in their shadows. Now leave us alone. The fourth civilian, thinking that they wouldn't or couldn't do anything, said, What if we won't leave? Now, everyone in the restaurant was looking at them. Hikari was going to reply, but Naruto, who was getting tired of this, beat her to it. Then I'll make you. Naruto stood up and looked at the 5 civilians straight to the face, and the boys were frightened to see Naruto's glowing eyes. The boys nodded and left quickly. Cheers erupted from within the restaurant as the 5 civilian boys were finally put down by someone. The keeper of the shop walked up to them and said to Naruto, I thank you for that. They have been a pain to most of the restaurants. To show my gratitude, I'll give you a free meal here today. The group smiled as the shopkeeper went back to his counter. Later, the shopkeeper swore he would never offer a free meal to anyone ever again. A week has passed since Team 7 and 12 were officially formed. They always did 2D ranks together whenever they had missions. They would work together with one mission quickly and go on to the next missions. So, the 2 teams were now holding top record on D-rank missions. They even became famous due to Naruto solving the Tora mission problem. Teams 7 and 12 successfully captured Tora for what seemed like the 100th time. Naruto held the cat as it seemed to dislike every other person in both teams. The cat always clawed at the girls whenever they tried to hold it. Now, the 2 teams were going to the Hokage Tower. They entered the office as Kushina reported, Mission complete, Hokage-sama. Minato nodded and chuckled, Kushi-chan, you seriously don't need to call me that. Kushina smiled at him, but that would be favoritism, wasn't it? Minato nodded. Whenever Kushina had missions, she would address him as Hokage-sama, something that annoyed the man at first. Then, the daimyo's wife came in. Naruto gave her the cat as she crushed the cat with her vice grip. The cat tried everything it could to escape but failed. The girls of Team 7 and 12 all smirked evilly inwardly as they all had similar thoughts. Suffer, you damn cat, you deserve it for trying to scratch us and get Oni-chan, Naruto-kun's attention. Minato, Kushina, and Mikoto could only sweat drop and sigh as this had been happening from during their time. Naruto noticed the problem and sighed. Shijimi-sama, I believe I have found the reason to why Tora keeps running from you. Shijimi looked at Naruto and asked, and why is that, may I ask? Naruto replied, if you would let me hold Tora for a moment. Shijimi complied and handed Tora to him. Naruto then started to pet Tora gently as it purred in his arms. You see, the way you hug Tora is painful for it. I know you want to express your love to Tora, but it makes it feel afraid whenever you try to hug it. Tora loves gentleness, and if you handle Tora with care, it might not run away from you. Shijimi nodded as Naruto handed a reluctant Tora back to the daimyo's wife. Tora closed its eyes and waited for the crushing hug, but instead, it felt the gentle petting it loved to receive from Naruto. Shijimi was surprised as Tora became more relaxed in her hands and didn't try to run away. Shijimi smiled at Naruto and said, I thank you for telling me of my errors. I'll pay double for this and you can expect more missions in the future. As the wife of the daimyo left, Naruto noticed the shocked looks from his parents, teammates, sisters, girlfriends, and Mikoto. He asked, what? At first, Minato was happy and disappointed at the same time. Happy that Tora was gone from the mission rosters and disappointed for losing a good source of income. But that soon ended as he received higher-ranking missions from the daimyo at the same rate he received the Tora mission, which meant the income of missions and money had increased a lot. Minato thanked Naruto 1,000 times for that and would have immediately promoted Naruto to Chunin if it wasn't for Naruto saying he wanted to take the exams with his sisters. Now, Mikoto was talking with Kushina and Kakashi at a cafe. Kushina said, I think we should get a joint training session between the Genin teams. Kakashi nodded, I think we should include Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy's team. Give them some kind of interaction with future partners. Mikoto nodded. Over the week Team 7 and 12 formed. She had told her husband about Sasuke's behavior and Fugaku gave Sasuke a beating session through a spar and scolded him after the spar. Sasuke accepted the scoldings but still didn't really change his attitude. Maybe this joint training session would help with that. Kushina then continued, okay then, we'll have a joint training session for the Genin teams. Is tomorrow okay? Kakashi nodded. I'll tell Asuma and Guy. Kushina ni, you can tell Kurenai, right? Kushina nodded, so we'll meet at Training Ground 7 then. Mikoto nodded as the Cyclops went off to tell his fellow Jounin while Kushina and Mikoto went to tell Kurenai. The next day, Naruto and his team were waiting at Training Ground 7. Then they saw Kiba, Shino, Sasuke, Sakura, Ino, Shikamaru, Choji, Neji whom they knew from visiting Hinata at the Hyuga compound and 4 people they didn't recognize. Teams 7 and 12 greeted Neji who greeted back. He then introduced his teammates, Lee and Tenten. Soon, Kushina, Mikoto, Kakashi, Kurenai, Asuma and Guy appeared via Leaf Shunshin. Kushina said, okay, today you shall be having a team spar. Think of this as a training session. We'll now start with the spar. Your Jounin sensei will determine whom you will fight. Kakashi looked at Kushina. Kushina ni, I think I'll have my team fight yours. Kushina nodded. Asuma looked at Kurenai. Kurenai-chan, I want to make a bet with you. Kurenai raised an eyebrow, which is. Asuma smirked. If my team beats yours, you'll have to go on a date with me. The other Jounin rolled their eyes at this. Kurenai smiled. Fine, but if you lose, you'll never get a date from me again, K. Asuma nodded. It was all or nothing. Guy looked at Mikoto. I guess our teams will compete with their flames of youth. Mikoto sighed and nodded. Kushina looked at the Genin and said, so, there you have your opponents. So who wants to go first? Naruto looked at his sisters, girlfriends and nodded, we'll go first. Kushina nodded. The trees that are surrounding you are the limits of the ring. Everyone else will be watching outside of the tress. They all looked around and noticed there were tress making a circle. They nodded as the other teams left, leaving Team 7 and 11 with Kushina. Kushina said, so, this starts, now. Kushina then shunshin away. None of the teams moved. Naruto then heard Akari's voice. Oni-chan, I'm using a link Kyubi extended to you and don't talk out loud, just think the words to us. Now, Haruna-chan and I will take on the Banshee and the other guy while you fight Sasuke, is that okay? Naruto thought back, okay. Then, the 3 siblings jumped at Team 11. The team of idiots were surprised at the speed and barely dodged. Naruto slowly led Sasuke away from Sakura and the other guy. Haruna and Akari were working together so well they dominated the battle. As if on cue, the same deep voice they heard occasionally from the academy was heard, dominating. Akari kicked Sakura as Haruna jumped away from the boys' attacks, letting the attack hit Sakura who was just in the way. Sakura screeched, Saibaka, watch where you're hitting. The boy known as Sai said nothing as he continued trying to fight Haruna. The Jounin and Genin saw this and shook their heads. Kushina looked at Kakashi. Kakashi, don't tell me you never taught them anything. Kakashi replied, I did teach them. Mikoto asked, which is? Kakashi replied, I taught them teamwork exercises, they had no teamwork. So I had to teach them that before they could learn anything else. Asuma chuckled as Kurenai sighed. In other words, if Naruto, Akari and Haruna separate them, the match is already theirs. The Genin heard this and just watched on. They then focused on Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke kept punching and was dodged by Naruto. Sasuke yelled, I'll show you who is the strongest, and Haruna will forget about you. Naruto said nothing as he dodged. Soon, Sasuke started to get tired. Naruto smirked and held the Faiz edge up, doing 2 of the kenjutsu techniques he learned from one of his sensei from his travels. Naruto said, Amajiri Shinmei Ryuken, 9-fanged longsword. Naruto then slashed several times, but he moved so fast he was practically a blur to everyone. Cuts appeared on Sasuke as he stumbled. Sasuke tched and did a set of hand signs, Captain, Karyu and Dan. A large torrent of flames surrounded Naruto, who smirked and did another kenjutsu technique, Amajiri Shinmei Ryuken, 10 thistles. He turned and slashed at the flames, completely dissolving them. Naruto then said, Amajiri Shinmei Ryuken, 4 wasps. Naruto did stabs at Sasuke as more cuts appeared. Naruto then suddenly appeared behind Sasuke, but instead of stabbing the Uchiha like he was supposed to do with the technique, he used the hilt of the Faiz edge and hit Sasuke at the back of the head, rendering him unconscious. The Jounin and Genin were wide-eyed at Naruto. The blonde had used the famous Amajiri Shinmei Ryu Kenjutsu style that was only known by the Kiri no Shinabigatana Shisuninshu, so that would mean Naruto must have trained under one of them during his travels. This naturally got Tenten, who was a weapon fan, to go into fangirl mode weapon version. She practically had stars in her eyes as she saw Naruto did the kenjutsu techniques. After beating Sasuke, Naruto then rushed back to help Haruna and Ikari. Sakura saw Naruto and got mad. What did you do to Sasuke-kun, Naruto baka? Naruto said nothing as Sakura charged him, completely forgetting Ikari being behind her. Soon, Sakura was beaten by the pair due to her foolishness. Sai was also soon beaten as soon as Haruna started using the Haraishin. After that, the Jounin and Genin went back in. The Uzumaki Namikaze siblings looked at Kakashi. Ikari then said, Kakashi Nai, your team absolutely, positively sucks. This got snickers from the Jounin and Genin as Kakashi just sweat dropped inside. Then the next matches started. Team 8 won against Team 10. As Kushina yelled, Hajime. She jumped away, leaving Suki, Yuki, Hinata, Neji, Tenten and Lee. A dust ball that appeared out of nowhere rolled across in between the 2 teams, then they charged. Neji and Hinata went into a heated Juken match while the Uchiha sisters fought Lee and Tenten. Neji and Hinata matched strike for strike, which surprised Neji as Hinata had improved leaps and bounds from their last spar. None knew any of the advanced Juken techniques. Hinata then yelled, Hack Juraku Sho. She sent a 16 combo Juken strike at Neji, who was too close to dodge, and got a quarter of his Tenketsu shut down. Neji felt numb and found his right arm to be unable to use the Juken, so he settled to using his left hand. With the Jounin and Genin, Guy was surprised as Hinata was beating Neji in Juken. Sasuke was talking with Kiba about the girls, to which made Naruto resisting the urge to give them a beating. Other of the Genin were interested on how Team 9 fought. As the Juken contest continued, Hinata then did something Neji never expected. She moved around in one of the Juken styles developed by her mother, something none of the other Hyuga succeeded. Even Neji, who attempted to learn from Hitomi, failed. Hinata slid around Neji in a serene movement that the watchers all thought she was dancing. Naruto found himself unable to take his eyes off her as he admired her movements. Neji found himself unable to keep up and was soon hit in the abdomen. He then fell unconscious. With Suki, Yuki, Tenten and Lee, Yuki engaged Lee in a taijutsu match, which was in Lee's favor. Suki was fighting Tenten, who was throwing weapons, while Suki was spamming some of the lower-ranking but destructive jutsu she knew, so the battle was in Suki's favor as the weapons did little effect. Soon, Hinata joined the battle and Lee was soon defeated. Yuki and Suki were now facing Tenten. They then did sets of hand signs and yelled in unison, Futen, Daidappa, Katten, Gakakyu no Justu. The wind empowered the flames and knocked the weapons off course and engulfed Tenten, who couldn't take the heat and fainted. The match then ended with Team 12 as the winner. After the losing teams recovered, they were all given a lecture on the importance of planning, teamwork, and observation. The Jounin then scolded Team 11 for their bad teamwork, and if they were on a mission they would have died quickly. The other Jounin then asked Kakashi what he had taught them, only to receive the same answer he gave Kushina. Makoto glared at Kakashi. Kakashi, you're telling me you haven't even taught them the tree walking exercise yet? Kakashi nodded as he started sweating. Kushina, Makoto, and Kurenai glared at the Cyclops and began giving him the greatest beatdown of his life, second to Jiraiya beat by Tsunade for peeping. The training session then continued. 2 weeks have passed since the joint training session. Kakashi, after the beatdown, took training his students a tad bit more seriously, and by that, I mean he still teaches them the teamwork exercises, only adding tree walking, water walking, and several E-ranked ninjutsu, jujutsu, and taijutsu. So, basically, Team 11 is by now the weakest Genin team who thinks they are the best in history. Anyway, enough about Team 11 and to Team 7 and 12. The 2 teams have completed over 100 D-rank missions, mostly thanks to Naruto using Kage Bunshin after gaining permission from his parents. So, now the 2 teams are headed for the Hokage Tower for a new mission. As the teams entered the office, Minato smiled at the Genin. So, Team 7 and 12, ready for another day of D-rank missions. He stressed the vocal D as he said it and saw the Genin wince. In the beginning, the 2 teams actually enjoyed the missions, something that none of the teams ever did, well, unless they were Jounin who went on B to S rank missions that would result in death frequently. But even doing D ranks for so long would make anyone go crazy. That included Teams 7 and 12. Minato, Kushina and Mikoto all laughed at their students' children's expressions. Minato, still laughing a bit, said, I wanted to see that. You've already passed the requirements for a higher ranking mission. I think you should just take a C rank every time you take a mission anyway. So, here's a C rank. Tezuna-san, you can come in now. An old man came in with a sake bottle with a towel around his neck. He saw the two jounin and said, Akashi and Kuroishi, Hokage-sama, you're sending 2S ranked shinobi. Minato smiled and said, yes, they're taking their genin teams, so you're in safe hands. Tezuna nodded, satisfied that not only he had 2S ranked shinobi protect him, the fact they were hot was also a plus, though he wouldn't say it out loud since one was the Hokage's wife and they hate perverts besides their husbands. Kushina said, so we'll meet at the gates tomorrow at 7. Okay. She got nods from everyone as they left to pack. Naruto went to his room and got a week's clothing, and by that, it's just 3 sets of shinobi clothes and 1 set of sleeping clothes. After putting them into sealing scrolls, he took several dozens of ramen cups and placed them into more scrolls. He then stuck the scrolls onto the auto-vagin. Hikari, Yuki, Tsuki, Hinata, and Haruna packed the same, a large tent for 1, 2, and 3 people in Hinata, Yuki, Tsuki, Hikari, and Haruna's cases respectively, 3 sets of clothing and a set of sleeping clothes each. They then went to train for the day, with the Uzumaki Namikaze siblings practicing the Hurricane with their father, the Uchiha sisters training with their mother, and Hinata sparring with her father. Next day, the 2 teams waited at the gates, waiting for the old man known as the Super Bridge Builder Tezuna. Soon, the old man reached the gates and saw a group of annoyed females and one Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto reading a black book. Hikari had a tick mark and asked, You're late, Tezuna-san. Don't you know to never keep ladies in waiting? Tezuna said awkwardly, I got lost in the road of life. The females all face-faulted as Naruto snickered. Mikoto got up and sighed, Never mind, let's just start moving. It'll take at least 2 days to reach Nami no Kuni since we have to move at civilian pace. Soon, they on the road. As they walked, Naruto felt 2 chakra signatures he hadn't felt in 3 years. He looked around and found the source of the chakra, a small puddle. He wanted to facepalm as there was only 2 people he knew would be so stupid to use such a disguise. He looked at the puddle. Guzu, Mizu, seriously, of all the choices you chose a puddle when it hasn't rained for days. Get out here. Kushina and Mikoto were surprised. They were not surprised by the fact 2 missing nin appeared from the puddle. No, they were surprised Naruto knew them. Guzu and Mizu laughed. Naruto, long time no see bro. Naruto sighed. So, are you waiting for someone? Mizu noticed Tezuna. Actually, we were hired by Gato to kill him. But seeing as you're here, we might as well tell boss to call off the contract. I'm sure with you here he'll do it without a doubt. Plus boss is pissed at Gato anyway. Naruto sighed again. Let me guess, this Gato made passes at Haku-chan. Mizu nodded. Naruto shook his head. Never mind, so we're headed to Nami. You coming with us or you're gonna go back to tell them? Mizu laughed. Nope, we're coming with you. Boss is hiding in front in case we were beaten by someone. Naruto nodded. Of course. He said it sarcastically. The girls were dumbfounded. Here was Naruto conversing with 2 missing nin like they were old buddies, which they were. Kushina asked, Naruto, how do you know these 2? Mikoto and girls nodded. Yes, we'd like to know as well. Mizu answered, You see, boss and us were chased by Oinen from Kiri, and we found Naruto's room by chance in a hotel. We asked him to help us hide. We thought he'd sell us out to the Oinen, but he let us into the room and let us stay there for the time. He even went as far to lie to the Oinen to help us. We owe him our lives. The girls, Kushina and Mikoto nodded. Kushina said, Fine, I want to see who this boss of yours is. But if you 2 try anything, we'll kill you. The 2 missing nin nodded. As they walked, Tezuna would occasionally look at the 2 in fear. Naruto asked, So, Tezuna, what did you do to have Gato hire them? Mizu chuckled. Apparently this old man here is building a bridge that'd save Nami from Gato. The short idiot thought he'd have us kill him. Seriously, I'm surprised the dick hasn't thought of bombing the bridge when it's done. Would have made you lose resources and put you in a worse state. Tezuna paled at the thought as he never thought of it. Guzu then said, We're here. The group of 11 people found themselves in front of huge amount of mist. Guzu and Mizu smirked at Naruto who smirked back. They then flared their chakra. The mist dissipated as a man came out. Mikoto and Kushina's eyes widened at the man. The man sighed. I was going to ask the 2 idiots why they came back, but I see I found the reason. Been 3 years, hasn't it, Naruto? Haku missed you a lot. Naruto smiled at the man. Yes, 3 years. I missed her too, Zabuza-sensei. The man now known as Zabuza shook his head. I prefer if you don't call me that anymore. I stopped being your sensei since we parted ways. I was hoping you'd call me how you used to before I took you on as an apprentice. Naruto chuckled. Fine, Zabuza-nai. Zabuza laughed. That's more like it. Haku, get out here. He yelled the last part towards the trees on his left. Suddenly, a blur of white and pink flew and tackled Naruto, causing him and the person to fall to the ground. Naruto laughed. Missed you too, Haku-chan. The masked girl stood up and pulled Naruto up. She took off the mask revealing a beautiful face and pouted at Naruto. You never write to us, Naruto-kun. Made me think you forgot about us. The girls from Konoha all glared at Haku's closeness with Naruto. They all noticed how Naruto seemed more at ease than how he acted in Konoha. It was like he was with family, open, warm, and happy, unlike back in Konoha, where he was still happy, but colder and more guarded even if it was a little bit. Kushina and Mikoto also noticed this and felt a bit sad. Naruto then asked, "So, Zabuza Nai, what are you gonna do now?" Zabuza replied, "I'm gonna call off the deal with Gato. We'll follow you and help protect Tazuna. I'm sure this'll make that short asshole to go to the bridge himself. I want to kill him anyways." Naruto nodded and replied, "He made passes at Haku-chan, right?" Haku nodded, "It made me feel dirty." Naruto nodded, "Guess that settles it. We'll all go to Tazuna's house and protect him. If Gato comes, we'll kill him, and if he doesn't, we'll take the fight to him." Zabuza, Haku, Guzu, and Mizu nodded. Zabuza then noticed the others. He stuttered when he saw Mikoto and Kushina, Akashi and Kuroishi. "What are you two doing here?" Kushina and Mikoto wanted to laugh at Zabuza's shocked face. Well, eyes as his face is mostly covered by his mask. Naruto said before they could say anything, "Kasan and Mikoto-sama are our team sensei. We took on a joint mission to protect Tazuna Tanami." Zabuza looked at Naruto shocked again. "You never told me your mother was Uzumaki Kushina." "Wait, that means you're the Yondaime Hokage's son." Naruto nodded as if it was nothing. Haku was shocked since Naruto was practically the prince of Konoha. Tazuna was annoyed now. He said, "So, can we move? The distance between my house and our position won't shorten itself, you know." Kushina nodded. "Fine, let's talk when we reach our destination." Naruto then said before they could move, "Wait, I have an idea how to get there today. I'll get the auto wagon and let Tazuna ride with me while you guys move at shinobi speed. That okay?" Everyone found it acceptable and nodded while the girls secretly wanted to ride with Naruto. Soon, Naruto was riding the auto wagon with Tazuna sitting behind him enjoying the wind beating on his face. The others were jumping from tree to tree before running on the ground as there are no more trees to jump on. They soon arrived to the seaside that would have Nami at the opposite side. The group stopped before Kushina and Mikoto said, "Girls, you know the water walking technique, right? We'll use it to walk across." Getting nods, Kushina looked at her son. "So, Naru-chan, how are you going to get your bike across?" Naruto smirked and said nothing. He then drove the bike towards the water. Tazuna waited for the water to reach his feet, but it never came as he soon found the bike to be moving on the water. Tazuna asked, "What the hell, Gaki?" Naruto chuckled as he saw everyone also wanted answers. "I applied the water walking onto the wheels. I only need to regulate the chakra as the wheels are constantly rolling. It was hell at the beginning and I had to get the auto wagon into battle mode whenever I sunk." The others nodded and they soon reached the other end of the shore. They then noticed a large half-completed bridge. Zabuza whistled appreciatively. "Wow, that is one large bridge. And you managed to build that much in a few days." Tazuna smiled proudly. "Yes, that is my current masterpiece, for a bridge anyway. Would have been quicker if we had more than 20 people, and our numbers are decreasing quickly as they fear Gato. I think we have only 15 now." The others listened as they continued moving. Tazuna then pointed to a double-story house. "That's my house. Come on." He got off the bike and ran to the door. He knocked the door and yelled, "Tsunami-chan, I'm back." The door opened and revealed a woman in her 20s. She had an apron on her and had a pretty face as well. Naruto looked at her and back at Mikoto. He asked, Mikoto-sama, the two of you look alike a lot." The woman looked at Mikoto and smiled. "It's been a long time, hasn't it, Mikoto?" Mikoto smiled back. 13 years, Tsunami." Yuki and Suki asked, "Ka-chan, you know her?" Mikoto looked at her daughters. "Know her. Suki-chan, Yuki-chan, this is her aunt. She was disowned by the Ucha because she couldn't activate her Sharingan before the required age." Tsunami nodded. "I only activated in 5 years ago. Just a few years after Tusan adopted me with the adoption ritual." Zabuza looked at Tazuna in shock. "You did the adoption ritual? That hasn't been done in decades." Tazuna nodded. "Well, I wanted to have a daughter, a true-blooded one. So when I found Tsunami on the streets, I took her in. She was and still is the best thing that happened in my life. Even gave me a grandson." Mikoto smiled at her long-lost sister. "So, you're married, so where's my brother-in-law?" Tsunami suddenly had a sad look. Naruto recognized the look along with every adult present. Naruto said, "He's dead, isn't he?" Just then, a boy had walked down and heard him. The boy gritted his teeth and yelled, "What do you know? You shinobi had good lives at your homes while we had to suffer at Gato's hands. My father got himself killed for just standing up to that asshole. You talk like as if you know what it's like to lose someone, you know nothing." The boy turned to leave but was stopped as the temperature dropped severely. Naruto then unleashed Kai so huge it made the civilians and the genin fall to the ground. It even made the missing Nin and 2 Jounin sweat. Naruto walked to the boy and picked him up by the collar so that the boy was looking right into Naruto's glowing eyes. Naruto said calmly, "But you could feel the anger. Listen, kid, if it's about losing someone you care about, I had to watch the person I cared for get tortured in front of me before getting killed in the most brutal way I ever saw. The person was like a father to me, even more than my biological father. You lost your father who was killed by Gato, killed by a stab. Yes, I know how Kaiser was killed in Nami. I watched my own father figure burned, poisoned, electrocuted, stabbed, whipped, put an arrow to a wound making it worse, and much more. Before being killed by being buried in the ground leaving the head above, kicked multiple times until his head came off. I had to watch this before Zabuza and the others saved me. So don't bitch around about losing someone you cared for. Stand up and get back at that damn motherfucker who killed your father like I did with the people who killed the person I cared for." Naruto then lifted the killing intent and walked out. The people from Konoha were shocked while Zabuza, Haku, Mizu and Guzu were donning sad faces. Kushina asked, "What did Naruto mean when he said he saw his father figure was killed?" Zabuza looked at the others as they nodded. He then opened his mouth to speak. "After we met Naruto, we met another man named Narumi Sakichi. He was cold to us, but he was kind and had a warmth. He and Naruto developed a father-son relationship after he saved Naruto from death. But the two got captured by an Iwa nin. He killed Sakichi and Naruto let himself loose. He killed several whole teams of Iwa nin by himself in less than a minute and would have killed even more if the Yanbai Jinchuriki didn't interfere. Naruto succeeded to kill the man who killed Sakichi though. He ripped the man's heart out and crushed it before crushing the brain. I've never seen someone at a young age kill like that. It was also why he ended up in the bingo book. He would have killed Han if that Tsuchikage didn't join the fight." With the kid saying those stuff, he opened up the painful memories Naruto spent a few weeks trying to forget. If Haku wasn't there, I can't think how Naruto would have ended up. Haku looked at the other girls from Konoha and they had a silent agreement. Together, the girls went to look for the boy they loved and cared for. They soon found the blonde in the middle of the forest in phase form slashing and punching at trees, with the phase shot and phase edge, completely destroying the area as he yelled out in frustration, trying to forget that day. Soon, he fell by a tree and began to break down into tears. The girls quickly moved and hugged him, whispering words to soothe him. Naruto soon fell asleep whispering, "Thank you," before unconsciousness fully embraced him. The girls smiled at him lovingly as they carried him back to Tezuna's home and placed him in a spare room before lying down with him. The next day, Naruto woke up and saw his sisters, lovers, the Uchiha sisters, Hinata and Haku sleeping by him. He thought what had happened yesterday and smiled, "I'm happy they care for me. Maybe I can get Haku-chan to follow me back to Konoha when this is over." Naruto sat up and this woke the girls up. Hinata asked, "So, how are you feeling today, Naruto-kun?" Naruto smiled, "I'm fine now, thanks to you girls." The girls blushed but were happy they could help him. Naruto got off the bed and changed as the girls went to the bathroom to change. After that, the 7 teenagers went down and saw Kushina, Mikoto, Zabuza, Mise, Guzu, Tezuna, the boy and Tsunami sitting there. Tsunami was telling the boy, "Inari, you remember when I told you I was once from Konoha?" The boy known as Inari nodded as Tsunami continued, "You see, we're from a clan, the Uchiha clan more specifically. There is a rule where if an Uchiha is unable to activate their bloodline, they will be banished. You follow me?" Inari nodded again. Tsunami said, "I failed to activate it before the required age and was exiled. You have an aunt, Inari, and that is her, Mikoto." Inari looked at Mikoto and a thought came. He asked, "Wait, if you're my aunt, then does that mean they're my cousins?" He pointed to Yuki and Tsuki when he said the last part. Mikoto nodded in response. Inari saw Naruto and walked to the teen. "Naruto-san, I'm sorry about yesterday. I didn't mean to make you remember the past." Naruto looked at the boy. "You just said it, it's the past. I needed to get it off of me anyway. To be honest, I should be thanking you for that. Made me feel more at ease now." Inari just stared at the older boy, unsure what to say or do. Naruto then said, "So, shall we have breakfast?" Tsunami smiled at the boy and handed the teens several plates of food. After that, the 2 teams plus missing Nin and Tezuna headed to the bridge. Naruto was playing with the SB555W Excel watch and the phase pointer. Suki and Yuki were chatting with Haku, Hinata, Haruna and Akari. The 2 Jounin were asking Zabuza about Naruto's time with them while Guzu and Mizu were playing with their gauntlets. Then they noticed a man walk up to Tezuna. The man said, "I'm sorry Tezuna, but I really can't keep this up. Gato will know who's building and kill us. He might be even planning to kill our families. I'm sorry Tezuna, but I can't help anymore." Tezuna sighed. "Fine, Jichai, you may leave." Naruto put away his gadgets and walked to the old man. "So, how many is it?" Tezuna sighed. "He is the 12th. Naruto asked, "So, how many do you need?" Tezuna asked, "What do you mean?" Naruto sighed and said, "I said, how many more people do you need?" Tezuna replied, "I need at least 50 to complete it by the weekend. And that's pushing it." Naruto smiled and said, "I can get you 100. Tezuna had his eyes widened. "How?" Naruto smirked. The shinobi present knew what he was about to do. Naruto made a hand seal and said, "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." 100 clones then poofed into existence. Naruto looked at Tezuna. "They know basic construction skills, so you can tell them to do whatever you want. Good luck." Naruto then walked back to the group as his clones were soon busy helping build the bridge. The group smiled at him. Well, Zabuza and the Oni Kyodai smirked at him anyway. They then went back to their own stuff. Unknown location. Gato was seething. He had just received news that Zabuza and his group had gone with Tezuna. The fact that Tezuna now had 2 S-ranked shinobi. Hot ones at that to protect him, 2 A-ranked shinobi and 2 C-ranked shinobi as well to protect him didn't help. Gato was thinking of who to hire to kill them. Then, a thug came in. "Boss, a man named Orochimaru wants to meet you." Gato raised an eyebrow. An S-ranked Nuke Nin wanted to meet him. That was new. It was usually him that wanted to meet Nuke Nin. He told the thug to let him in and came a pale long-haired man with tattoos right below his eyes. Gato said, "So, what do I owe the pleasure to meet the great Orochimaru?" Orochimaru smirked. I'm here to make an offer. I hear the Yondaime Hokage family is protecting someone you want to kill. After hearing the deal, Gato smirked. You have a deal, bro? Orochimaru smirked as well. He thought, soon, Minato team. You will lose everyone that you care for. Maybe I can capture his son and daughters. The boy will make a good host if not Madara's descendant. The Akatsuki will lay off me if I get them the Jinchuriki. Back with the group, Tezuna and the clones were done for the day. They had already completed what should be done tomorrow, so the progress was astounding. It was evening now, and Naruto was training with the Phase Pointer. Standing in front of him was 30 enforced clones that would have to hit where a normal person would be killed. In phase form, Naruto slid the mission memory into the phase phone and pressed enter on it. The phone announced, exceed charge. Energy gathered in his left foot as Naruto jumped up and kicked. A beam hit a clone as it expanded into a drill. Then, Naruto appeared behind the clones as they poofed out of existence. The girls were helping Tsunami get the groceries for dinner while Zabuza and Tezuna were having a drinking contest. Kushina was on guard duty while the Oni Kyodai were teaching Inari about shinobi stuff and adult stuff. The girls got back and noticed a blushing Inari and knew what had happened. Suki and Yuki glared at the two demon brothers. Mizu, Guzu, you didn't teach our little cousin about stuff he shouldn't know, did you? The two laughed. No, of course not. With Inari's blush, Suki and Yuki only looked at the two brothers. The girls said one word, run. They did as the Uchiha sisters chased the two for corrupting their new little brother, to which the men called it education. Naruto came in and saw the scene. The other girls said, don't ask. He complied as the two elder Uchiha sisters prepared dinner. Soon, the group, future family, were having a relaxing dinner. Well, Zabuza is Haku's adoptive father, Mizu and Guzu are Haku's adoptive brothers. Tsunami is Mikoto's sister, who is Tsuki and Yuki's mother, so that makes Tezuna their grandfather in a way. Naruto is going to be with Haku, Yuki, Tsuki, Hinata, Hikari and Haruna, Kyubi, Ken and Tayuya, so they'll eventually become one large family. After dessert, they went to rest for the next day. Next day, Naruto woke up and noticed he was sleeping alone. He went down and saw Tsunami and Inari working on shinobi skills. Tsunami was training in the Uchiha stance while Inari was trying to access chakra. In front of them laid two thugs. Naruto looked at Tsunami questioningly. She said, what? Just because I was exiled and lived a civilian life doesn't mean I can't have shinobi training. And they wanted to let you sleep. You can go to the bridge. I can handle thugs anyway. Naruto nodded and mounted the auto-vagin and sped towards the bridge. As soon as he reached there, Gato appeared. Zabuza growled, Gato. Gato smirked. I see you betrayed our contract, Zabuza. Gives me a reason to kill you now. Guys, transform. This is a little gift from Orochimaru. The men behind him wore suits and hats. But what caught Naruto and Kushina's attention were the belts on their waists. They were orange, brown belts with devices that looked like when the phase phone was before it was pushed down into the slot of the phase driver. The men said, Henshin. Their belts announced, complete. Now stood hundreds of riot troopers, black and orange in color. Naruto and Kushina materialized their own belts. Kushina dialed 913 and pressed enter while Naruto dialed 555 and pressed enter. Their belts announced, complete. They then transformed into Kaiksa and Phase respectively. Kushina and Naruto drew their swords as Gato flicked his hand. The riot troopers charged as the group of shinobi charged as well. Naruto and Kushina were doing well against the riot troopers. Naruto and Kushina slashed but found killing them hard. Zabuza was slashing at the troopers and found it took more than a slash to kill them. As for the Genin, Haku and Demon brothers, they were having a hard time attacking as the numbers were too much. They were holding their own as the riot troopers were only fake imitations of what the real rider gear could do. Suddenly, a few riot troopers slid mission memories into their Excel Ray gun blade mode and charged at Haruna and Hikari with their energy-filled blades. Naruto noticed this and ran at them. He slid the mission memory into the phase phone and went into Excel form. But he had reached them before he could press the button, taking the stabs in Hikari and Haruna's place. The girl saw this as Naruto fell down, the phase suit dissolving, reverting Naruto back into human form. The girls yelled in fear, Naruto-kun, Oni-chan. Everything Naruto saw became a blur, then he saw black. Kushina, Mikoto, Zabuza and the Oni Kyodai looked in disbelief, shock and fear as Naruto fell. Hikari and Haruna saw red. Kyubi roared as she shouted, go, kill them for hurting our mate. The two sisters then released a huge wave of red chakra as the red chakra surrounded them, forming a silhouette of a humanoid fox with one tail. They then charged and killed the troopers one by one. Inside Naruto's mind, he found himself floating in black space. He thought, am I dead? A dark voice said, no, but you will be. You are now in the middle of the realm of life and death. Tell me, do you want alive? Naruto thought, how? I'm dead already. The voice said, I told you, we are in the realm where you are neither alive nor are you dead. You will have to make a choice, go to the dead and wait for your loved ones or go back and protect your precious people at a price. Naruto thought, at what price? The voice replied, the cost of humanity. You will retain your personality, but you will become an orphanok, something that is neither human nor monster. Naruto asked, what's the catch? The voice laughed, clever, at least you know everything has a price. Unlike the other Uzumaki I've seen. For that, there is no price for you as you passed my test. Normally I'll tell them they'll know when the time comes and take away their sanity when they return. but seeing you passed my test, I'll let you keep it. Naruto thought, but what's stopping you? The voice laughed again. I like you, Gaki. I swear it on my honor and my pride to not take anything from you. You only need to take control of your new power should you accept it. Naruto thought, if it lets me protect my loved one, I'll accept it. The voice laughed again. Good, then on this day forward, you shall be known not only as Kamen Rider Faiz, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. Starting from today, you will live on as the Kyoryu Orphanok. Outside, Naruto floated up, gaining the attention of everyone, including the rage-driven sisters. Naruto then opened his eyes as marks appeared on his face. He then transformed. Now stood a figure, gray in color. He had a triangular-shaped helmet-like object on his head, claws and spikes on his shoulders, and fins on the back of his waist. But what stood out most was the three symbols that were on Naruto's chest. The symbols formed a circle, with a pterodactyl at the top, a triceratops on the middle, and a tyrannosaurus on the bottom, signifying Naruto symbolized a dinosaur. For the first few seconds, Naruto was in control, but he suddenly stiffened before he felt the energy taking over. He then let out a primal roar as he lost control, his white-gray eyes turning totally black. Naruto looked at the troopers and let out a surge of energy, causing ice to spread over the ground and encase the troopers. Surprisingly, the ice only continued over the ground when it reached the Konoha ninja, missing Nen and Tazuna. Haku was the most surprised. She thought, Naruto-kun can use Hayaten. Then the ice exploded, killing several trooper, and by several I mean he killed half of the riot troopers. Wings sprouted out of Naruto's shoulders as he flew up and came back down, creating a shock wave that decimated more troopers. Now there was only 100 troopers standing. The shoulder spikes then shot out, impaling 10 of the troopers. He then flapped the wings at the impaled troopers, blasting icy wind at them and encased them in ice once more. But this time, the ice didn't explode. The fins on the backside of Naruto merged and formed a large tail as he turned and swung, slamming into the troopers, instantly shattering them to pieces. Naruto then raised his right hand and slammed it into the bridge, shocking Tazuna as he feared for his creation. The shock soon subsided as the bridge was fine when Naruto pulled his hand out holding an axe. Energy surged into the axe as Naruto pushed the T-Rex-shaped lever and turned it into a gun. Naruto then released a large blast of energy from the axe-turned gun, instantly killing the remaining troopers. The deep voice then announced, Ultra Kill. Naruto slowly walked towards Gato, who was standing there in fear. Naruto grabbed him by the neck and raised him up, pulling his hand back and thrust into the man's chest, pulling out the heart before crushing it in his own hands. Then, Naruto threw Gato on the ground before placing his foot on the midget's head and stepped. Blood splattered everywhere as the brain was crushed to bits. Zabuza and the Oni Coyote felt like they were watching what happened to Niwa again. The girls and Tazuna were green from the blood while Kushina and Mikoto were shocked by the sheer brutality Naruto displayed. Then, sounds of vomiting was heard. Everyone turned and saw a bunch of villagers standing there with pitchforks and shovels, vomiting at the scene. Naruto stiffened again as his eyes turned back to gray-white, breathing heavily. He heard a voice from within his mind, next time, King, you'll be doing the job. I'll tolerate you for a while since we care for the same people, but if you fail like today, I'll take over. Remember, I'm watching. Then the presence disappeared. Naruto, still in Kyoryu Orphanok form, looked at the others and saw the fear etched in their faces. He focused and turned back into human before walking towards the girls. As soon as he reached them, he fell as the energy he unleashed took its toll. The girls quickly held him and prevented him from falling. Zabuza asked, what in the nine hells was that? Kushina replied in a soft voice, the Orphanok form, a form when someone from our clan dies. They might be given a chance to come back to life, but if deemed unworthy, they become insane, something no one has done. Also something I had hoped to never be seen in Naruto. Inside the Uzumaki Namikaze sisters, the Kyubi thought, Naruto-kun awakened his Orphanok form. This is gonna be so much trouble, though I'm grateful he accepted. 2 days have passed since the incident at the bridge. While Naruto had brutally slaughtered the troopers of Gato and totally butchered the tyrant himself, the residents of Nami treated him like a hero. Wherever he went in the village, they'd thank him. Plus he already had a fan group, consisting of worshippers who wanted to be like Naruto and to the ire of Hikari, Haruna, the Uchiha sisters, Hinata and Haku, fangirls. So Naruto learned the horror of fangirls Sasuke and Itachi had to endure. With Kushina and Zabuza on guard duty, plus Naruto's clones speeding up the bridge construction, we now see Naruto running from a group of fangirls with his sisters, the Uchiha sisters, Hinata and Haku following behind. Back in Konoha, Itachi and Sasuke thought, my fangirl senses are tingling. Someone has become one of us, tormented by fangirls. I feel sorry for him. Back to Nami, Naruto finally lost the fangirls with a dozen cage bunshin and was heading back to Tezuna's home with the girls. Inside Hikari and Haruna's mind, the Kyubi said, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, I'm gonna have to talk to Naruto-kun and go to his mindscape for a while later at night. So I'll be bringing him to your mindscapes to tell him later. Okay, the girls nodded as they reached Tezuna's house. Once Naruto sat on the couch, everything disoriented and formed his sister's mindscapes. He saw the Kyubi and asked, okay Kyubi, what's up? The Kyubi smiled and said, first off, I have a name, all Biju have names. The Kyubi is but a title, my name is Kasumi. And for the reason I called you here, well, one is to tell you we're going to take care of that problem of yours, for the lack of a better word. The second is, well, I, kinda like you. Naruto raised an eyebrow, kinda like me. Kasumi blushed, okay, I love you. Naruto never thought the great Kyubi would be flustered like that. Kasumi was having similar thoughts, why the hell am I blushing? Why the hell am I stuttering? I'm the queen of Biju Godamit. Damn you too, Sama, for this. Naruto was curious why Kasumi would love him and asked, so, would be so kind to tell me how you came to love me. Kasumi blushed a deeper shade of red, rivaling one of Hinata, and said softly, well, I've seen how your parents treated you and ignored you for your sisters. Yet you still love them. You may act cold and sometimes in a mo, but you hold a warmth and kindness behind them. From all the years I've lived, you're the second person I've seen to ever possess this kind of personality. That's what made me fall for you. Naruto's eyes softened. I see, so, who was the first person? Kasumi replied, my father, the Rikudo Sennin, Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Naruto's eyes widened. He was actually having a conversation with the Kyubi, daughter of the Rikudo Sennin. Then, a bright flash of chakra appeared. The flash died down and revealed an old man, wearing robes with 2 horns. He held a black staff with rings in it. Kasumi said, well, stuttered. T2-sama the sage smiled at his eldest daughter. Been a long time, hasn't it, Kasumi? Kasumi was surprised and confused, but how? Naruto stood in silence as he watched the father and daughter, albeit an incredibly old father and daughter pair, converse. Hagoromo explained. When you all gathered in the circle during my final moments, I injected an amount of chakra that would never deplete until the day I deemed fit to reveal myself. It was just like I predicted, all of you had gone into the paths of rampage in the human world. I'm quite disappointed that my sons never did listen to my teachings, thought the 9 of you were better. You at least tried to pass my teachings. I placed myself into each of you so that when you find the thing that would lead you away from the wrong path, in your case, anger and hatred, I would appear. The thing you found is quite the opposite of anger and hatred, love and kindness. Seriously, of all my descendants, I never expected to ever see one like you, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, or should I call you Kyoryu Orphanok? Naruto didn't say anything, he was just awed by the aura Hagoromo released. The father-daughter pair saw his gobsmacked expression and laughed. Hagoromo said, it seems that I have become a mere myth nowadays. Never mind, I trust you will treat my daughter well, Kamen Rider Faiz. Naruto nodded, with a still surprised face. Hagoromo then faced his eldest daughter, Kasumi-chan, you are actually the first to pass the requirements. I'm proud of you. Live on, be happy the way you should be. I will always be watching you all in Kami-sama's court. Well, my time is up. I'll see you when you go to heaven. The legendary sage then dissolved into nothingness. Kasumi then broke down as she once again lost her father. Naruto thought as Kasumi cried into his chest, she looks so vulnerable now, it seems we all have misjudged them, they're just like us, just like humans, with emotions and all. Well, I'm not a human now anyways. Kasumi finished crying and let go off Naruto. She looked at Naruto, if I ever get out of here, you won't say a thing about just now. I do have my reputation, and only you will see this side of Capiche. Naruto nodded. Kasumi then said, now, you should go. We'll take care of your problem later at night. Naruto then found himself back on the couch of Tezuna's house, the time still the same, just a few seconds passed in the evening. Then he heard Tsunami yell, dinner's ready. The whole group then went to eat dinner. Naruto asked, so, Inari, how's the chakra going? Inari smiled, I finally got access to it. I even succeeded in activating my Sharingan, see. He opened his eyes to show the Sharingan with one Tamo. His cousins smiled at him as they too had been like that when they activated their own Daojutsu. Soon, the group happily chatted as they enjoyed dinner. After that, Naruto went to sleep and found Akari, Haruna, Tsuki, Yuki, Haku and Hinata sleeping beside him, all in almost see-through nightgowns, which made Inari who walked by looking through the half-open door blush. Naruto saw the boy and told him to close the door quietly, to which the boy complied. He too was blushing as he saw the girls' perfect figures. Calming his nerves, he went to sleep, slipping into the mindscape where Kasumi was waiting. Naruto opened his eyes and saw Kasumi in the familiar sewers. He asked, so, how are we going to get to my mindscape? Kasumi smiled, just focus on yourself, all I need to do is touch you and you will need to focus on going to your mind. Naruto nodded as Kasumi placed her hand on his shoulder, then he focused. He heard Kasumi say, wow, this is a whole lot better than Akari-chan and Haruna-chan's mind. Naruto opened his eyes and saw a lush green plain with forests surrounding it. At the far ends were 2 mountains with the symbol PH and the chest plate symbol of his orphanok form on the other mountain, each with a cave. Kasumi and Naruto nodded to each other as they walked towards the orphanok mountain and entered the cave. They soon found themselves looking at a large statue of Naruto's orphanok form. In front of them also sat a boy that looked like Naruto, only difference was the hair was totally black and he wore weird robes. The boy saw the two and smirked, ah, King, fancy meeting you here. And I see you brought Kasumi-chan. Let me introduce myself, I am another side of King here, I would say I am Naruto, but that'd be trouble. So I came up with my own name, Kanzaki. So, what do I owe the pleasure? Kasumi frowned when he said her name. First off, you won't use my name, and second, we're here to take care of you. Kanzaki laughed, I see, fine. If the king defeats me in battle, we'll merge and he won't go berserk anymore. Though I doubt he can, shall we? Naruto said nothing as he immediately transformed into Faiz and Kanzaki going into the orphan form. Faiz drew the Faiz edge and charged Kanzaki, who drew the Metagabaryu. Blades clashed as they parried. Kanzaki was forced to jump away as Kasumi shot her tails and would have impaled him if he didn't. Kanzaki laughed and he said, "So unfair, you two are teaming up on me. I'll change that." He then willed a large wall that separated Naruto and Kanzaki from Kasumi. Kasumi shouted, "No," as she kept hitting the wall, trying to break it to no avail. Kanzaki laughed, "So, it's now you and me." Naruto said nothing as he prepared himself. The next few moments were bad for Naruto. He held his own but he could never land a hit. As for Kanzaki, he could land a hit every once in a while but was otherwise evenly matched with Naruto. Kanzaki asked, "You said you wanted to protect our precious people, but you can't even defeat me. How are you going to do that?" Naruto gritted his teeth. Kanzaki continued, "The way you are now, you will soon end up like on the bridge." Naruto yelled, "Shut up. What would you know?" They locked blades. Kanzaki shouted back, "I know everything. I am you, I have every of our memories. You said you protect them, but how when you have only this much power?" Naruto felt a burst of energy but shrugged it off. "I will stand up when I fall. I will become more stronger. No matter what way I use, I will protect my precious people." Naruto then felt the burst of energy, only larger. Kanzaki and Kasumi's eyes widened as they felt the energy erupting from the PH mountain and Naruto at the same time. Then, a flash of light appeared as the Faiz blaster appeared in front of Naruto. Kanzaki was shocked. "How? You weren't supposed to have it until you went into the mountain." Naruto reached out and grabbed the Faiz blaster. Then he appeared in a white plane. In front of him stood a red-haired man. The man said, "Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, I am Uzumaki Takumi, the first Faiz. Your determination, while you don't know about it, is strong. You accepted the deal like almost all of us, and you didn't go insane. We deem you ready to awaken your blaster form. Go, defeat and conquer him." Naruto nodded and he appeared back in the cave. He took the Faiz blaster and dialed 555 and pressed enter. Then he slid the Faiz phone into the slot. The device announced, "Standing by. Awakening." Naruto's visor glowed as he glowed red. The light died down to reveal Naruto totally red, with a backpack behind him. Naruto dialed 143 and pressed enter. The blaster announced, "Blade mode." Kanzaki gritted his teeth as the two charged again. This time Naruto proved to be stronger. He then dialed 5214 and pressed device announced, "Phase blaster, discharge." The bloody cannons flew into motion and blasted Kanzaki away. Naruto then pressed enter again and the device announced, "Exceed charge." He jumped up and kicked, coming down as the hit landed on Kanzaki. Beams of energy erupted from Kanzaki as he yelled in agony. The beams had cut the wall, allowing Kasumi to see the final moments of the battle. Naruto jumped away as Kanzaki reverted to human form. Kanzaki forced out, "Good, make good use of the power. I entrust you to protect our precious people from now on. Farewell." Then he exploded into nothingness. Kasumi ran to Naruto as he fell down. Naruto chuckled, "Guess the strain is finally getting to me." Kasumi sighed, "You are either the stupidest or luckiest person I've ever seen. Let's just go to sleep, you've had a long day." Naruto nodded as he went unconscious. A few days have passed since the incident in Naruto's mind. Kasumi revealed her name to Hikari and Haruna. She also told the three not to tell Kushina as she doesn't know. Kasumi also extended a link to Naruto so they could talk, meaning his three lovers could always hear his thoughts and vice versa, though they could choose to not let him hear their thoughts, something Naruto had yet to learn, much to his ire. Now, Naruto was learning to wield the Metagabaryu and using the Kyoryu Orphan form. Everyone was shocked when they saw him go into that form. They prepared to fight when he acted like he was going to attack them, scaring the shit out of them, which also resulted in the former human getting a massive beatdown from 6 worried, angry, tear-eyed girls. Now, Naruto was training and using his wings. He focused chakra into his wings and flapped, getting the results he wanted, a blast of icy air. He then heard Kasumi said, "Naruto-kun, I found that your chakra has a high-otten affinity in it now. Maybe you should ask Haku to help you with this." Naruto nodded and decided he'd do that later. He flapped his wings hard and blasted into the sky. He kept flapping and found that if he quickened the pace, he'd fly up, and if he slowed the pace, he'd descend. After that, he trained in his shoulder spikes. They worked to trap enemies more than attacking, as he found that the spikes also makes it hard for him to move. So he decided that he'd use it if he wanted to catch an enemy, by spiking them before freezing them up. Then, he tried out using his tail. Turns out his tail was like a normal one. He could actually feel things with it if he wanted to. He could also harden and break things harder than a diamond. As for the Metagabaryu, he found using it to be incredibly easy. It also seemed that he was the only one able to hold it, as seen when Zabuza tried to hold it, only for it to crush the man's hand. As soon as the man let go, the axe sunk into the ground, seemingly forever following Naruto as he dropped the axe at Tezuna's home and tried to summon it when he was in the forest or at the bridge. The axe could even be used as a gun, bazooka, if Naruto focused enough chakra in it. He had destroyed a huge part of an inhabitable island further from Nami when he tried it out. Speaking of the bridge, it was almost done. There was only 1 day of work left since they had raided Gato's mansion and found more than enough money to supply the bridge. Now, Naruto and Zabuza were sparring. Naruto was holding the phase edge parrying blows from Zabuza. Tazuna watched from his almost completed bridge as he didn't need to do much work now, courtesy of willing villagers and 100 clones. How Naruto could fight Zabuza, who was using such a large sword with a sword so small like the phase edge, he will never know, nor will he ever know how could Zabuza hold such a large butcher knife-like sword. The two swordsmen yelled, "Imagiri Shinmei Ryu Kenjutsu," 4 wasps. They sent several stabs at each other, cuts appearing on each other before vanishing and reappearing to stab their opponent, which was neutralized by each other's blows. They smirked as they yelled, "Imagiri Shinmei Ryu Kenjutsu, 9-fanged longsword." They proceeded to slash at each other several times, each slash parrying the other. Then, a scroll dropped from the sky as Zabuza caught it. The two then heard a female voice, "It's been a long time, Zabuza-chan. I see you've taken up a student." They turned and saw 3 figures. The middle was a red-haired woman, the other 2 were men, one wore glasses with swords on his back and the other a man with an eye patch. Zabuza said in surprise, "Mei, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be back fighting at Gura?" Mei laughed, "That's old news. We defeated him and I took on the Mizukage mantle. You do remember our bet, right?" Zabuza replied, "But I'm a missing nin." Mei smirked, "Not with the official pardon for you and the Oni Kyodai in your hands." Zabuza's eyes widened as he fell to his knees shouting, "Nuo." Naruto sweat dropped and shook his head at his former sensei. Zabuza got over his stupor and said, "Fine, I guess I'll have to face the horrors of D ranks. So, Naruto, Haku will follow you back to Konoha. She wants to live with you anyway. So Mei, are we leaving now or should I wait till the bridge is finished?" Mei shrugged. "Meh, you decided, and you'll either call me Mizukage-sama or Mei-chan. So, if you'll excuse me, I'll need to go back to Kiri to face my paperwork." The 3 then left. Naruto asked, "So, are you going back now?" Zabuza shrugged, "Maybe, but I guess I'll stay till the bridge is done." Naruto nodded as they went back to Tazuna's house. The day passed as we now see Teams 7 and 12 along with the group of missing nin standing on the bridge in front of a bunch of villagers. Hinari smiled, "Will we see you again, Naruto ni, Tsuki ni, Yuki ni, Obasan?" Mikoto smiled at her nephew, "We'll visit. I can't just leave my long-lost family behind now, can I?" Tsunami smiled at her sister. Tazuna was saying his goodbyes with Zabuza, who he had come to good terms with. The other girls and Kushina were just smiling at the scene. As for Naruto, well, he was, talking with his fangirls, well, sort of. The horde of fangirls said in unison, "Naruto-sama, you'll come back, right?" Naruto nodded, smiling nervously. Now he knew how Sasuke and Itachi felt. After that, the whole group set off. As they walked across the bridge towards the shores, Tazuna thought aloud, come to think of it, we never did name the bridge. How about the awesome Tazuna Bridge? Tsunami face-bombed with a few villagers. It sounds like the awesome Tarzan Bridge. Inori then snapped his fingers, "I got it." He looked at the Naruto fangirls as they all said, "The Great Naruto Bridge." Tazuna scratched his chin, sounds great. In honor of the boy who set us free from the tyrant Gato. Everyone cheered. With Naruto and the others, Naruto suddenly sneezed. Hikari asked, "Oni-chan, you fine?" Naruto nodded as he rubbed his nose. Then, they reached a crossroad. Zabuza and the Oni Kyodai walked to the left, opposite of Konoha. Haku asked, "Zabuza-sama, where are you guys going?" Zabuza looked at his tool and said, "Haku, we're going back to Kiri. Mei-chan is the Mizukage now. I want you to follow Naruto and the rest back to Konoha. Think of it as a last order from me." Haku was about to protest, but Zabuza raised his palm. "I want you to live your own life. You can't just follow me for your whole life. You always said you wanted to live with Naruto, here's your chance. I never saw you as my tool, even if I said I did, you were always instilling the daughter I wanted. So go to Konoha and live your own life." Haku said nothing and nodded before hugging her father figure, "Master." After a few goodbyes, the 3 men walked towards Kiri. Mizu said, who knew Zabuza had a soft side. Zabuza growled at him, "If you ever mention this to anyone, I'll kill you." Guzu laughed as his brother nodded furiously. They then walked into the mist. Back with Teams 7 and 12 plus Haku, they soon reached Konoha. Kushina saw Izumo and Kotsu slacking off and sent 2 chakra chains out of her hands and gave them a weggy, causing high-pitched yelps out of the 2. Mikoto said, "Team 7 and 12 reporting from C-ranked mission to Nami. We also have a guest, so check her in." The Eternal Guards nodded and did just that. The 2 teams and Haku then headed for the Hokage Tower. They entered and gave their reports. Minato looked at his son. "You were taught in Kenjutsu by Mamachi Zabuza, and a ranked nuke nin after you saved him from Moinen." Naruto nodded. Minato rubbed his head. "You are either stupid or the luckiest person alive. Anyway, congratulations on completing a C-ranked mission and unlocking your new part of the bloodline, Naruto. So that brings us to case 2. You said your name is Yuki Haku, yes?" Haku nodded. Minato continued, "And you wish to join the Konoha Shinobi Corps?" Haku nodded again. Minato sighed. "Fine, you'll be added to Team 7. Now comes where you'll be living." Haku said, "Ano, if it's okay, can I live with Naruto-kun?" Everyone raised an eyebrow. Naruto thought, what the hell? Minato asked, you do know I'm his father, right? And you'll need to ask Kushi-chan about that." Kushina said, "Well, I'm fine with that." Minato sighed, "Okay, fine. The compound is huge enough for all of us anyway, so we'll figure out which room you'll sleep in when we get back." Naruto, since she wanted to live with you, you'll show her around and help her settle in. The girls were slightly jealous as that would mean Haku would be spending all day with their beloved Naruto. After that, Minato dismissed the genin, leaving Kushina and Makoto in the room along with Jiraiya and Tsunade, who were called by Anbu. Minato said, "So, Naruto got his orphan form. You sure he won't go berserk anymore? And what about Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan? You said they used the Kyubi's chakra." Kushina sighed, "In order, I'm not sure. I wouldn't worry about the girls though, they were in control even when they used the second tail. They used it when they saw Naruto getting killed before he used the orphan form. They snapped out of it when Naruto got up and slaughtered the enemy though. And Zabuza told me Naruto was captured by Iwa when he almost killed Roshi. Turns out he met a man called Narumi Sakichi. They had a father-son relationship and the man got killed in the most brutal way I've ever heard of. He was tortured before buried in the ground, leaving his head above and kicked until the head came off." Jiraiya's eyes widened. "Narumi Sakichi, as in skull Narumi Sakichi. So that's how he died. And he and Naruto had a father-son relationship." Makoto nodded. "That's what we heard from Zabuza. Come to think of it, Naruto called Zabuza Zabuza-nai as well as the Oni Kyodai, his brothers." Minato groaned. "What is it with Naruto when it comes to missing nin?" Kushina then said, "Wait, what do you mean skull Narumi Sakichi? You mean this guy is the famed skull?" Jiraiya nodded. "Narumi Sakichi, he was once Kumo's top shinobi but went rouge after the Yondaime Raikage took the Raikage position. He never lost a single battle as he used skeleton-based jutsu to kill. To hear him killed like that, Iwa must have did something to make him submit." They would have discussed more, but an Anbu came in. "Hokage-sama, the council wants you at a meeting." Several moments earlier, Naruto and the girls decided to have a snack at Ikaraku's. Now, the 7 people were having a nice meal at the store when Sakura and Sasuke walked in with Kiba at the back. Sasuke and Sakura were fed the lies of Mabuki about all kinds of stuff like they were the elites of Konoha, etc. The civilian council knew they could never turn Itachi to their side, so they settled for Plan B. Aka getting Sasuke on their side and one day get him to challenge his brother. Though the young Uchiha feared 3 people, his mother and sisters. Sasuke said, "Yuki ni, Tsuki ni." The girls replied, "Hello, Sasuke. And don't think about challenging Naruto-kun, or you know what will happen." Sasuke paled. He remembered the last time he challenged the blonde, utter humiliation and punishment from his adoptive sisters, and they were incredibly sadistic. Sasuke nodded and left, surprising Kiba and Sakura. After the 3 left, the group of 1 boy and 6 girls decided to have a stroll. They then saw the 5 civilian boys from before harassing a few girls. They walked to them and pushed the boys away. One of them raised his hand and was about to smack Haku before Naruto grabbed the hand and broke the wrist. Naruto said, "If I ever catch you doing that, you'll suffer more than just a broken wrist." The boys then ran away to their parents. Now, Minato and Kushina entered the council chambers. Minato asked, "What's the meaning of this?" 5 councilmen, civilian ones obviously, said, "Hokage-sama, your son assaulted our sons when they were minding their own business." Kushina sighed. Minato said, "We'll see what my son has to say then, A and BU." 2 Anbu appeared. Minato said, "Bring Naruto here, and if possible, the girls as well if they're with him." Hayashi was annoyed. "You called a meeting because your son said Naruto assaulted them. You're wasting our time." Nabuki said, "Actually, Hyuga-sama, it's not a waste of time. They should know that even if they were Hokage-sama's children, they cannot attack people for minding their own business." That was bullshit. She just wanted to get back at the family. Soon, Anbu brought the group of 7 into the chambers. Minato said, "Naruto, did you attack these 5 people?" Naruto noticed the 5 and said, "No, I did not attack them. They wanted to smack Haku-chan, so I stopped him and gave him a warning. If I attacked him, he'd have cuts or at least bruises, right?" They nodded. Naruto continued, "And they accused me of attacking them when they were harassing several girls. Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan, Haku-chan, Hinata-chan, Yuki-chan, and Suki-chan can attest to that. As such, I want to sue them for false accusation and harassing other people." The shinobi half of the council and the elders smiled. They all thought, "Well played, Naruto." Minato nodded. "So, are there anything else? If not, the 5 will be submitted to doing a whole week of D ranks without pay for a whole day non-stop." Dismissed. The shinobi all then left the chambers via Hurration thanks to the Uzumaki Namikaze siblings and Minato. A week have passed since the incident with the civilians. Several times Naruto would pass by and saw the 5 boys doing D-rank missions like washing the dishes, cleaning toilets that reeked several weeks, carrying loads, etc. He also noticed that when they did work even academy students could do with ease, they sweated like they had went to a marathon, something that made the blonde shake his head in disappointment. Naruto was walking alone as his sisters, the Uchiha sisters, Hinata and Haku, were at the hot springs with their mothers and other female jounin. Kushina had warned Jiraiya to not peek into the female side of the hot springs this time or he'll have hell to pay. The 3 siblings laughed at their godfather when he nodded furiously, seeing Kushina's hair swinging wildly like Kasumi's tails. He then went to the training grounds and saw Kakashi training his students with Itachi. The 2 elder Sharingan users were teaching the younger one as 2 clones were teaching Sakura and Kiba each. Kakashi noticed Naruto and I smiled. "Ah, Naruto. Care to join us for training?" Naruto, having nothing to do, shrugged, "Sure." Naruto walked to them as he heard Itachi say, "Now, Sasuke, if you're going to unlock the Sharingan, You'll either train incredibly hard or you'll have to fight in life-death situations. So, you ready? Naruto piped in. Actually, Itachi, mind if I help? I want to see how Sasuke improved. Let him and I have an all-out spar. Killing moves allowed, but if we're very close to killing each other, you guys stop us, that okay? Kakashi pondered with Itachi for a while. Sasuke was hoping for them to allow it as he'd be winning anyway. Well, he'd either be able to pulverize the blonde or he'd unlock the Sharingan, then pulverize the blonde. The two Jounin nodded. The two genin stood in position as they prepared to fight. Kakashi snapped his fingers as the two sprung into actions. The two boys traded punches in the beginning before the fight became intense. Naruto smirked and focused his energy, transforming into the Kyoryu Orphanok. Sasuke, Kakashi, Itachi, Kiba and Sakura's eyes widened as they saw Naruto's new form. Itachi and Kakashi thought, so this is what Kushina meant when she said Naruto had a new form. Sasuke drew kunai as Naruto took out the Metagaburyu from the ground. Axe and kunai clashed as the two boys charged. Sasuke jumped away and did hand signs. Katon, Karyuendan. Naruto spread his wings and flapped them, sending a blast of icy air quenching the flames and coating the boy in ice slightly. Sasuke soon found himself unable to move quickly as the ice slowed him down severely. Naruto then made his tail swing at Sasuke, who was too slow to dodge it. The tail reached closer and closer. Sasuke suddenly felt everything slow down and dodged it at the last second. Naruto smirked as he saw the Uchiha's eyes as well as Itachi and Kakashi. Naruto relaxed and said, well, I guess the job's done. Kakashi, I hear you have a meeting with Toussaint later with the Jounin sensei, shouldn't you be going? Kakashi smiled, I will, after half an hour. Naruto sighed, if you don't go, I'll tell Kasen where your secret stash of Ika Golden Edition books are. Once, he accidentally found a safe box and cracked the code, finding a whole collection of golden framed Ika. Kakashi narrowed his eyes, you wouldn't. Naruto smirked, you sure? I can hurry Shin and tell her before you can do anything. Well, actually he wouldn't, since the girls and his mother were at the hot springs and doing that would be absolute suicide. Kakashi sighed, fine, you win. I'll see you guys later. He then shunshin towards the Hokage Tower. Itachi asked, isn't that meeting an hour later? Hokage-sama gave us the time in secret after telling everyone a fake time when Kakashi was present. Naruto smirked, that's the point. Itachi sighed and trained the genin of Team 11 as Naruto left before the males of Team 11 could challenge him or before the pink banshee could shout in high-pitched voices. With the Jounin and Minato, the blonde Hokage was saying, so, this year's Chunin Exams, who wants to enter their teams? Kushina and Mikoto had discussed and said, we nominate Teams 7 and 12 to enter the Chunin Exams. Minato nodded as Kakashi, Kurenai, Guy and Asuma stood forward. I nominate Team 8, 9, 10 divided by 11 to enter the exams. Minato nodded as other Jounin soon nominated their teams. Then Uruka, who was helping Minato with paperwork at the moment, said, I don't think Teams 7 to 12 have the experience to enter yet, save Team 9 of course. They just graduated a few months ago. Team 7 and 12 I understand as they just completed in a rank, albeit the mission was supposed to be a C rank, plus they haven't a rank shinobi in the team. The others can't possibly have the experience Teams 7 and 12 have. Sending them in would be suicide, especially Team 11 as the team composition is not suitable with Sakura in it. Minato chuckled. Kakashi and the others owed him 100 ryo each now. They had bet when Uruka would have an outburst about the teams not having enough experience. Minato bet after other Jounin enter their teams while Kakashi, Kushina, Mikoto, Tsunade and Jiraiya had bet before. Minato said, Uruka, what you're saying is true. But think about it, they all know the dangers of the exams. The sensei are just giving them a chance. If they enter, it's their choice knowing they may die. You taught them, have faith in them. As for Team 11, well, just pray for them. You sure you're gonna risk your team and Mikoto and Fugaku's fury if their son dies? Mikoto chuckled, don't worry about it, it's his choice if Sasuke enters, Fugaku, and I won't hold it against you if he dies. He may be my adoptive son, but that's the life of shinobi. Everyone looked at her in disbelief. They all knew her protectiveness of family. Hearing her say that was extremely shocking. Minato then said, okay, so come and get the forms. Otherwise, you're dismissed. With Naruto and Haku, he was showing the ice girl around, continuing from last time since the village was big and it'd take a week if not more to show the girl around the whole village. He was bringing her to Icaracus, where he said to be in his own words the best place to eat and where the food of the gods is served. Now, they were having ramen. Haku thought, this is actually good. Better than any other ramen I've had. Actually, it's just because she's eating with Naruto. Soon, two Suna shinobi entered the shop. As Ian served Naruto's fifth bowl, the male of the two Suna shinobi, who was wearing a cat suit with a bandage-covered object on his back and with war paint on his face, noticed Haku. He said, why, hello, may I know the name of the beautiful maiden I have the honor of meeting? The girl with the guy rolled her eyes at her brother's way of flirting, which is embarrassing himself in her opinion. Haku looked at the makeup guy and said in a cold, Haku, now please don't bother me, I'm trying to have ramen. Then Haku went back to happily talking to Naruto. Then suddenly, Haku felt herself unable to move. She moved towards the guy as he pulled with chakra strings, the trademark of Suna's puppet masters. He said, now why don't you come to me, a true man? He leaned in to kiss the ice girl but felt something at his neck. He saw a red blade stick at his neck, held by one angry yet calm Naruto. The blonde said, "Let her go, or I'll make you regret for trying to do that to my girlfriend." He emphasized girlfriend, causing Haku to blush as they hadn't made it official. The boy huffed, "I am the eldest son of the Kazekage, she should be honored." His sister beside wanted to facepalm, but still made no attempt as she would if he crossed the line. Naruto said, "This ain't Suna, and you're here as guest for the Chunin Exams if I'm not mistaken." The boy was red with anger. He released the hold on Haku and reached for the package on his back. The girl with him had her eyes widened. "Kankuro, you're seriously thinking of using Karasu?" Naruto smirked, "If you want to fight, let's go somewhere more suitable." He materialized the Faiz driver and the two Suna nin had their eyes the size of plates. The girl stuttered, "Gamenesai, Faiz-sama, we apologize, please forgive us." Naruto was confused but said, "Fine, but if he does it again, I'll make him suffer." The girl nodded as the two ran away. Haku said, still blushing, "Arigato, Naruto-kun." Naruto replied, "It's fine, Haku-chan. Nobody can just force themselves upon someone else, especially not you." Haku then said, "Ano, about the girlfriend thing." Naruto blushed, "I'm sorry about that, it's just so that I can get him off of you." Haku looked away and said, "You know, I heard you have the CRA and I, don't mind being your girlfriend." Naruto gaped. Well, of course he'd gape. Haku was and still is one of the most beautiful girls he'd ever met. It was his turn to stutter, "Why you mean it?" Haku nodded and kissed him in the lips. After kissing for a full minute, Ian coughed, "If you're gonna have a makeout session, Naruto, please do it at home." Chuchai, who was cooking, shook his head as the two teens quickly ate and went home, well, not before paying, of course. At night, after having dinner with Haku, Jiraiya, who came back from a mission with Tsunade and Kakashi, the new Team 7 were given slips for the exams, which they accepted and were ready to go to the academy for it the next day. Tsunade and Jiraiya went on a mission so they don't know Haku before this day, which they were introduced to each other. Tsunade was surprised to have a new housemate but got along with the girl as the ice girl had an interest in medical ninjutsu and stuff like that. She even took her as an apprentice. Haku was shocked that Naruto was related to so many famous and not to say strong people. As for Jiraiya, you guessed it, he gave Naruto thumbs up and started looking over her for his books before receiving a chakra-enhanced punch and a phase shot-enhanced punch from Tsunade and Naruto respectively. At late night, Haku, Hikari, and Haruna had agreed with each other to sleep with Naruto. So imagine the boy's surprise when he found both of his sisters beside him and Haku on top of him. He had a nosebleed and blushed like a tomato when he saw their almost transparent nightgowns. Unfortunately and unknown to the boy, Jiraiya was spying on him and the girls from the window. He chuckled perversely as he thought, "Oh almighty gods, my godson is a gold mine. With this, I can even make a sequel for Ika Ika, Trials of Apollo. Maybe the sequel shall be named Ika Ika, Trials of Apollo, the Ice Princess." Yes, Haku shall appear in the second series. Next day, the teams all woke up and headed for the academy. Team 7 and 12 stood at the entrance of the academy and smirked at each other. Naruto said, "So, girls, it's time for the Chunin Exams. Start our engine." The girls smiled at their boyfriend's enthusiasm and nodded. Team 7 and 12 entered the academy and saw Team 9. They greeted each other. Tenten then whispered, "When we reach the second floor, I'm gonna fake acting that floor is the third floor, so I need you guys to play dumb and just go to the third floor. Izumo and Kotsu have been assigned to fool them, lessens the competition." The two teams nodded as they headed for the third floor. As the three teams entered, Tenten started her act and was almost going to succeed. "Well, we have number 1 Uchiha Sasu to thank for that." Yuki and Suki scolded their brother, Baka. "It was to weed out the weaklings. You just made the chance of us passing harder." Sasuke said, "How was I supposed to know?" Kiba said, "I did tell him about that, but he wanted to rub it into the faces of those who didn't spot it." Yuki and Suki sighed and rubbed their temples. They seriously had an idiot for a brother, albeit an adoptive one. Then, a loud voice yelled, "Sasuke-kun." Then a blonde and purple blur appeared crashing into the Uchiha, followed by Sakura, who jumped on the boy as well. A guy with specs and white hair walked to them. "Seriously, this ain't a field trip. You make the exams look like a joke, and more importantly, us. Please tone it down." Naruto narrowed his eyes. "Name." The guy chuckled. "Well, since you asked so nicely, I'm Ikushi Kabuto. Tell you what, since we're Konoha nin and you're all rookies, I'll give you some information. Anyone in particular you want to know?" Sasuke smirked and said out loud, "Yes, I want info on Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto and Sabaku no Gaara." Naruto wanted to punch the lights out of this idiot now. As soon as his name was mentioned, several Iwa shinobi whipped their heads in his direction and glared at him, who glared back with more intensity, making them flinch and turned away. Kabuto chuckled, "Name already? This is so boring." Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, he left the village at the age of 9. Throughout the years, he got captured by Iwa with a man called Narumi Sakichi, Hack of the Skull. Naruto then escaped and killed a huge portion of Iwa's forces and gained a rank status for almost killing Roshi, Jinchuriki of the Yonbai. His entry in the bingo book is Kamen Rider Faiz. Holy shit. It is also said that he trained under Mamachi Zabuza and learned the Amajiri Shinmei Ryu Kenjutsu. This got the attention of the Kirin. Kabuto was about to continue when the info card in his hand suddenly burst into flames. Kabuto looked up and saw Naruto sheathing the phase edge. Kabuto cursed, "Shit, Orochimaru-sama hasn't read it yet." We need info on his Gekkei Genkai, he'll be mad. Kabuto sighed. Such a spoil sport. Never mind. On to Gaara. He is able to use sand at will, killed at a young age, has done 40D ranks, 30 degrees Celsius ranks and 15B ranks, never had a hit on him during the missions, otherwise, nothing noteworthy. Naruto, Hikari and Haruna then heard Kasumi's voice. I sense 3 Jinchuriki here. The Gaara guy is Shukaku's Jinchuriki. Those 2 Kumonin, the tall black guy and the blonde girl are Jinchuriki of the Nibai and Hachibai. I won't need to worry about those 2. I was close to the both of them. As for Shukaku, be wary of him. The 3 nodded back as smoke came out in the front of the room, and out came a scarred-faced man with a bandana on his head. He said, now, the test is about to start, so get to your seats, pronto. The genin quickly went to their assigned seats. Naruto found himself sitting with Hinata and Tsuki, in front was Yuki and behind were his sisters and Haku. He was basically surrounded by his girlfriends. What luck. Soon Ibiki told them the rules and distributed the papers. Ibiki said once more, you have an hour and a half, now begin. Naruto looked at the papers and saw that they were all jounin questions and Naruto had read about it in the clan library, so he quickly wrote down the answers in 20 minutes. He scanned the room and found people cheating. His sisters were no doubt talking with Kasumi, Yuki and Tsuki as well as Sasuke were copying answers with the hand movements while Hinata and Neji were using the Byakugan. He looked up and saw Lee, Tenten and Haku using mirrors to get the answers, well ice mirrors in Haku's case. Kiba was getting answers from Akamaru, Shino was using Kakechu bugs to get answers while Gaara was using a sand-made third eye. Ibiki looked at the genin and thought, most of them are good, though not enough. Suddenly, a kunai flew past Naruto hitting the table of a Kiri genin. The boy stood up and said, what's the big idea? The chunin that threw the kunai said, you were caught cheating for more than 5 times, get your teammates and yourself out of here. Number 50, 51, 52, fail. 2 other genin stood up and left with the guy. Then Kankuro raised his hands, can I use the washroom? Ibiki nodded as Kankuro walked out and came back in with a chunin. Coincidentally, Kankuro suddenly got the answers as he wrote it down. Ibiki smirked at Kankuro knowingly as he knew exactly what Kankuro had done. He then looked outside the window where a few jounin were gathering on the roof. On the roof, Kushina, Mikoto, Asuma, Kakashi, Kurenai and Anko were talking. Asuma said, great, they're so gonna fail now. Ibiki's the proctor. Kurenai, who had just turned jounin when the genin teams were made, didn't have a clue who was Ibiki and asked, why? Anko smiled at her friend and said, you just turned jounin a few months back, of course you wouldn't know. See, Ibiki is our top interrogator, with me being the second as he's my sensei. Ibiki can make prisoners crack in less than an hour in a cell with mind games, and if I know him, which I do, he'd use mind games to play with the genin, making them unknowingly volunteer to give up their chances of becoming chunin this year. Kushina and Mikoto smirked, well, we wouldn't worry about our teams. Kakashi deadpanned, your team has Naruto in it. Kushina ni, who got a rank status already now, earlier than any of us in terms of age. Kushina smiled, true. Kakashi continued, and with Naruto, Mikoto-sama's team won't quit with Naruto keeping their confidence up. Mikoto also smiled at the Cyclops since she didn't need to worry about her team unlike the others. Back with Naruto, he saw that he still had an hour and started to sleep. Ibiki and the chunin as well as Naruto's girlfriends all sweat dropped as Naruto started snoring, with a bubble coming out of his nose as he did so. Soon, the time was up and Naruto woke up as Ibiki shouted, time's up, pencils down, kid wake the fuck up. Naruto sat up groggily and said, what, it's time. Ibiki ignored him and said, good, now it's time for the 10th question. Now, there are gonna be rules. Number 1, if you choose to take this question, you will either pass or never get the chance to be chunin or higher. A random genin from Iwa shouted, that's ridiculous. There were others who took the test before. Ibiki said as he looked at the boy, then they have never had me as the proctor. This is my rules now, so take it or leave it. I will give you a chance to back out and fail this time, but take the exam another time. Soon, a whole bunch of teams dropped out. All that's left is the Konoha genin rookie teams and Kabuto's team, Gaara's team, the Kumo Jinchuriki's teams, 2 Iwa teams, 2 Kiri teams, and Oto teams, 2 Kyusa teams and 2 AIM teams. Ibiki said once more, anyone else? Keep in mind this is your last chance. Naruto looked around and felt it was a good number with less competition, so he laughed. Ibiki narrowed his eyes, what's so funny boy? Naruto stopped his laughter and said, the fact that your bluff is so stupid it actually works. You do know that we can get a field promotion or just get one if our own cage deems us ready, right? Plus, are you really gonna believe that the cage of other villages will forbid their genin from advancing, preventing their forces from growing stronger? Well, in us Konoha genin's cases, you could, but as for the other villages, it's a fucking freaking noob idea. Ibiki wanted to smack the kid for saying that about his ideas, but he only twitched his hands. Naruto's girlfriends on the other hand were fearing for the blonde boy since they knew exactly who it was that Naruto was berating. Ibiki then said, I could use an idea that would make you immediately drop out, but I'll let this slide once since you do have a point and actually thought of it. So, all I have to say to you now is, you pass. Sasuke, Sakura and Kiba, who knew what was coming, Ibiki and surprisingly Naruto, counted in their minds along with his sisters and Kasumi, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. The whole class erupted. What? The girl from Suna said, then where is the 10th question? Naruto sighed, there is no 10th question. Well, technically, the take or leave option is the 10th question, right? Scarface. Ibiki ignored the Scarface comment and said, what the blonde smartass said, the 10th question is the take or leave option. In missions, there are times where you'll have to make tough choices. You'll either choose the mission and risk your life and team, or you save your team and yourself and forsake the mission. The choices I gave you were based on that. You either take the question, which is the mission, or you get the promotion next time, which is your lives. I know that the Shinobi Code says to live as long as you can, but sometimes you must risk it, and you just showed the requirements for a Chunin. So, all I have to say is, he didn't say anything as a black object came flying in. It opened up to be a banner that said, Midarashi Enko, Proctor number 2 is here. A woman followed in and shouted, so, let's go to the second stage, yeah. She pumped her fist as a crow flew by cawing, baka, baka. Ibiki sighed, Enko, you're early. Enko smiled sheepishly, am I? Sorry about that. 20 teams? Huh, you're losing your touch. I'll cut them in half. So, as I said, let's go to the next stage, Training Ground 44. After a while, and by a while, I mean half an hour, the genins finally gathered at the training ground. Enko said, so, welcome to Training Ground 44, otherwise known as the Shinomori. Thunder erupted from within the forest and scared the wits out of the genin there, well, some of them. Naruto then said out loud, it's been a while since I came here. Enko raised an eyebrow, thinking, so he's taking the exams, huh? I thought he'd take the promotion Hokage-sama offered him, since he's in a ranked shinobi, killed to his forces like his father. Outside she said, oh. She suddenly threw a kunai at the reminiscing boy who just raised his fingers and caught the kunai in the ring with his index finger, before putting the phase edge behind himself, right where Enko's neck was. The genin all had widened eyes as they didn't even sense the woman move and that Naruto countered her quickly. Enko got away from Naruto and continued, so, after you sign this, which is an agreement case you die and we won't be held responsible, you'll get a scroll, either 10 or Tsuchai. To pass the test, you need both and reach the tower. I warn you though, do not open the scrolls if you have both before you reach the tower, and do not open them if you have only one. On missions, you may get important documents and you are not to open them, I'm sure you know that, right? Getting nods, she told them to hop to it. After that, all the teams were assigned to their respective gates. Enko said via a microphone, now, I'm sure everyone is at their gates. So, begin. The gates flew open as the genin, Chunin hopefuls all rushed into the forest. As soon as Naruto and his sisters got to a fair distance from the gates, he signaled them to stop and extended his senses to search for the Uchiha sister and Hinata's team. After a full minute, which was considered long by shinobi standards, well, that is if you're in a forest that is incredibly dangerous, in which case, they were. Naruto said, Hikari-chan, Haku-chan, Haruna-chan, Suki-chan, Hinata-chan and Yuki-chan are a mile due east. We'll join them and get our scrolls together, that okay? The girls nodded as the team of siblings, lovers sped towards the east. As they jumped over the trees, screams of terror were heard as liquid splattering the ground was heard, creeping the two girls out. Naruto and Haku were indifferent as they had their fair share of kills. Soon, they finally reached the team and saw Team 11 with them. Yuki, Tsuki and Hinata smiled when they saw their fiancé's team. Team 11 didn't say anything as Sasuke wanted to live. Sakura was too occupied with fawning over Sasuke while Sai was merely observing Team 7. Yuki said, now Naruto-kun is here, we should work together to get our own scrolls, would be faster that way, right? Team 12 and 7 nodded. Team 11 wanted to protest, but one quick glare from Tsuki shut them up, before nodding as well. As Hinata was searching the area with Naruto extending his senses, they found the AIM teams and Iwa teams together coming their way, fast. Naruto smirked, well, looks like we've got a 4-on-3 match coming right up. As if on cue, a male voice was heard, damn right you are, we AIM teams are getting the scrolls while the Iwa teams are just gonna pound you namikaze idiots into the ground. The Iwa genin all grunted in approval as the obvious leader said, you'll pay for what your bastard of a father did to us, and you yourself, damn bastard. Naruto said in reply, I don't care if you hate us for our father, but you Iwa fuckers killed the man I looked up as my father, I won't stop until every one of you are slaughtered. He then immediately went into orphanok form holding the Metagabaryu and charged them. The other genin decided to deal with the AIM teams. The Iwa genin all shot earth jutsu at the Dino-themed orphanok, but he batted them away like they were flies, sometimes cutting them in half. He slammed the axe into one of the genin and decapitated the poor boy. Naruto turned to another and unleashed a blast of cold air, giving Haku an advantage for her ice jutsu in the process. The Iwa genin was frozen from bottom to the top, before he was broke into a million pieces from Naruto slamming the frozen genin with his tail. The other Iwa genin shouted, you'll pay for that, you bastard. Naruto replied, I'd like to see you try. Even the best of your so-called shinobi forces couldn't stand up to me as I killed all of them in my weakest form. How in the 9 fucking hells do the 6 of you weak genins can ever hope to even scratch me in one of my strongest forms? He sent the shoulder spikes and impaled 2 of the genin in the hearts, instantly killing them. He turned to the last 2 genin standing. Raising his axe, he focused energy into the blade and said, blame your elders for being too arrogant. They couldn't beat my father during the war. They couldn't beat me a few years ago. You Iwa freaks sure as hell have no hope in beating us now. He swung the blade. A larger blade of energy came out the axe, cutting the 2 remaining Iwa genin in half. When the fight started, Team 7, well the girls of the team anyway, handled the first aim team with Team 12 while Team 11 fought the other team. After the wave of cold air blasted the area, Haku started to use her ice mirrors. Hyoton, Makyouhyosho. The mirrors appeared as Haku stepped into them. Haku was the best to fight the AIM team since they used water-based jutsu, while AIM was basically a weaker version of Kiri, in terms of shinobi forces anyway, the leaders of both villages, while Kiri can never hope to win against the leader of AIM. So, the first team was soon porcupined, their scrolls taken. As for Team 11, well, they were having a hard time. Sakura was useless, only shrieking when Sasuke was about to get hurt. Come to think of it, her damn screaming distracted the AIM team with ear ruptures, so in a weird, stupid way, she was useful. Sasuke was careless and always let an opening slip by and would have been killed if Sakura hadn't come to the rescue with her damn banshee voice. Sai, he was the best for now, using the paint jutsu he used. He was able to fight a 2-on-1 battle and winning. Naruto, the rest of Team 7 and Team 12 looked at the pathetic fight. Well, you can't call it a fight since it was so stupid even academy students could do it if you taught them the jutsu use. Then you can do a reenactment of the fight exactly the same way, none of it will have to be changed. Soon, the fight ended in Team 11's victory. Luckily, they got all their required scrolls and were heading to the tower. As the teams were jumping through trees, Sai was suddenly blasted away from the group. The group was surprised when a woman dropped down and spoke. An unbranded Hyuga, 3 Uchiha, 2 of the Kyubi vessels, 1 Hyoten user and 1 ride gear user. I could take all of the Daojutsu and get the final one to strengthen my own. As for the vessels, I could get the Akatsuki off me with them. They all slid into battle stances as Naruto went into face form. The woman licked her lips with her tongue like a snake. Naruto's eyes widened as he knew only one person could do that. He growled, Orochimaru. The woman laughed and ripped of her mask, face, revealing the snake Sannin. He smiled at the rider. I still haven't paid you back for stealing my specimens, Naruto-kun. Naruto said nothing to the Sannin. He addressed the others. I want you to stay out of the fight. I'm not sure if I can take him on myself, so you guys have no chance at all. Stay safe, and do not interfere if you want your lives. Sasuke especially. Your sisters love you and I won't let them get sad even if I dislike you. Capiche, everyone? They nodded as Naruto leaped at Orochimaru who had his smile on. Naruto threw a punch as Orochimaru dodged. You're quite slow, Naruto-kun. I heard you killed a whole portion of Iwa's forces. I wonder what made you do it. Perhaps it had something to do with Mr. Narumi Sakichi. Naruto growled, you have no right to say his name. He drew the phase edge as Orochimaru drew the Kusanagi and parried the energy blade. The group noticed Naruto was getting more aggressive every second. He was usually calm and collected, so it meant this Narumi Sakichi meant a lot to Naruto for the blonde to actually lose his cool in a fight. Orochimaru smirked and laughed. I know you're holding back. I know you defeated your father. But you'll come to see this as your downfall. He caught Naruto off guard by wrapping the blonde's armored hand with his long tongue before coating all of his fingers with a purple fire, yelling, Gogyofuin. And the Sannin slammed his hand onto Naruto's stomach before he could react, blasting the blonde away into a tree. Orochimaru then looked at the remaining. He smirked, now, for you. His neck extended and bit Sasuke, but before he could do the others, Naruto shot out of the tree he was slammed into and knocked the Sannin away in orphanok form. He growled out, pressing his axe and sword against the Kusanagi. He growled, you will not touch any of my girls. Unknown to everyone, inside of Naruto, the 2 mountains were releasing energy at the same time, a result of the seal which was destroyed immediately. But the effects were done, not messing Naruto's chakra like it was supposed to, but messing with his other. The energy collided. In the middle of the energies, where the 2 met, a small object was sprouting out of the ground, slowly but surely, releasing a red energy. Back outside, Orochimaru cursed. He only marked Sasuke but he couldn't mark the others. Damn that Minato's son. He could also feel Naruto slowly overpowering him, so he did the only thing he could, escape. After Orochimaru vanished via Kawarami, Naruto saw that Sasuke had passed out and he felt a weird energy before it faded away. He said tiredly, why not we rest a while here, for the night? We've got 4 more days left anyway. I can set up a barrier around us. I'm too tired to move on anyway. Everyone nodded as they went to find a spot, not noticing 2 males and 1 female following them closely, masking their presence well enough to not get caught. Naruto and the others found a tree large enough with a small cave in it that was somehow enough to fit 9 people. Naruto made the seal and put it on a tree, making a barrier with a 20-meter diameter. Unknown to anyone, the 3 genin that followed them were inside the barrier and were resting on a treetop at the edge of the barrier, deciding to make their move the next day. The next day, Naruto and the others were up. Well, Sasuke was still asleep, so they decided to rest up more for a little while. Well, the girls and Sai went back to sleep anyway. Naruto suddenly felt 3 presences in the barrier. He ran out and saw the 3 Oto genin. One was a boy with gauntlets. Another was a boy with a helmet, for the lack of a better word, which was like the Nidaime. And finally, a black-haired girl who was carrying bags. Looking at the boys, they were carrying too little equipment, so that would mean the girl was carrying the load for them, and she didn't like it or the 2 boys. Naruto narrowed his eyes. How did you get in here? I felt no one even getting through my barrier. The gauntlet boy laughed. We were in at the first place. You made it with a 10-meter radius. Of course we could get in. We only needed to mask our presence. The helmet boy then said, now, if you'll let us kill the male Uchiha, we'll then be off. Naruto shook his head. If you kill him, Yuki-chan and Suki-chan will get sad, even if I don't like that bastard. So no, I won't let you kill him. The two boys then smirked. The girl was slightly scared from the look of her face. The boys said, we were hoping you'd say that. Then they charged. Naruto, fully rested up, just smacked them around the barrier for full minutes before letting them drop to the ground. The gauntlet boy growled, why are you standing there, you damn bitch? Help us defeat this guy. The girl couldn't move quick enough to even fight and said, how can I move with these? The helmet boy growled, just help us, Tayuya isn't here to save you, bitch. Naruto sighed. He wasn't a cold-hearted bastard. Looking at this, he was going to smack the boys for insulting the girl, even if they were enemies. If there was something Mito and Sakichi taught the blonde, it was that no men, or boys, should ever treat a girl like shit unless they were fangirls, and Naruto knew from the look on the girl she wasn't a fangirl, unlike a pink bashi and a blonde bitch whose parents were trying to get through, with no avail. Suddenly, a dark purple torrent of chakra came out of the tree, instantly knocking out the non-suspecting girls and Sai who were too close and undefended from the chakra, sending them into a deeper sleep again. Sasuke walked out, marks on his body. The gauntlet guy had his eyes shrink in fear. A curse mark user. Fuck, Orochimaru didn't say anything about a curse mark, he used us. Zaku was about to say something but couldn't as Sasuke had appeared in front of the two and had stabbed their necks with kunai, killing them. Looking at the girl, he strode towards her, and was about to rip off her clothes as the girl backed away but was stopped by Naruto. He asked, what are you doing, Sasuke? He said the sentence in a dangerous tone. He hated rapists since they were the lowest of shit in the types of people. Sasuke glared at the blonde. You should mind your own business, you damn traitor. Naruto said nothing as he threw the Uchiha onto the ground, walking up to the idiot and gave a chakra-enhanced kick on the stomach, knocking the boy out, making the marks recoil back into the seal that was now visible on the neck. He then looked at the girl. What's your name? The girl replied, Tsuchai-kin. Naruto nodded. Sorry about your teammates. Since they're dead, you should come with us to the tower. Kin nodded. Also, I want a defect to Konoha, if that's fine. Naruto quirked an eyebrow. Why? Kin said, fidgeting her fingers. Well, you see, there is a guy called Orochimaru who came to my village. He took control and made the place a living hell. My sister and I trained as his shinobi. She became his elites and I am still a genin. I can't take it anymore. When we came here, I saw how this place is. I want to live here, away from Odo. Naruto then asked, what about your sister? Kin said, I can convince her. There is an invasion planned by Orochimaru and Suna during the finals. I want to tell the Hokage when I transfer to Konoha. Naruto nodded. Fine, I can get an audience with my father for you. Now, just rest, you'll need it. Kin gaped as she was having a conversation with the Hokage's son and felt lucky as she might get the chance she wanted, then followed the boy to rest. Next morning, Hikari and Haruna woke up to see Naruto fast asleep. They then noticed Kin sleeping beside their brother. Curious to who the girl was, the sisters shook the girl and asked, who are you? Kin woke up and said, my name's Tsuchai-kin. My team was supposed to kill Uchiha Sasuke but the plan backfired and my team was killed. I am deflecting to Konoha when we reach the tower. Naruto-san offered me to rest here and move with you guys. The two sisters nodded and woke everyone up. Naruto said, well, I'm sure most of you are confused why I'm keeping Kin here. She has info on someone my father and the two other Sannin wants dead. Plus she's planning on defecting, so I decided to just help a potential ally as such. Sakura then screeched, but her team wanted to kill Sasuke-kun, she should be punished. Naruto looked at the Banshee. Your precious Sasuke tried to rape her, if I hadn't stepped in. Sakura replied, he is the descendant of Uchiha Madara, he can do anything. Sasuke nodded and said, she should be honored to give birth to my child. The girls, well the true Kunoichi anyway, all glared at him. The civilian council's crap had grown on him. He was going to receive another beatdown soon. The civilian council's not-so-secret plan was known by every Uchiha as well as the Uzumaki Namikaze and Hyuga clan, which was gaining the favor of one direct descendant of Uchiha Madara, Aka Uchiha Sasuke, and get him to challenge Uchiha Itachi for the clan head status, and finally getting the sway of the Uchiha clan on the council. To be honest, this could be seen as treason but they had no proof at the moment. Hearing this, Naruto stepped forward and smacked her, sending her flying across the small space of the tree cave, also causing the tree to shudder at the impact. The girls all were shocked as well as Sasuke seeing Naruto acting so aggressive. The blonde growled, if he had raped Kin, I'd have killed him. Rapists are one of the things I despise. When I was away from the village, I witnessed a girl raped, and she begged the man who raped her to kill her. She was miserable and had killed herself. I regretted not saving her that time. Naruto glared at Sasuke. You're lucky your sisters and your brother love you. But your parents will hear of this. Yuki-chan, Suki-chan, I hope you two will act as witnesses. The sisters nodded and said, Sasuke tried to rape a girl. That's unforgivable. We'll act as witnesses, Naruto-kun. Hope this teaches you a lesson, Sasuke. Naruto continued, let's go. The group then started their journey, which was unnaturally silent and uneventful, aside from the screams of terror heard occasionally. Then, Naruto felt a presence and held up his hand, signaling the group to stop. He said, Hinata-chan, use your Byakugan, check the area. She did so and said, I see a Konoha team near us, but there's something wrong, it's like they're planning to ambush us. Naruto said nothing and just leaped into the direction. Screams were heard as Naruto came back holding 2 scrolls, blood visible on his black jacket and shirt. Hikari and Haruna gasped, Oni-chan, you killed them. They were Konoha nin. Naruto shook his head, no, they are our enemy. I'm sure Kin saw the 3 of them at least once in Oto. Kin nodded and said, they are one of Orochimaru's top spy teams. Orochimaru sent them here years ago. It's surprising how they sent info to Orochimaru and still kept their cover here. Naruto sighed, that's because the village security is lax, thanks to the civilian council. He said the last part, glaring daggers at Sakura, who said nothing and glared back. Sakura said, what is your problem with me and Sasuke-kun? Truth to be told, the seal had messed up Naruto's energy, at the same time messing with his emotions, even if it's for a few days only, but no one knows that. Naruto replied, it's people like you who make a bad name for shinobi. You civilians act like you own this place, when it's the shinobi who created the place. Your fucking civilian council has been a thorn to shinobi for years. I've been to other villages, their civilian councils are the same, though without so much power. Their security is tight, unlike ours. You think I'm a normal genin? Think again. I know what that whore of your mother did to ensure you civilians can get your way, make more money while at the same time destroying our village. Sakura yelled, Ka-sen isn't like that. Naruto replied, no. Do you know why your mother hates my family so much? Do you know that the council is corrupted because of the civilian council? Do you know that our village is heading towards bankruptcy? Do you fucking know our village is about to get invaded because your damn fucking mother and her fuck buddies lowered our security so much that an invasion could happen and we can't fight back in time? Sakura was shocked that Naruto yelled at her. Naruto continued in a calm voice, no, you don't. After the exams, if the village still stands, look around and observe the security, all of you. There are many things you don't know about your parents, Sakura. Things that will forever change your view of them. Your mother once tried to tear apart my parents, but had an epic fail. Think about that. I dislike you and Sasuke, true, but I still care for the village, or at least who's inside it. The civilian council is destroying the place, and if the adults won't take action in time, I will kill them. Sakura was speechless as they continued their journey. Some unknown area, a pink-haired woman was sitting at the head of a dark room with many other people. She said, good, soon we will reach our goal. We will take what we rightfully deserve and I will have my revenge on those 2 bitches for corrupting Minato and Fugaku. We will retake our rightful position and put those damn shinobi beneath us, where they are supposed to. The other people nodded in agreement as they continued with their plan. Back with the group, they finally reached the tower. Naruto saw the sign and read. He then turned to the group and said, take out your sets of scrolls, open them and put them on the ground in cross formation. Sasuke said, why should we listen to you? Naruto looked at him, I'm not in the mood now, Sasuke. If you want to bitch around, do it when you're dead. But now, don't piss me off, or you'll get to experience how I killed Kabuto and his team, and don't say that your sisters might hate me and I won't kill you, I know that. But if you don't stop act like that, despite what will happen between me and your sisters, I will kill you. Naruto turned away and unrolled the scrolls and placed them in X formation. As he was doing this, his girlfriends were surprised why Naruto was acting like this. He was unusually violent, more easy to anger. They then thought about what Orochimaru did to him, slamming those fire-coated fingers on his stomach. Maybe that had something to do with his unusual behavior. They were gonna have to ask Minato later. As soon as he was done, from the 3 sets of scrolls, smoke came out and 3 figures appeared. They were the 3 teams' respective sensei. Kushina, Mikoto and Kakashi smiled at them. Ah, I see you 3 teams decided to work together and got here on the 3rd day. Impressive. Naruto said, we would have gotten here earlier if it wasn't for that damn Orochimaru. Mikoto laughed, very funny Naruto. The 3 jounin then saw their faces and said, you're serious. They nodded. Kushina then said, then you'll have to come to see Mina-kun. Oh, who's this young lady? Naruto replied, she's Tsuchai-kin, part of the team Orochimaru sent to kill Sasuke, but he killed her teammates and was about to rape her. He also had weird markings on him. Kin also has info on Orochimaru and Oto and Suna planning to invade us during the final stage of the exams. The jounin nodded as Mikoto looked at her adoptive son disapprovingly. We're gonna have a talk with your father, young man. They then went in and headed for the Hokage temporary office in the tower. Minato smiled as he saw the teams. Kushina said, Mina-kun, they encountered Orochimaru in the forest and Sasuke has the curse mark now. Kin here also has info on Oto and Suna invading us and wants to defect to Konoha. Minato nodded and called for Jiraiya Veir Anbu. Minato then said, tell me all about your encounter with Orochimaru. The teams reported everything they knew on Minato's side. Naruto, we're gonna check if there is anything wrong with you. They also said you are acting unusually violent just now. We'll need to research on that. We'll take care of the invasion, nothing you need to worry about for now. As for Kin, I'm sorry, but aside from you becoming a slave or someone's wife here, I can't do anything to let you defect. Kin looked down, then said, anything, just don't send me back to Oto. Minato nodded. Fine, since Naruto brought you here, you will now be Naruto's official slave. Though you'll be treated normally, the slave thing is just a name, plus, if I know my son, he won't treat you badly. You will live at the compound with Haku here. Haku nodded and smiled at Kin, who smiled back. Kin also blushed as she heard of being a slave to Naruto, who she found to be quite handsome. Naruto sighed and nodded. Fine. Minato smiled. Now that's settled, I think you should go rest up. You've had a long day. They didn't disagree as they went to the rooms in the tower. Hikari and Haruna smiled evilly at their brother as they pulled him into the room, locking it. Unknown to any of them, Jiraiya was outside by the window using the transparency jutsu and was giggling perversely while writing down notes, blood dripping off his nose. The next remaining days passed quickly. Minato had sealed Sasuke's cursed mark and checked his son for any seals present, and found none. Inside Naruto these few days, the object in the middle of the two mountains had rose to form a small hill, showing a small-like shape at the bottom and was still rising, releasing red energy as the two energies from the Faiz and Orphanok mountains sent out their own energy. Kushina had also gotten to know Kin when she was sent back to the compound. The two loyal Sannin and Naruto's parents also noticed the blush Kin got whenever Naruto was mentioned. When they discussed this, Jiraiya grumbled something about damn brats getting all the cute girls, resulting in laughter from everyone present. Now, the genin were gathered in the arena at the top of the tower. Minato was smiling at the genin, Chunin hopefuls. Truth to be told, he was just proud that his children had made it this far in the exams. The first time he did it, also in Konoha, same test, he failed to get past the forest with his team, but luckily survived. Granted, he nor anyone in his team were a ranked shinobi. But his children had fought against Orochimaru, Orochi fucking Maru of all people, and survived. Minato snapped out of his musings and said, I must congratulate all of you to be able to get so far in the tower, especially with so many of you here. Now, before we go further, I must inform you that you are now representing your own villages. The villages can never truly be at peace, so to speak, that's why the Chunin exams are formed. True, it's to promote the genin to Chunin, but that could have been done separately in your respective villages. The second reason for the exams is to avoid war. Minato paused as to give a dramatic effect and continued, as you should know, or not, the village income rely on missions from inside and outside of a village. So, by having the exams, your villages can show your strength and attract more mission requests should you win. You get what I'm saying here. He got nods in response and continued, and as such, since there are too many of you here, we'll be having a preliminary test, a one-on-one all-out match. Death is fine but not encouraged, so Anko, if you would. Anko nodded as she motioned to the walls. She said, as a screen popped out, the screen here will show your names, well, the ones who will fight in a match. If there are anyone who wishes to quit, please raise your hand as you aren't allowed to quit after we enter your names into the board. Kabuto and one of his teammates quit and walked away. Anko nodded. Okay, now there are odd numbers. Hey, here shall tell you the rest of the rules and is the proctor for this test. A sick-looking man with a sword walked forward and said, like Anko-san said, I'm the next proctor for this test. As such, you'll follow my orders when you take the test. Plus, there'll be a three-way match for the first. Any more questions? There were none as Hey continued. Good, now the names will be displayed. The screen started to roll through names and ended with three names, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto vs. Inuzuka Kiba vs. Uchiha Sasuke. Hey nodded as he said, there you go, the first battle. Those who don't have their names displayed please go up to the stands with your sensei while Hokage-sama, Tsunade-sama, Jiraiya-sama and Sandaime-sama go up to the glass stand. Everyone complied, leaving the three boys. Kiba was still determined to defeat Naruto and claim his sister as his mate. Sasuke wanted to prove that he was stronger than Naruto and get Haruna as his wife. And finally Naruto, he was just standing there picking his ear, causing sweat drops from almost everyone as Naruto stood there, completely underestimating his opponents. Hey, it said, so, are you three ready? Kiba and Sasuke replied heatedly, yeah, I'm ready. Hey looked at Naruto who was looking at the statue. Hey coughed as Naruto focused back to the arena and said, sure. Hey resisted the urge to facepalm along with most of those who knew Naruto. They all knew Naruto was not taking them seriously since he hadn't been beat by them since the academy days. Hey nodded and said, so, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto vs. Inuzuka Kiba vs. Uchiha Sasuke, Hajime. The two weaker boys immediately tag-teamed Naruto, charging him with jutsu. Kiba and Sasuke yelled, Jia-tsuga, Katen, Ruka no Jutsu. The jutsu combined to form a living flaming drill of death, well, to normal people anyway, and Naruto was definitely not normal. He looked at the flaming, spinning Kiba and merely threw a normal kunai to the wall and Kawarami with the kunai, causing Kiba to just grind himself into the ground. Naruto then whipped out his phone and dialed the codes. Standing by. The phone announced, complete. Naruto transformed into Faiz and took out the Faiz edge with the mission memory in it. Sasuke did a set of hand signs and yelled, Katen, Gakakyu no Jutsu. The ball of flame shot at Naruto at high speed. Naruto sighed and pressed enter on his phone, exceed charge. He swung the blade as a beam of pure energy ran across the ground, obliterating the ball of flame and encasing the Uchiha in an anti-gravity field. Not unlike Minato's case, Sasuke couldn't escape by any means, Kawarami and just about anything failed. Naruto was about to knock the Uchiha out but was stopped when Kiba shouted, "Gatsuga!" and Dog Boy to the rescue. The drill-like attack charging at Naruto, who leaped away, leaving Sasuke in the line of fire. Unfortunately, the technique had no means of using eyesight and relied on smell and hearing, so Kiba slammed into Sasuke, knocking out the arrogant boy. Kiba stopped his jutsu and noticed Sasuke out on the ground. He cursed, "Oh shit." Naruto smirked, "Shit indeed, for you." He slid the mission memory from the Excel watch to his phone, complete. Naruto went into Excel form and blurred around, knocking Kiba all around the ring. The audience winced every once in a while when Kiba was sent flying. After 3 minutes, Kiba blacked out and fell to the ground. Height sighed and said, "Shouusha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto." Naruto jumped up to the ring and was greeted by his girlfriends. Hikari said cheerfully, "Nice fight, Oni-chan." Yuki and Suki sighed, "Wasn't much of a fight, it was just like the academy. Sasuke Baka never learns." The Uchiha sisters were slightly disappointed and shamed that their brother still had that Uchiha arrogance that had got many Uchiha killed, but still present. Kushina smiled at her eldest and Mikoto said, "Well, congratulations on beating the two of them once again. We're relieved Sasuke didn't force the usage of the cursed mark though. Have to tell Sum about Kiba's training and tell Fugaku about Sasuke's training." Naruto nodded as the training part didn't really concern him, but he shouldn't offend his future mother-in-law if he really wanted to be with Yuki and Suki, plus the girls still loved their brother, even if he was a dick sometimes. The screen rolled through names again and stopped at 2, showing Haruno Sakura vs Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna. Some of the rookies winced as they knew what was to come, a one-sided match, again. "Hey," it said, "would the mentioned people please come down?" Haruna and Sakura complied. Haruna showed the same expression as Naruto did during his match while Sakura was determined. "Hey," it said in a monotone voice, "are both of you ready?" Haruna said without much enthusiasm, "Yeah." While Sakura said with fire, "Yes." Hey nodded. Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna vs Haruna sucks Sakura, "Sorry about that, Hajime." Most snickered as they heard the slip from Hayate. Sakura ignored the jab and rushed at Haruna. The redhead Kawarami with a log and appeared at the other end of the ring. The girl bent down as multiple chains came out of her back, slamming into the pinkette, instantly knocking the banshee out. Hey checked the girl for any signs of consciousness and said, "Shouusha, Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna." Everyone's sweat dropped at one of the shortest battles in shinobi history, if you counted Sakura as a shinobi. The screen then continued to roll through names, ending at Uzumaki Namikaze Ikari vs Yamanaka Ino. Those from Konoha groaned, "Another fangirl, Konoichi wannabe fighting a real Konoichi," which sums up, another one-sided and most possibly anticlimactic fight. The two blondes jumped down and stared at each other. "Hey," it said, "you two ready?" They nodded as Hey continued, "Uzumaki Namikaze Ikari vs Yamanaka Ino, Hajime." The Yamanaka instantly jumped away as Ikari threw kunai at the other blonde, which unknown to anyone except Naruto, were actually kunai with the Jutsu Shiki for the Hurei-shin. Ino dodged them with ease since they weren't actually aimed for her. Soon, Hikari was flazing around punching and kicking the Yamanaka as she flew around in a pinball-like manner, which was like how Kiba did during his match. Everyone sighed as the Uzumaki Namikaze siblings have gotten easy matches. The next match came up, Kurama Yakumo vs Sai. The girl was about to jump down when Sai said, "I forfeit." Everyone looked at him and he said, "What? Yakumo-san has Genjutsu paintings. Mine cannot match up and releasing Genjutsu is my weak point." Everyone nodded and turned to the screen once more, rolling and ended at Uchiha Yuki vs Akado Yoroi. The two jumped down and faced each other. Hey, it said, "You two ready?" He got nods in response and said, "Uchiha Yuki vs Akado Yoroi, Hajime." The girl instantly rushed forward, forming hand signs as she did. Yoroi also did the same, causing his hands to have a blue glow. Yuki yelled, "Katon, Karyuendan." A torrent of flames came out of her mouth, surprising Yoroi as he jumped away from the flames. Yuki smirked and did more hand signs, "Futon, Kazenoyaiba." The wind blades flew at Yoroi as Yuki did one more jutsu, Katon, Goenka. Multiple fireballs shot out and the wind blades turned into waves of fire. Yoroi's eyes widened as he was hit with the waves of flames, incinerated. Yuki's eyes widened at what she had done and started sulking as soon as Hayate announced her the winner. Mikoto looked at Naruto as he nodded, going to the girl and hugged her as the girl cried silently, getting looks of sympathy as some of the genin knew what it was like to have their first kill. The next set of names then appeared, Hyuga Hinata vs Hyuga Neji. Hinata and Neji stood at the opposite of each other. Hayate said, "Okay, you two ready?" They nodded as Hayate announced, "Hajime." Neji smiled as he said, "Never thought I'd be facing you in the exams, Hinata-sama." Hinata smiled back, "Indeed, Neji Nai-san." Neji nodded, "But fate has declared me the winner of the match." Up at the stands, Naruto face-palmed, "Neji's fucked." Tenten was confused, "Why?" Naruto looked at the two cousins as the temperature dropped severely. Well, Neji's father also had the same belief that fate is set for everyone, but it was beaten out by Hinata-chan's father. Neji also has the same problem and Hinata once made Neji swear to not say the fate and destiny crap. Just watch on, it'll be interesting, well, for us anyway. Tenten nodded and looked back at the two Hyuga. Hinata's long hair shaded her eyes and said calmly, Neji Nai-san, what did I say about the fate and destiny stuff? Neji gulped as he answered fearfully, not to do it. Hinata looked up and showed a maniac smile, which was incredibly scary on her innocent face. Exactly. Naruto laughed as Hinata chased Neji all around the ring with Neji shouting sorry a lot of times and Hinata yelling at him to take his punishment like a man. As for the other viewers, they just sweat dropped. Soon, Neji stopped running and faced his cousin. Enough games, Hinata-sama, we shall truly begin our match. He slid into his Juken stance as Hinata continued charging. Both engaged in a Juken death dance as they evaded each other's strikes and countered with their own. They then slid into a wider stance. Both said, Hack Rakujuin Show. The barrage of Juken strikes from the two cousins started as they nullified all of the strikes. Neji jumped back and said, I've studied the ways of Juho and I have a version of my own of it. Let us put it to the test now, shall we? Hinata smiled and slid into the Juho stance. Neji went into a similar stance but looked more like the Goken and the Juken combined. Both Hyuga charged as they moved in the same serene movements, which was shocking for Neji since his stance was stiff and hard, unlike the Juho, yet he could move like that. Soon, the cousins parted once more, gathering chakra in their hands, forming shrouds of chakra in their hands. Minato, Kushina, Kakashi and Makoto's eyes widened as they looked like Hitomi's Juho technique, only rougher without a shape. They charged and palms clashed. Finally, Neji proved to be superior and knocked Hinata out. Hey checked Hinata and said, Shausha, Hyuga Neji. Neji went up as Hinata was sent to the infirmary to check for any injuries and was congratulated by Guy, Lee and Tenten while Naruto gave him a respectful nod. The next set of names then came up, showing Uchiha vs Karui. The two girls jumped down and stared at each other. Heiid asked, ready. The girls nodded. Heiid then said, good, Uchiha vs Karui, Hajime. The two girls immediately charged. Karui drew her sword as Tsuki did hand signs, Katen, Ryuden no Jutsu. The fire dragon aimed at Karui as she dodged, creating an inferno on the arena. Karui did single-handed signs and said, Raiten, Jabashi. The lightning attack raced at Tsuki, who did her own hand signs and said, Daten, Doryuaki. The wall of earth, mud rose and nullified the thunder attack. Tsuki then did a new set of hand signs, Suten, Suryuden no Jutsu. The water dragon raced at the Kumo-nin, who made another set of hand signs, Raiten, Ryuden no Jutsu. Normally a lightning attack would do well for a water attack, but Tsuki placed more chakra into the jutsu, and ended up overpowering the lightning jutsu, charging the water dragon with lightning, hitting the black-skinned girl and electrocuting her, effectively knocking her out. Everyone was impressed by the impressive display of jutsu. Hey, it said, Shausha Uchiha Tsuki. This was followed by a series of clapping from everyone, well, save a few. She was greeted by a kiss from Naruto and congratulations from her friends and Harem. Next match then began. Lee, Gaara, Temari and Tenten's matches went on as canon. Kankuro fought C and won the same way as canon. Samui won against Chaoji like how Dasu did but with lightning jutsu instead. Now, it was B versus Shino. B was using his swords, while only 2, slashing at Shino, who was proving a strong adversary as he dodged every blow and used his Kikeichu bugs to slowly drain B's chakra, which proved futile and settled to using the chakra received for stronger jutsu. B then started to use Biju chakra. Naruto instantly pitied the Aburame, since a Jinchuriki using the Biju's chakra was the worst adversary for any shinobi who relied on draining chakra, which the Aburame clan specializes in. Most of Shino's bugs dropped dead from the poisonous chakra. Shino, seeing his bugs die, raised his hands. I forfeit, my colony is almost gone, and I can't risk them dying. Heiid nodded and announced B the winner. The following match was Haku versus Amoy. Haku sped around the ring as soon as Heiid announced the match to begin. Haku didn't want to reveal her Kekkei Genkai so early and settled for Suten Jutsu. She yelled, Suten, Sensatsu Suisho. The water needles appeared from the atmosphere and aimed at Amoy. Amoy concentrated chakra into his blade, more specifically, Raiten chakra. As the needles approached, he swung his blade around, dissolving the needles. He then charged Kumoryu Mikazukajiri. He swung his blade in a wide arc and almost beheaded Haku had she not jumped away. He then created several solid clones, and they charged. Amoy jumped up and yelled, Kumoryu Kasumajiri. He came down and aimed his sword at Haku. Haku saw the strike and Kawarami with one of Amoy's clones, which was a Raiten clone, designed to electrocute the person who killed it. Unfortunately, Amoy had killed his clone and ended up being shocked. Haku thought, I can't win like this, I'll have to use the Hayaten. She made a set of hand signs and said, Hayaten, Makayo Hayosho. A dome of ice mirrors appeared and surrounded Amoy as Haku stepped into her mirrors. Naruto laughed as Haku had done this to help him train on Kenjutsu once and he ended up being porcupined. He knew Haku was going to do it again, but to Amoy it won't heal the Kumo-nin like she did with Naruto. True enough, soon, Haku began throwing senbon and Amoy became a porcupine. Most people were trying hard not to laugh since the lollipop in Amoy's mouth made the scene look worse. Amoy struggled to pull the senbon out since it was limiting his movements. Haku took advantage of this and knocked him into a death-like state. Heiid sighed and said, Shausha Mamachi Haku. The next fight was between Shikamaru and Yujito. Shikamaru made a plan and would have won if Yujito didn't use her enormous amount of chakra to obliterate his Kage main no jutsu and knock him out with a blue katten jutsu. Now, all of the winners were standing in front of Minato. He said, "Well, I congratulate all of you for making it this far. The finals will start next month on this same date. So, if you will please pick your numbers to determine who you'll fight." Everyone nodded as they picked their numbers and told Minato about it. Soon, a board with who fighting who and which match it was drawn. First match, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto vs Kurabi. Second match, Uchiha Tsuki vs Sabaku Temari. Third match, Hyuga Neji vs Sabaku Kenkuro. Fourth match, Uzumaki Namikaze Akari vs Nai Yujito. Fifth match, Uchiha Yuki vs Momchai Haku. Sixth match, Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna vs Sabaku Gara. Minato continued, "Okay, I hope you will use the 1 month's time wisely to train, as there will be high-ranking people from all around the world watching you. So good luck, and see you next month." Everyone nodded and went out of the tower into the village. Now, Hinata, the Uchiha sisters, Naruto and his sisters were at a sushi restaurant, the only male of the group of lovers scarfing down plates of sushi again. This was seen by Minato, Kushina, Mikoto, Hitomi, Hayashi, Fugaku, Mikoto, Tsunade, and Jiraiya. Minato and Kushina, who were ramen addicts themselves and also knew of Naruto's addiction to the godlike noodles, were shocked when they saw their son eating other kind of food like that. The group of adults walked to their children as Kushina and Minato asked their son, "Naruto, what happened? Why are you eating sushi like how you do with ramen?" Naruto looked at his parents and said, "Thanks to the girls, I have found a new food of the gods, second to ramen, sushi." The two older ramen addicts looked at the girls, crying anime tears. "What did you girls do to him?" "He took away one of the ramen cult's important members." The other adults' sweat dropped at the sight. The couple had been babbling stuff about a ramen god cult since they were genin. Unknown to them, all around the nations, all the ramen addicts were saying a prayer. "We feel one of our brethren has fallen to another kind of food, tainted while still a ramen fan, Namo Amichuofo." Back to the group, Hayashi, Fugaku, Hitomi, and Mikoto were praising their daughters. "Well done, girls, you managed to do what we failed in doing for years, and I quote taint a ramen cult member with another kind of food. Though it may have something to do with the fact Naruto loves all of you." Jiraiya and Tsunade's sweat dropped since it was kinda true. After Minato and Kushina calmed down, the Hokage said, "Sai, I guess it cannot be helped. Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan have not qualified to be a ramen cult member, and I doubt they ever will, thanks to Jiraiya-sensei and Tsunade. Anyway, I'm here to tell you that all of you, save Hinata, no offense, will be training with your parents. Well, Hikari will be trained by Jiraiya and Tsunade while I'm Naruto and Kushi-chan is training Haruna. As for Haku, with the Mizukage and my approval, you'll be trained by Zabuza and some guy named Chojiro." Everyone nodded before they started to have lunch. Well, in Naruto and his girlfriend's cases, continue lunch. The month passed quickly, several dates with, well, all of his girlfriends. Naruto and the passing Chunin hopefuls got training done and it went incredibly well, though Minato would make Naruto Chunin no matter what, not that Naruto knows. The girls all got mastery over their original techniques and learned a few new ones. Hikari got the Rasengan and Tsunade's monster strength. Haruna got chakra molding for more than just chains. Haku with more ice and water jutsu, while the Uchiha sisters got the eternal Manjikayo Sharingan and new fire jutsu, thanks to Itachi's genjutsu of the girls killing Naruto, which caused the two sisters to cry into Naruto's chest when Mikoto told Kushina about it and let the girls to sleep over at the Namikaze compound. As for Naruto, he got to the point that he could use the Hurricane with one kunai in a 100-meter radius, the Rasengan in multiple versions, and the Phase Blaster form. He even got a new summoning contract for 3 dragons, known as Bell, Piscus, and Dragor, as his sisters got their godparents' summoning contracts, Haruna getting the Slug contract like her mother and Hikari the Toad contract like her father. Naruto was offered to sign one of them but he declined. Imagine Tsunade's expression when she found out Naruto had the contract to her grandfather's dragon summons. Absolutely hilarious. Naruto was strolling around the training grounds aimlessly since he was taking the day off. Only this day, he ended up on the Hokage monument. He unknowingly walked to a door that was well hidden, right above the Shodame's head, and was covered with a tiny genjutsu, which was impossible to miss in a close range but impossible to see at long range. Out of curiosity, Naruto opened the door and entered. He walked along the long tunnel and ended up in a very, 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 very large area. There were 3 dragons, 1 brown, 1 silver, and 1 white. The brown and silver dragons were the same size, around Biju size, but the last one was twice the size. The white dragon roared as 3 of them jumped from their locations and landed in front of Naruto. The white dragon bellowed, "Who dares enter the sacred place of the dragons?" Naruto looked up and said, "I'm Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. I found the door on the head of the Shodame Hokage Senju Hashirama on the Hokage monument. It lead me here. I apologize if I intrude your sacred place, Dorgun-sama." The 3 dragons were surprised that a human had the guts to reply, and what shocked them even further was the lack of fear in his eyes, a 12 to 14 years old boy. Of all the people they met that came in through the door, only one person was like Naruto, Aka Hashirama Senju. That was why they requested the first Hokage to build the door over his head of the monument. Naruto looked at them without fear, something that not even the youngest one in the past to come here, which was a man at the age of 25, didn't have. And those who had fear were eaten, a deal made by Hashirama and the three dragons, that if one came without fear, they were to be made a summoner, and with fear would be eaten. So the white dragon nodded, respectfully, since they were quite frightening to begin with, and talking with their dominating voice only made it worse, and said, "You faced us without fear, you are worthy, I would like you to become our summoner." Naruto was taken aback by this revelation. "Wait, you mean I become a dragon summoner?" The brown dragon nodded, "Yes, though you can only summon the three of us, since we are the last dragons on Earth," adding in the fact that we are immortal. The silver added in, "If you want, you may also sign another contract, though only one more." Naruto shook his head. "Being offered to sign your contract is an honor great enough. I will sign your contract, and your contract only if I can help it." The white dragon nodded and produced a scroll from its scales on the chest. Naruto rolled it open and saw one name only, Senju Hashirama. He felt slightly happy and proud since he was going to sign the one contract that was only signed by the Shodaime. He wrote his name with his blood and placed his fingerprints on it. The scroll then went back to the dragon's chest. The white dragon said once more, "Before you go back and learn the hand seals, I should inform you our names. I am Dragor, the brown one here is Bael, and the silver one is Piscus." Naruto nodded, and he went back out to learn the Kushios no Jutsu from his parents or godparents. Now, the finalists were standing at the Chunin Exam Stadium, lined up evenly. The council had bitched about Sasuke not entering the finals since he was on a 2-on-1 match and didn't get a chance to show his talent. The fact that one of his opponents was in a ranked shinobi was a fact that made his match unfair, and that Naruto should be disqualified for that. This was shot down by Fugaku, Mikoto, Minato, Kushina, and Hayashi immediately. They said it was Sasuke's luck to face Naruto, and Kiba and Sasuke had teamed up on Naruto but was still defeated. As for disqualifying Naruto, they said Naruto didn't do anything wrong, and even questioned the civilian council as to why they were caring so much about Sasuke as he was an Uchiha. This shut them up, giving more proof that they were planning something. Back to the finalists, a man with a bandana walked to them and said, "Now, I'm sure Nui Genma, the proctor for the final exam. The rules are the same as the preliminaries. I suggest you not to kill if you can help it. It'll make your village look bad if you do, especially you genin from our village, though you could do it, it ain't encouraged. So, ready?" He got nods and then did the voice amplifier jutsu. "Okay, now the first match, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto vs Karabi of Kumo. Are you ready?" The crowd screamed in approval as Genma told the other finalists to go to the participant box. Speaking of a box, we now see the caged box. In there were Minato, Kushina, the Reikage, the Keisukage Rasa, and the Mizukage Mei with Zabuza. The Reikage and Keisukage were there for their genin. As for the Mizukage, she was there to see Haku's match, which Minato accepted. He chuckled as he saw the crowd went wild. "Hokage, it seems your proctor there has some enthusiasm along with the crowd." Minato chuckled back. "Indeed, I'm surprised to see B as a genin since we battled once." I replied, "He was always a genin. He wanted to stay genin, don't know why, but he wanted to enter this year's Chunin exams. I only let him take higher missions due to his power." They huffed, "More like he wants to fight the famed Kamen Rider Faiz, though he takes after you a lot than he seems to, Hokage Dono." I caught the implication and said, "Indeed he does, Hokage. He also destroyed Iwa Nin like you did, only on a larger scale, and if I remember, like you killed the Iwa shinobi because they threatened Kushina here. Naruto did it because the old fool Anoki ordered Naruto's father figure, Narumi Sakichi, I think, to be killed." Minato nodded. "Let's just watch the matches. I want to see how the two fare against each other." Back with the two, Genma said, "Ready, Hajime." B instantly jumped away while Naruto went into orphanok form. Naruto roared and took out the Metabaryu. B smirked and went into the first stage of Biju mode, the chakra cloak. Both demonic-like shinobi vanished in a burst of speed, meeting at the center and clashed punches. B took out one of his blades and fought Naruto on an axe versus sword battle. He found that he couldn't put much damage to the thick armor of skin and went for his 7-sword technique. B spun as the blades in his joints slashed, finally doing damage to Naruto as sparks flew, sending the dinosaur-like slamming into the walls, revealing a reverted human Naruto. He smirked as he wiped his forehead of the sweat and went to go into blaster form, transforming into Phase first. As he hit the buttons on the Phase blaster, inside of him, the mountain began to glow brighter every second. Naruto placed the phone into the slot and waited for the familiar sound. Error. In its place came the same voice, but different words. Naruto was confused and was about to check on the Phase blaster, but he stiffened in pain as he felt a large surge of energy, like when he got the Phase blaster, but on a much, much larger scale. He was blinded with white light and opened his eyes to see his orphanok half. Kanzaki smiled at his original self. "Looks like we meet again, King. Though this will truly be the last time, I made it so that when this time came, I'd reappear." What you experienced just now, it's the phase blaster reacting to your orphanok nature. It clashes and merges to form a new power. Naruto asked, new power. Kanzaki nodded. When you use either of your strongest forms, the energy output increases. Like the orphanok form, this will only emerge when your subconscious deems you to be in a life-threatening situation, which against B, you are. The Hachibai Jinchurikai or any of them higher than 6 tails can kill you easily in any of your current forms if they go into the 5-tail human-sized Biju mode. The full Biju mode can't kill you since they require energy to stay big, but with the human size, the energy output is smaller and you will be killed in a few. You'll also go berserk this one time. Don't worry about hurting anyone. If there is anyone getting hurt, it'll be B. And I'm sure you'll calm down after defeating him. He can't beat you no matter what form he assumes now. Now, get him, Tiger. Naruto then blacked out. Outside, Naruto was releasing red energy, not unlike a Jinchurikai. And the other cage snapped their heads at Minato. He's a Jinchurikai. Kushina shook her head. No way, how's this possible? He can't be a Jinchurikai. Naruto let out a primal roar, and like a combination of the phase and orphanok transformation, pieces of armor flew from above Naruto and merged with Naruto, forming a red figure with white eyepieces. B was shocked at the new change. He felt the energy and changed into the 7-tailed human Biju form. Inside him, Juki said, well, we're fucked B. B rapped, don't worry, Hachai bro, we will win, that's for sure, Kanoyero, Bakeero. Juki replied, I doubt it, he's got the final form. And it looks like it's his first time, he'll go berserk. We don't have the power to stop him. Only Kasumi the Kyubi can even hope to hold against him. Before B could reply, Naruto shot forward. He appeared before B with his fist arched back and thrust, sending B all the way across the arena, just like B did with him. Naruto stood in a primal stance, legs bent, arms stretched sideways slightly, leaning forward like he was midway to crouching. B stood up, spitting blood from his mouth as he flared his chakra and burst forward. Naruto arched his hand back, fist clenched as lightning surged through it, and pushed forward, sending a blast of energy. And B reappeared where he stood, only slammed into the wall, his butt sticking in the wall with a web crack coming out, unconscious. As if he felt B to be defeated, Naruto's new form disappeared, revealing an extremely tired Naruto. Up at the stands, his girlfriends and just about everyone had their jaws on the floor. The cage were all intrigued and were scared of Naruto's new power. Most people would think Naruto used a jutsu of sorts to defeat B. But they knew better. All Naruto used was the mere force of the punch that terrified them, as who knows how strong Naruto would be if he fought all out. Snapping out of his stupor, also knowing none of the other matches will be as shocking or short and good as this one, he announced, Shaosha, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto. After the two guys were sent to the infirmary, Naruto only had strained his body to the point of almost fainting. As for B, he had several broken bones and 2-degree burns, nothing too bad. Inside of Naruto's mind, in the mountain, like the Orphanok mountain, there sat a boy, but unlike Kanzaki, his whole body was in blood-red clothing, hair included. The boy was Naruto's age. He said aloud, maybe Kanzaki was right, you do show promise. Show me what you got, Uzumaki Namikaze Naruto, do not disappoint me, brother. Back outside, Genma cleared his throat and said, okay, that was a good match, are you ready for more? The crowd roared in agreement as Genma smirked. Now, on to the second match. Will Uchiha Tsuki and Sabaku Temari come down? The two girls jumped down and stood against each other. Genma smirked. Girls, try to make it like how the previous match went. It'll drive the crowd crazy and make my job easier. The girls sighed and nodded. Genma's smile widened as he said loudly, okay, the match between two young maidens, Uchiha Tsuki and Sabaku Temari, Hajime. Tsuki immediately used her Manjikaio and yelled, Kamui. Projectiles such as kunai, shuriken, senbon etc. came out flying straight of the wormhole as Temari swung her gigantic fan, repelling the weapons away. The weapons kept coming and Temari had to swing her fan to repel. Wait, is that a couch? Tsuki thought, just like Tenten-san, the weapons are useless against her. Hell, even that unwanted couch was being repelled. I guess I'll have to use the Amaterasu or Tsukayomi. The Susanoo is out of question since I want to save it for later use. I'll use the Amaterasu then. Her Sharingan spun rapidly as she yelled, Amateratsu. Black flames appeared as they burned the ground where Temari jumped away from. As Tsuki moved her head to look at Temari, the flames moved as well, following Temari as she ran. With only wind as her weapon, Temari foolishly swung her fan at the flames in hopes to extinguish it. The plan backfired badly as the flames intensified, moving faster as it became larger. Temari cursed and shouted, I forfeit. I forfeit. Tsuki stopped her onslaught and looked at Genma, who nodded. Shousha, Uchihatsuki. As soon as he said that, the flames extinguished as Tsuki released her jutsu. Tsuki and Temari shook hands as they walked back to the finalists' box, the crowd cheering for the two as they showed not only talent but good sportsmanship as well. Occasionally, in the cheers, you could hear fanboys and surprisingly fangirls shouting for Tsuki and Temari to marry them. Itachi smiled widely, which shocked his family as it was the equivalent of him being proud of them and laughing on the floor rolling. Tsuki smiled back at her family. As they reached the box, Yuki and Haku congratulated her for her great victory while Kankuro and surprisingly Gaara asked for her well-being. When asked why Gaara asked, he said she was his precious person and he would not stand to letting her get hurt, causing the girl to hug her brother, which she succeeded, something that shocked them even more. Genma said again, "What a great match. Now for the next match, Sabaku Kenkuro of Suna and Hyuga Neji of Konoha, please come down." They complied as they faced each other, glaring each other down. Genma smirked and said, "Two great clans, from two great villages, which will win? Now Hyuga Neji versus Sabaku Kenkuro, start your engine." The boys took it as starting the match since Genma leaped away after saying that. Neji immediately rushed forward and began his Juken onslaught. At the audience, Hayashi said to his younger daughter, Hanabi-chan, "Watch Neji's style. He developed a style that is just like your Kasan's. He is a prodigy of the Hyuga like your sister is. This will show you our true power since you've never seen a Hyuga fight a person outside the clan, right?" Hanabi nodded as Hisashi and Hitomi bashed Hayashi on the head. Hitomi said, "There you go again, Hayashi-kun, I thought you were over that." Hisashi continued, "Indeed, Nai-sen. I thought Hitomi-sama cleared that from you." Hayashi chuckled, "But it's true, Hanabi-chan never saw a fight between a Hyuga and someone from another place." Hinata shook her head as she sighed, "Sama, he just never changes." Back to the fight, Kenkuro cursed as his puppet was severed. He tried using the parts individually but Neji always cut them off first thing, giving him no chance in hell to fight back. Soon Kenkuro became desperate and took out one of his newer but weaker puppets. He designed the puppet after Sasori's famous Haruko, used from the inside. He quickly slid in the puppet and coated the tail with poison, swinging it wildly. He was not used to this yet, so his movements were strained. Neji was having a hard time dodging with the standard Juken and went for his own version of the Juho, the Darkumata style. He named it that way since the Juho was like a graceful dance, while his was a forceful yet hard form of fighting, both flexible. The Juho was like light in a way, so he named his the Dark Matter stance. Neji moved gracefully, dodging every strike and eventually going into the field of his jutsu. He smirked and said, "It's over, Darkumata, Tora no Tekken." His hand swirled with chakra, forming heads of a tiger as he shot forward, obliterating the puppet. He pointed his jutsu at the puppet user and said, "Yield." Kenkuro nodded. Genma heard this and said, "Shousha, Hyuganeji." Everyone cheered. At the cage box, a laughed. Seems Konoha's genin are taking the lead now. First the ranked Kamen Rider Faiz showing a new power, then an Uchiha with the Manjikaiou, then now a Hyuga with a new fighting style. This generation is gonna be legendary. Minato and Kushina smiled as well. The case kids chuckled. "Well, your genin trashed my children. I see you train your shinobi well, Hokage." Minato nodded as he thought, "HMPH, damn Orochimaru, thinking I don't know who you are. I'll enjoy killing you for betraying Sandaime-sama and Konoha, especially harming those innocent children." After sending Kenkuro to the infirmary, Genma called Hikari and Yujito to the arena. Genma nodded, "You two ready, Hajime?" The two blondes charged, Hikari instantly forming a racing gun in her hand and Yujito a fireball in her own. Both spheres clashed as the balls exploded. They then traded punches and kicks as they gauged their opponents. Yujito smirked, "Shall we take this up a notch, Amato-chan?" Hikari smirked back, "Of course, Nisen." Both Jinchuriki flared their demonic chakra. Yujito became a human-sized two-tailed cat while Hikari was coated with yellow chakra, seal markings on her, which made her more prettier. Yujito asked, "Why is your transformation different?" Hikari replied, "I could use the normal one, but this is more suited for human battle." Yujito nodded as the two Jinchuriki vanished and reappeared in the middle of the arena. They traded blows, matching blow for blow. They flipped back as Yujito went to stand on all fours, her tails arching as chakra gathered in her mouth. Hikari smiled as the head of Kasumi's fox form made of yellow chakra appeared with Hikari in the middle appeared. Both had a ball of black chakra now. They released them shouting, "Bijuudama." The two bombs met as a small mushroom cloud erupted from the explosion. Everyone and thing coated with ash, poor Genma who experienced it firsthand. The fight continued, where Hikari lost in experience, she made it for power and stamina. Yujito made up the lack of power and stamina with experience and timing. Soon, Yujito started to tire and slipped, giving Hikari the chance she needed. Now, Naruto was back at the box. He saw Hikari fought with such power and was proud of her. Hikari noticed him and started to fight with more enthusiasm. She charged when the chance was given, sending a kunai with the Justu Shiki and Hurei-shin beside Yujito, racing it in hand, and slammed it into the nearby Jinchuriki, sending her flying into the crater B crashed into earlier, also unconscious. Genma chuckled at the similar victory by the siblings, and wondered if Haruna would do the same, using a special chakra, energy and wind by sticking their opponents in a same crater on the wall. He announced, "Shousha, Uzumaki Namikaze Hikari." The crowd went wild and several fanboys also shouted for her to marry them. Hikari smiled as she thought, "Like I'll ever marry them, all I need is Oni-chan." She went up to the box and was rewarded by Naruto kissing her. Naruto smiled at her and said, "Nice fight, Hikari-chan." Hikari beamed at him. Arigato, Oni-chan, you fine? You made all of us worry. She sounded worried at the end, which she was. Naruto chuckled and placed a hand on her head. I'm fine now. Sorry for making you worry. Hikari nodded. Beside, the Sabaku siblings were surprised. Hikari had addressed Naruto as her brother, yet they kissed like lovers. Are they into incest? Temari asked. Ano, I'm confused. You addressed him as brother, yet you still kiss like lovers, are you? Naruto laughed and said, yes, our clan doesn't forbid it, and believe it or not, our parents support it as well. They say it'll help repopulate the clan faster since this'll put me under the CRA. Kankuro grumbled, damn lucky bastard. He would have worshipped the blonde if he hadn't stopped him from kissing Iame, but that wasn't the case now. Suki, Yuki and Haku pouted at Naruto along with Haruna, so we don't get kisses now huh, Naruto-kun, Oni-chan. Naruto chuckled and kissed them all, making the Sabaku siblings have their jaw on the ground. They were snapped out of the stupor as Genma announced, will Uchiha Yuki and Momchai Haku come down please? The two girls walked to face each other. Both wore determined faces as they wanted to know which was stronger. Genma asked, you ready? He got nods and went to shout to the crowd, okay, another battle between two young maidens, so. He took out a recorder and played it, using the amplifier jutsu to make it so everyone heard it. The recorder played 3.2.1. Genma then yelled, Hajime. The two black-haired girls instantly leaped at each other, senbon and kunai drawn. Yuki slashed with her kunai as Haku blocked with 3 senbon, held like claws. They jumped away from each other as Yuki did hand signs, Katon, Karyu and Dan. The torrent of flame shot at Haku who did one-handed signs, one set with each hands. She shouted, Suten, Suiro no Jutsu. Suten, Suryuden no Jutsu. A dome of water surrounded Haku, blocking the attack. Then the water from the dome became a dragon and shot at Yuki. At the stands, Zabuza was smiling with pride. I was impressed at the display of recycling jutsu. Wow, she actually transferred a jutsu to another. I don't think anyone can do that at her age. Minato replied, well, she did study under Zabuza when she was young. Zabuza laughed. Indeed she did. She's already stronger than me. She only has the problem of being too soft, otherwise she'd make a good oinen. The cage nodded as they watched the fight. The weight dragon smashed into the ground, creating a small pool of water with an inch deep. The two girls used the water walking exercise to fight. Haku yelled, Hayuten, Tsukashiro. A pillar of ice erupted from the ground, well, water, and would have encased Yuki in ice had the girl not dodged. Yuki then activated her M's like her sister did and yelled, Hayuten, Tsukashiro. The same pillar rose and would have caught Haku. Up at the stands, Sakura and Sasuke were surprised. Well, Sakura was surprised they could walk on water and use ice techniques while Sasuke was surprised his sister could do ice jutsu. The banshee screeched, how are they fighting on water? How are they using ice jutsu? Fugaku and Makoto shook their heads in disappointment at the banshee. She didn't know how to do the water walking. That meant one thing, she ain't fit to be ninja. Itachi sighed and explained, in order, they are using chakra to stand on water. You must learn it to be even qualified as ninja, so that means you aren't one. Haku has the Hayuten Kekkei Genkai. As for Yuki, she has a special Mankaiu Sharingan. Over time, one Uchiha will have a special ability in this stage of the Sharingan, though it's incredibly rare that one appearing is only seen once a few centuries. Yuki and Tsuki are the only living Uchiha who can do that now. They can copy Kekkei Genkai, though the limit is 2 for Yuki and 1 for Tsuki since the ability was originally Yuki's and they exchanged eyes to prevent them from going blind. But they can delete one of them to place in another, so in a sense, she has 3 Gekkei Genkai, while Tsuki can have 2 Gekkei Genkai. Sadly, the copied Kekkei Genkai can't be passed down. Sakura glared at the elder Uchiha as he said she wasn't a ninja, I see, but that doesn't mean I'm not qualified as a Kunoichi. Itachi shrugged, well, maybe, just get Kakashi to teach you, and if you tone your damn voice down and actually train seriously without being on a diet, my brother might actually notice you. If your mother isn't that damn banshee, you might even have a greater chance. Sakura thought back to what Naruto had said to her in the forest. She felt disappointed that her mother was like that, and decided to get more training. Back at the match, Haku was surprised. How? Yuki smiled. I can copy Kekkei Genkai with my Manjikaiu, though I can only use have 2 at a time. Now, I have 2 copied. On Tsuki's waist formed a belt, causing everyone's eyes to widen. She held a white phone and said to it, Henshin. She then slid it into a pistol holder-like object on her waist. The device said, complete, and she transformed into a white being. Yuki said, Kamen Rider Delta, Ami no Sadem wa Orgakaimru. She then drew her phone and started shooting bullets at Haku. Haku cursed and made hand signs, Hyouton, MakyouhyouSho. A dome of ice mirrors formed around her, blocking most of the attacks. Yuki took her phone and said, check. She then slid it back into her holster, exceed charge. She jumped up and came down kicking, a beam hitting Haku's dome as Yuki obliterated it, knocking Haku out. Genma nodded, Shousha, Uchihyuki. The crowd cheered for the girl as Haku was taken to the infirmary. When she reached the box, she was rewarded by Naruto kissing her. He said, so you can copy Kekkei Genkai huh? Yuki grinned and nodded. Naruto chuckled, nice use of mine though, I'm curious though, why yours look like that. Suki explained for her sister, because your Kekkei Genkai is a rare type and has a variety, so Yuki-chan's Sharingan can only copy the base and make a new one suited for her. I can do it as well, but I can only copy one Kekkei Genkai, since we exchanged eyes to prevent us from going blind. Naruto nodded at the information. Genma then said, now for the final match of the first round, will please Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna and Sabaku Gaara please come down. The two Jinchuriki complied. Genma said, okay, ready, Hajime. Haruna, who knew he was a Jinchuriki, instantly used her chakra chains, sand versus chains. Gaara used his sand to crush the girl, but her chains made a protective dome, preventing the sand from entering. Haruna then yelled, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A dozen clones appeared as they charged Gaara. They managed to get close Gaara, using the Hurricane to avoid the sand, which Gaara hasn't figured out that it would only appear near a kunai. As soon as they reached Gaara, the original Haruna yelled, Bunshin Debakua. All clones glowed and exploded, blowing Gaara away, also causing a huge wound on Gaara's abdomen as one clone was near that area. He felt pain and touched the wound. What is this? It's warm, blood, my own blood. Ha, you intrigue me, you shall prove my existence. Uzumakinamakazharuna. Sand surrounded the Sunanin as a dome formed. Out of the blue a large sand hand burst out and tried to grab Haruna, who countered with her own Biju Chakra's hand, both clashing. Tender feathers fell from the sky as all civilians fell asleep, the shinobi dispelling the obvious genjutsu. Somewhere, Kabuto cursed, damn it, Orochimaru-sama, we shouldn't have planned our invasion after reading Percy Jackson and The Last Olympian. An explosion erupted at the cage box, revealing that the box was destroyed, and in its place was a red giant barrier with 4 shinobi surrounding it. And it was Minato, Kushina, Mei and Zabuza as well as Orochimaru. Naruto, Kushina and Minato recognized the girl of the group as Teuya from Kin. At the Namikaze compound, Kin recognized the chakra and whispered, Teuya-chan, I hope Naruto-sama and the others can get her. Back at the stadium, Kankuro and Temari instantly jumped down to their brother, who fell down from the stress and was held by Temari. Naruto saw this and said, Hikari-chan, you're with me, the rest of you, go help evacuate the civilians and help fight the invading shinobi. As for you Kumo-nin, I want to make sure, are you our enemy? B looked at his friends before looking at the barrier. I noticed him and yelled, we have Kumo will help Konoha. Go and assist the Konoha shinobi. They also shouted to her own shinobi who accompanied her, a team of Anbu, help Konoha, fight with them. The team nodded and went to fight the Oto and Sunanin. B looked at Naruto and grinned, there's your answer, let's go. The Kumo shinobi then jumped away with the Konoha genin. Naruto looked at Haruna and the Sabaku siblings, then the two jumped to their sister, lover. As soon as they reached, the Sabaku trio's sensei appeared and said, Temari, Kankuro, take Gaara and go to the checkpoint, I'll handle them. The siblings nodded and left as Baki prepared to fight the siblings. Suddenly a senbon flew at Baki who catched it with his hands. Genma walked to them saying, you three, go after the siblings. I'll fight this guy. Naruto shook his head, no, you go with my sisters. He's mine, keep my sisters safe. Genma was about to say he was a genin and wouldn't survive, then he remembered who exactly Naruto was and nodded smirking. Naruto then searched in his head for the power of his final form. He then heard a voice, I see you want to try your new power out, fine. I'll let you use it this time, then you'll need to defeat me to gain access to it. The name Supakuta, remember it. And your new form is called the Chu Dead Heat form. Go and kill the man. Naruto then felt the enormous energy as he smirked, transforming into his Chu Dead Heat form. He said, Kamen Rider Faiz Chu Dead Heat, saw Showtime Da. The two shinobi charged. Baki was having a hard time keeping up with Naruto as his punches were incredibly painful. While Baki was one of the strongest jounin in Suna, he could not match up to the strongest jounins of Konoha, especially not Naruto who had achieved a rank status and was actually stronger than that. Baki yelled, Futen, Kase no Yaiba. The wind blades charged at Naruto who merely swung his hands, the force from his swing dissolving the blades. Baki cursed and yelled, Futen, Kametachi no Jutsu. A cyclone came out of Baki's mouth and headed for Naruto. Naruto raised his arms and clenched his fists and thrust forward, launching a huge aura of energy, destroying the cyclone and slammed into Baki who couldn't dodge in time and killed the man as he couldn't withstand the power of the blast, unlike Kurabi. After checking Baki was dead, Naruto leaped after his sisters and Genma into the forest. With the group of 3 after Naruto started fighting Baki, they caught up to the group of 3 siblings. Temari cursed and said, Kankuro, take Gaara and go. I'll handle him. Kankuro pushed Gaara back to Temari when she handed the boy to him. No, you're winded from your fight, take him and go to the checkpoint. I'll manage to deal with them somehow. Temari saw the look and nodded before leaping away. Genma cursed and said, you girls go after them, I'll deal with him. The girls nodded and left the fight to the jounin. Kankuro was going to stop them but Genma leaped in front of him. Genma smirked, Ami no 8 wa kono orda. Kankuro cursed as Genma charged. Kankuro took out Karasu and jumped away, leaving the puppet to fight the jounin. Genma shouted as he drew his sword and coated it with chakra, AMAI, AMAI. He swung his sword at the chakra string and cut off the connection from Kankuro and the puppet. Kankuro cursed as his only weapon was out of the window and the only thing he could do was use the chakra strings to fight. He tried to control Gemma, but he found himself flung towards the Jounin, who smirked. I told you already, you're too naive. You don't have the strength to control my actions, boy. Kankuro was then knocked out. Genma then heard, Genma-san, where are my sisters? Genma saw Naruto in human form and was about to reply when the Shukaku suddenly appeared with 2 yellow Kyubi. With the sisters, when Genma cut the chakra strings, they finally reached the 2 siblings and was about to say something when Gaara woke up from resting. Gaara laughed maniacally and said, You shall prove my existence, Uzumaki Namikaze Haruna. He shot a sand hand at the girls as they jumped away, going into the pure Yaoki Biju mode. Inside of them, Kasumi said, Keep a distance and use the mini Baijudama or any ranged attacks, then you'll be fine. Unless Shukaku shows his giant form. The girls nodded as they continued to fight, shooting ranged attacks as Gaara blocked with his sand. After a while, Gaara smiled crazily. Finally, someone who is strong enough. You are worthy. Tanukineirijutsu. He then fell asleep as sand wrapped around him, before growing to form the large size of the Shukaku. Hikari and Haruna looked at each other as Kasumi said, Let's go big. The 2 flared Yaoki as they transformed into the full Biju form. Naruto and Genma reached them and looked in awe. Shukaku said, Nisan, I see we'll have to fight. Kasumi smiled from both of her clones, Indeed we shall. Shukaku smirked, Then let me even my odds. 3 more clones appeared with sand, facing the 2 Kyubi. While most believed the Biju's strength were measured by the tails, they were wrong. The Biju were equal at the beginning and trained to become strong. Though Kasumi was still at the top, Shukaku wasn't to be looked down at. Kasumi TCH'd 2 Shukaku she could handle, but 4, she could barely fight them since Shukaku had the best teamwork with his clones among the Biju. Naruto saw the distressed look on his Biju girlfriend and summoned Dragor. The 2 Biju looked shocked to see Dragor of all gigantic beings on Earth. Naruto stood on top and said, Dragor-sama, Suna is attacking Konoha, and they've released the Shukaku, I need help. Dragor huffed, HMPH, you could have summoned Bal or Piscus, Naruto. But I'm bored anyway, let's pound the little tanuki. Kasumi, you and your clone, handle 2 of them, I'll take the other ones. Shukaku narrowed their eyes and charged, shot 2 streams of sand at the dragon. The huge dragon merely breathed out a stream of fire and crystallized the sand. He then flew up and fired another stream of fire, which was blocked by Shukaku with a sand shield. The sand Biju then sent sand to wrap the dragon, who merely flew higher and higher as he shot fire to stop the sand. He landed and said, Impressive, but it ain't enough. The massive dragon blew more fire, so intense that it went through the defenses and killed them, leaving the original and the clone fighting. Kasumi left. Dragor said, Well, my job's done, see you Naruto. Naruto nodded as Dragor dispelled. To Kasumi, she dodged the sand attacks easily by jumping around, countering with mini Baijudama as she jumped. Soon, Kasumi destroyed the clone and the 2 Kyubi targeted the original. She had Hikari and Haruna double sucker punched the boy on the tanuki's head so hard he had woken up from the pain, resealing Shukaku as he dissolved into a large pile of sand, which cushioned his fall. Naruto walked to the boy with his sisters as the boy tried to scramble away. No, stay away. Naruto sighed, We're not gonna kill you. You just had a bad life, thinking no one cared for you. Hikari continued, which isn't true. Gaara was confused, What do you mean? Nobody cares for me, all people have done is try to kill me, hate me or just ignore me. Haruna smiled, You don't need to look far, just close enough to see that there are people who care. Then Temari appeared standing in front of Gaara. Naruto said, You don't need to worry, we ain't hurting him, after all he's their brother in a sense. He pointed to his sisters who nodded. Temari's eyes widened as she remembered their Biju transformation and asked, Then how? The girls smiled and looked at their brother, who was confused. The village likes Jinchuriki, but more importantly, we have a brother who loves us a lot. Gaara-san, your sister and brother love you a lot too, you were just blinded by your own hatred. Gaara looked at Temari, Is it true? Temari smiled and nodded. Gaara turned to the 3 Namikaze siblings, Arigato, for making me realize this. Where's Kankuro? Genma then came, He's here. He was carrying the cat guy and handed him to the blonde Suna Kanoichi, Go, we won't come after you. But if we see you one more time, we'll capture you. The 2 nodded and leaped away with their unconscious brother. The 3 siblings from Konoha looked at Genma, who said, What? Hikari giggled with Haruna as the redhead said, Well, we thought you'd capture them, protocols and all. Genma sighed, I do have some humanity, you know. The girls giggled while Naruto only gave him thumbs up, clearly mocking the Jounin, before they headed back to help with the invasion. Okay, sadly the chapter is over. And if you enjoyed, just leave a like, and subscribe with post notification, so when the next chapter is ready, you will be notified. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.